Hey, welcome back to the Garage Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is February 1st, 2026, a Sunday morning. We're starting bright and early today. We are a bit time blocked, so at 1:30, this stream needs to be over. Come hell or high water. I'm hoping for high water, I think. I'm not sure. How's everyone doing? It's been a busy week. Hopefully you're well. We're back here to play some Marvel Champions. We're doing some SPDR today. This is Mecha versus Minions, an SPDR protection deck, which has, as Chad is guessing, some the cards you'd kind of expect would be in it. I have very little experience with SPDR. She is one of my fewest played characters, as much as being one of the most interesting design characters. 3 hand size. Let alone you have 2 kind of hero cards, a hero and a alter ego. You have to flip both of them. I wouldn't say independently, but they do different things, which is kind of cool. So I trust you all have been well. SPDR has an upgrade that increases defense too. SPDR has 4 interface upgrades and 1 interface. One of them for attack, 1 for thwart, 1 for defense, 1 for readying, and then 1 for just a good time drawing 2 cards and alter ego. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Joey. I'm feeling a lot better. My voice is like, I still wake up in the morning. My voice is a bit weird, but definitely feeling good. I'm going to make less weird camera noises. Also last week where I was under the weather, I think because of the way I was, there wasn't a lot of inflection. I think I was just talking in one single way through the whole thing. So we're doing a lot better. Hopefully your week's been good. Let me catch up on stream. Getting to watch from the start, it's a first for me. We're starting early today. I specifically went on the way to start early because we are time boxed. Normally we stream to like 2:30, but instead we're going to start today at 10. Again, apologies, we don't have a regular consistent schedule besides just Sunday, so I think we'll get there eventually. Welcome, Marvel Champion Joshua. How's it going? Hey, Gordon. You've been talking about SPDR for so long. Excited to finally watch. Good morning, by the way. Hey, good morning. I was really excited to do SPDR. And again, this channel is a bit of a farce where every day could be protection day. And I need to make sure that that's not always the case. Shout out to Friday morning. We uploaded heroic Justice Miles Morales, who is genuinely my least played hero. And the game was great. I think like heroic Rhino is actually really quite fun. I've been dipping my toes into heroic, and I've only played like 3 different scenarios in heroic. And I think as long as you're playing something that's good, or you're playing a scenario that's not that difficult, it is like actually kind of cool. It's like the enough difficulty jump. And the benefit is you get to see more of the scenario, which let me tell you, there's not that much flavor in Rhino. So trying to get as much flavor as you can out of that stone, I think that helps a heck of a lot. Hey, Metapher, how's it going? Yo, are you in Atlantic time? Are you 1 hour ahead of me? Or sorry, Pacific? No, Atlantic time. Yeah, that took a second. Hopefully you've been well. Looking forward to this repurposed spider bite. Yeah, I think that's the thing I wanted to say is like we've been talking about playing SPDR for a while, but I want to admit that I don't have a lot of experience with SPDR. Today, or going in today, I only had 2 test games with this deck so far. So I'm hoping for the best. Oh, the light. Hold on. The light is not perfect. 1 second. It felt a bit dim, and it was because it was. This seems a bit better. Atlantic 100%. Okay, so you're like an hour ahead or behind, excuse me. No, ahead. I thought about it. That's a bit better. Good morning and hello. Hey, Andy, how's it going? Nicely done with Heroic Miles v Rhino. I need to start playing Heroic more. Yeah, I think to me, there's sometimes where it's going to be really quite fun, where it does make a scenario, I think, just more fun, more exciting. And I think that's like a very cool lever to have access to. I don't think it's going to be an all the time thing for like a whole bunch of reasons. And we talked a bit about that last week, but I think it was really fun. Breaking my D&D session for tonight and watching. I hope it's a good one. All right. Sorry, this is what I was saying is I don't have that much experience with SPDR. So I don't think you're going to see the best SPDR gameplay. I don't think you're going to see like a wild SPDR deck. I think you're going to see something that's a bit workhorse and functional. And I'm leaning on obviously chat and comments to like maybe push me in the right direction. But I think SPDR's design is really fascinating. If I'm not mistaken, this was a guest design by MJ. MJ, you might know as one of the former lead designers on not on Arkham Horror LCG, which FFG was still to date, but at the time was also putting out. Since then, MJ now works at the nice folks that do Earthborn Rangers. I think they're called Earthborn Games. I'm not 100% sure. But MJ has done some like really some of my favorite like card game stuff. And SPDR is like so unique and so cool. I think the issue we're going to run into, and this is a protection deck, and specifically because it is Web Warriors, we're playing some of the weird Web Warrior protection allies, which I don't have a lot of experience in, as much as one of these is like one of my favorite allies of all time. But I think what I've seen from SPDR's gameplay is SPDR is so setup dependent, where you really need to get all these upgrades in play in order to make yourself be relevant. Again, you are a 3 hand size hero, that it really puts the sort of like fun setup cards on the backseat by like a huge margin. So if you're drawing like an interface, but you're also drawing a cool protection ally, you always play the interface, it seems. And I think that's going to worry me to some extent. Is that for the first cycle of the deck, it looks like you can't really play that much with weird cards or specifically out of aspect cards that are expensive. And so I don't know what's going to do to the narrative of this game. This is Green Goblin, and Green Goblin actually might be, I wouldn't say a bridge too far, because I think SPDR is a really good hero. It's just SPDR is kind of the weakest on turn 1, and then eventually becomes really quite strong. And Green Goblin on turn 1, we draw 3 encounter cards. Like, it's kind of the opposite. And a lot of these encounter cards actually compound off of one another, where they care about how many goblins are in play. And of course, if you can't delete the goblins, you got goblins problems, and then nobody wants goblins problems. So I don't know how this is going to work out. I think the scaling on this is like the scaling that you see on a lot of build-up heroes, where like you start pretty weak and then eventually you're full Ironheart. And then that kind of lines up poorly, I think, with a lot of the design of Marvel Champions, where the scenario starts the hardest on turn 1 when you draw 4 encounter cards. And then by the end game, there's in fact no linear scaling. As opposed to like Enchantress, which I find to be very satisfying because it's kind of the back of that. It's the inverse of that, which is, I think, way more interesting. Watching Stretch 22's channel had definitely taught me a great deal about card evaluation, and he has helped me improve my game a bunch. Missed last week, but it's cool that you shouted him out. Yeah, I should have shouted him out again in the video that I think we put up on Friday, because it's a big reason why we ended up there. But the card evaluation thing is like definitely in my wheelhouse from games I come from, and I do think one of the problems with card evaluation when it comes to heroic, where like your cards really have to overperform, is that the card pool does get a lot smaller. It feels like, at least to me, because there's a lot of cards in this game that aren't to the quality that I think heroic really implores. SPDR plays like the card tribe from Transformers TCG, when they're ready constantly and flip a lot of draw cards. It's just so similar and really like her. Just a ready machine like Nova and X23. Yeah, we're going to be reading a lot, and I think we've already mentioned repurpose today. And I was asked whether we're playing Leo Fitz and Gemma Simmons, and my answer is no, I don't think so. And this is the thing that I'm also not sure about, and we'll hopefully find out together today, is how many resource generators do you need to play in SPDR? And here it says on our hero ability, it says sync ratio, exhaust an interface upgrade you control to generate the upgrade's resources. And this is the big way that SPDR kind of fights back against having a low hand size, is that you'll have all these interfaces installed, and all these interfaces, while they do have text, at least most of them have text, they also just can be a resource generator. So while you maybe have less options in hand, overall you have more resources to pay for those options, or at least an equal amount of resources to some conventional, 5 hand size heroes. That's the thing, is I don't know. It's like, I don't know if we're meant to play more resource generators. I think they help you set up. But again, when I have a resource generator in my hand, or an interface, which is also a resource generator, like I think the interface always gets priority. So I can't honestly tell in what order we should be setting up and what's more important. And then when it comes to Leo Fitz and Gemma Simmons, the thing is, like, we do have tech cards in our deck, but our tech cards are permanent largely. Sure, we've imported a couple tech cards so we can play repurpose, because obviously we're playing repurpose for many reasons. And honestly, the reasons why we play repurpose is not so much because we have tech cards in the deck. I think the reason we play repurpose is because we have ways to ready ourselves. And repurpose just multiplies its value if you can inherently ready yourself. Because if you trash a tech card and give yourself +2 attack for the round, and then you can ready yourself once or twice more in that round, repurpose doesn't become a 2 value card, 0 cost card. It becomes a 4 or 6 value card. And that's the reason why I'm excited to play repurpose. Not because we have tech cards, which I guess you need to have a minimum of tech cards to play this. The more so, anytime you can ready yourself, you multiply the value of repurpose. On its own, still not bad. In fact, very quite good, because it's flexible. And we like flexible in solo. Hell yeah. Hey, Poljix, SPDR is one of my favorites. In my games, SPDR is really likes card draw. I prefer her Injustice. I could see that. I think her repurpose is just so cute, but I'll be honest, a lot of the things that we're doing today in protection are not exactly what you expect from an Andre protection deck. Like, we're not even running Unflappable in this deck, which we probably should be just because we're playing against Green Goblin, and he really incentivizes you to block perfectly. But I could see SPDR being played in just about every aspect. I don't think a lot of her cards like inherently call for aspect synergies. So maybe we just have to figure out what her weakness is. Never played SPDR, but I've seen her run and she seems really cool. Speed Metal Alloy is like my favorite card in the game. This is what is Speed Metal Alloy? Wait, I can't find that. I don't know if it's an SPDR card. It sounds like a Quicksilver card. Hey Scott, how's it going? First time I've been able to comment during a live playthrough. Hey, welcome. I really enjoying your videos. Thank you. SPDR is one of the most interesting heroes of Marvel Champions. Should be a great matchup. I think she's really interesting. I'm honestly a bit worried about Green Goblin Expert because I don't have enough reps with this hero. She is one of my fewest played, which is weird because as soon as you pick her up, you know she's really interesting. Card name, you say that, but then I search Speed Metal Alloy and nothing comes up in my machine. So I have to search by the first word though. So are we right about that? Is it spelled weird? I can't find it. I don't know if I don't have it or not. There's always some person at the MC meetup with the 3DS white monster and SPDR repurpose deck. What is this stereotype? A 3DS white monster like the energy drink and an SPDR repurpose deck. That is the funniest archetype. Or that's really funny. Like a white monster is also really funny to me. I there's some nice white monster people, and yeah, white monster is its own tribe apparently. It's really interesting. All right, give me 1 second. I haven't had coffee today. Hopefully you are doing well this morning. Still warm. That's good. We should treasure that. It's a New Brunswick trope. Oh, that's so funny. Shout out to all the folks still playing 3DSs. You're cool. My 3DS doesn't work anymore. This is SPDR Suit. I also want to shout out that one of my least favorite things about SPDR is you cannot see her cards on Marvel CDB. It's been like this forever. Why is Marvel CDB like this? You cannot view this card that's actually called the SPDR card. You just can't see it on Marvel CDB. Good luck. Guess what it is? There's no card page for it. Hey, Sniper, how's it going? SPDR is a hero that you look on paper and think that can't work due to the hand size. Then you play and realize she's crazy good. She is crazy good. I do think I love heroes that seem or do have a downside, and then using their kit, they can work around it. And like a 3 hand size, I wasn't really plugged in when SPDR came out. In fact, I don't even know if I was playing Marvel Champions, but I'm pretty sure the conversation was like, there's no way. What are they thinking, MJ? Yeah, it turns out I was sick. Fire Emblem on 3DS forever. Also, Marvel CDB has Excelsior listed as a support. I've also realized that too. Yeah, it is labeled as a support. There's a couple typos too on some cards. I don't care about that. But Excelsior being a support, it's been there for weeks. All right, 222 stat line. We don't really have an ability, kind of, but we have the ability to exhaust one of our interface upgrades you control to generate a resource. That's fine. That's cool. That's neat. And that actually is really important because, again, I need to emphasize we have 3 hand size. That's obviously a problem. 222 stat line is really nice, and we're flexibly able to increase our stats on any turn as long as we're set up. So we can technically be 4 defense, 4 thwart, 4 attack. And that's another really good reason why we want to ready ourselves, because we have the flexibility and the once per turn ability to boost our stats. It's really nice to be able to do a 4 attack and then a 4 thwart, which you need a ready to be able to do that. I want to shout out we're 14 hit points, which means we're able to play those unlimited stamina cards, the 14 hit point plus club. I think I'm playing one of them. I think I probably should be playing more of them because reading is actually like really quite good in SPDR for a couple of reasons. But I'll talk about the sort of like trade-offs on the cards I didn't put in the deck, and maybe you can convince me I'm wrong before we find out. Now, this is what's really weird is that SPDR works in a strange way because SPDR Suit, the back of your hero card. Hold on. How do I find this? Is this mislabeled? No, it's not. This is what happens when you flip, right? Because you technically have a hero card and an alter ego card. And when you flip, though, they'll never see, they always will be like in this phase. Well, you'll have one weird card and an alter ego. And then when you flip, they flip together. And then you have one weird card, your pilot, and then your web warrior's hero. So these are 2 different cards. Importantly, they exhaust separately. I think that's actually really important to understand. There's a rules insert that talks about it, but the short of the long is that you either are the pilot in the suit and they flip at the same time, or you're the civilian with the suit being repaired and they flip at the same time. But that being said, you track the exhausted and unexhausted trait of each of these cards separately. So the back of the suit really doesn't matter. This is the only one side that is just like rules text, if I'm not mistaken. It's tech traded, which that could matter, I guess. It is technically a support, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if you do any sort of like organizational support stuff. I guess it doesn't share a trait. This card's printed text box cannot be treated if it were blank and forced return to base. When you would flip to the side, flip SPDR to Penny Parker, detach Penny Parker from here, and it just does all the rule stuff that makes the suit work. But this side doesn't matter. But what's interesting is the other sides actually do matter. This is SPDR, which, hold on, I'm not 100% sure how I sorted her. SPDR pilot. This is our pilot side. So when we're in a hero mode, she's in the pilot suit. This also is just rules text. It says force interrupt when you flip to the side, flip SPDR suit, nothing special. But the thing that is actually really important is her trait. She is an interface upgrade. And that actually matters a lot because everyone forgets this is in their first playthrough or doesn't realize this, is you can exhaust her. She is technically a resource generator whenever in hero mode because she's an upgrade interface. And so you can exhaust your like pseudo hero card to get an upgrade interface. And she generates a wild, which is really useful because when you exhaust her, she generates a wild, and obviously wild's the best you can have. Now, Penny Parker, that's our alter ego. And Penny Parker, 4 recovery is nice. And she has 2 good texts. Firstly, the setup that puts your suit into play. Okay, that's fine. But also you can exhaust her as an alter ego instead to draw 2 cards. Now, notably, she only has 4 hand size, which stinks. But technically on turn 1, as long as you exhaust her, you'll be on 6 hand size because you go from 4 plus 2. However, if you exhaust her here, when you flip up, you won't be able to exhaust her to generate a wild because she'll be exhausted for that turn. Now, 2 cards is usually better than a wild unless you're like really looking for a certain thing. But this is like the really interesting thing is that your hero can activate, so they exhaust for attacking or thwarting or defending, whatever you do. And then SPDR, she won't be exhausted unless you generate an interface resource, which means when you can flip down, you can then exhaust her to draw 2 cards. Or to recover, which is kind of cool. It always allows you to recover on a turn that you've activated your hero mode. So flipping up and flipping down is like more flexible and more interesting, let alone the ability to draw 2 cards is like a really good alter ego text. The only downside is I don't know how much we should be in alter ego because our hand size is only 4. You think it'd be from 6 to 3, right? Like we're pretty common at seeing heroes that have a pretty bad hero hand size, but a really good alter ego hand size. But it's technically 6, but it's kind of more like 5 because you lose a resource if you flip up. I guess that's not the right way to talk about it, but very, very, very weird. Very, very strange. You exhaust the suit, not draw. Be careful. Sorry, Prim2, how's it going? I believe you exhaust the suit and not your alter ego. Wait, what? Oh my God. Oh, I see what you're saying. Wait a second. So I've been playing this wrong. So when you're an alter ego, you don't exhaust Penny, you exhaust your suit. So what I'm saying is actually 100% incorrect. Is that if you've exhausted your suit, you cannot exhaust to recover. But you can exhaust to recover and exhaust to draw 2 cards. Whoa, Penny exhausts the other card to draw 2. Whoa, so you technically 7 resources when you flip down. Okay, whoa, I've been doing this all wrong, and I knew I was doing part of this wrong. Apparently, we've been doing it all wrong. Again, I don't have that many games in, so I don't feel bad about it. But the idea is that in Penny, you can exhaust your suit to draw 2 cards. Then you flip up. Then you can exhaust her to generate 1 resource, but you're not doing anything that turn because your suit is exhausted. I don't know if I like that better. I like mine better. Oh, man. Okay, that's really weird. Yeah, she has a really good jump start, but you also are not thwarting or attacking on turn 1. For what it's worth, we're playing Green Goblin, so we have a Thrall on turn 1. We probably won't be able to deal with it, so it's not the worst. But some early scenarios, you don't want to thwart, or you don't need to thwart on turn 1. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, this is cool. This is why we do things publicly, so we all learn together. Anyways, that's how it works. Is it complicated? Yeah, it sure is. Is it weird? Yeah, kind of weird. What does that change for the implications of things? It means that you still can only decide between generating a resource and recovering 4, but you have to make the conventional decision between, well, drawing 2 cards and activating, but you still recover with this. All right, we'll put those aside and see how this matures as we kind of brew through that. Let's talk about our cards. Such a good hero. I mean, I'm hoping so. I'm like worried that I've built all my foundations on a total like web of lies, pun intended. All right, we have 4 interfaces plus we have Penny. Web Fluid, these all kind of work the same. So they said when SPDR would do a basic something, exhaust this to get +2 to whatever the stat is. What's also really fun is they generate all a different kind of resource, but it's not the resource you think they generate. Like generally things that do attacks or attacks in general are kind of related with physical resources, but our Web Fluid compressor generates energy. Then we have our Psychic Link, which this is the cover of one of her books, I think, the Spider-Geddon books. Also, if you don't know, this character, SPDR, was invented by the front man from My Chemical Romance and an artist who I don't know their name. But most people know who My Chemical Romance is. But the My Chemical Romance guy does graphic novel stuff, like the Umbrella Academy, I believe is his thing. But also he invented SPDR, which is kind of weird. Very interesting. We have Psychic Link, same thing, +2 thwart. This one does generate a mental. And then this is the one that, this is the one that we were looking for, Speed Metal Alloy. It's not in my system, which means I must have labeled it wrong. It must be typed wrong. Yeah, Gerard Way is his name. Give me 1 second to see if I can correct this really quickly. But Speed Metal Alloy is either not in my system or that's why we couldn't find it. Speed Metal Alloy. I can't find it. That's a bummer. I will fix it after the stream because it takes me a minute, but I apparently don't have the card scan for this one. I don't know why I lost this one. But Speed Metal Alloy has really good art. The only difference with Speed Metal Alloy is that it costs 1 and it generates a physical. So like the physical and the energy feel backwards to me. And this one is 1 cost, which for a defense deck, we love that. That's our cheapest interface. It is literally our cheapest interface. It gives us to 4 defense. That's really quite cool. It kind of mimics how you have those like permanent cards from the core set. One that gives you +1 thwart, one that gives you +1 defense. And the defense one is just cheaper because that's how defense is sometimes. And then we finally have Host Spider, which is our most expensive. It taps for a wild, but more often you'll tap this to ready Spider Suit. And that's the idea, right? Like you activate with Spider Suit, giving her +2 thwart, which technically would be this. Then you can ready her, then she can go again. And this time you can go for +2 attack. So she goes for 4. That's a big reason why reading is so good, because all of these are once per turns, and if you're not using them, well, then you're just using them for resources, which is fine. And then we have a whole bunch of ways to wake these things up. In fact, we have 3 copies of All Systems Go. This card is very goofy. This card is very, very good. It says, as a hero action for 1 cost, choose to either ready each interface upgrade you control, or search your deck and discard pile for an interface upgrade and add it to your hand. Now, I'll be honest, from what little I have played, and seemingly played incorrectly, the bottom text seems very hard for me to fire, because if you're playing All Systems Go, that usually costs a resource and a card, then you usually only have like 2 or 3 cards left in your hand. So you need to either generate resources using your other interfaces to set up, because your interfaces cost somewhere between 1, 2, and 3. I guess you can always get the cheapest one. Setting up your resources is obviously of the utmost importance because they are our resource generators, but it always feels very expensive when the game is early to play this, get an interface, and then play the interface. It's largely all you're doing that turn, which is a bit too much for me, unless of course you have access to a lot of interfaces already, which is a weird spot to be in. The cool thing about this also, it grabs them from your discard pile, which means you can like repurpose away some interfaces and assume you'll get them back before you deck out, which is nice. She also has a couple cards that destroy cards or mill cards off the top of your deck. And if you mill an important interface, it's not lost until the second cycle. You can't just get it back. So that's kind of nice. But the text on this I'm usually firing is the top text, which is ready each interface. And that might be apparent. That's really good. That's like +4 resources on some turns, let alone there's a way to generate a card draw out of interfaces. You'll see in one of our supports. But the idea is that if you pay for this, let alone with an interface, it'll ready all your interfaces. So suddenly you can go again, you can be ready functionally as long as you have your readying interface, and you can go attack for 2, and then you can generate 3 more resources. Like it's just a huge bomb of value in a single turn as long as you're set up. And it's also a card that helps you set up. This card is very, very, very quite good. I think that's entirely by design. Her defense upgrade generates a resource for attacks, and her attack upgrade generates a resource for defense, so you can trigger while using them. Oh yeah, that's cool too. But I don't think the attack or defense, I don't think the attack card cares which resource it needs, right? I personally agree that reading is really good, but I'm not sure what that has to do with Marvel Champions. Reading or reading? How's it going, Lucy? And now we have some kicker cards. These are just good cards in general. Like Web Trap is a 2 for 5. And if you pay for this card using any resource generated by any Spider Suit sync ratio, so this stuns that enemy as well. This is obviously just really good. A 2 for 5 that stuns is kind of what you'd want. That's very quite good. And you have to generate an interface with this, which technically makes it a bit expensive, but exhausting Penny Parker, or SPDR more accurately, is like not an expensive cost. Like exhausting these, expensive. Exhausting this, not super expensive. We also have Rapid Deployment, which is another card that's like way over curve. Rapid Deployment is a 2 for 3. However, if we generate a sync ratio for this, which we usually do, it's 2 for 6. And it can be from the same scheme as much as it can be from another scheme. 2 for 6 is obviously very quite good. That is like very, very the top of the curve that you'd expect. Both of these cards are very good. And forcing yourself to spend a resource is not that expensive, especially when you're set up and you have more than you think you need to. Cards like Relentless Assault need physical. Cards like Sidestep need energy. Oh, aspect cards. Yeah, aspect cards for sure. But it's like it's backwards, right? It's kind of cool. Anyways, that's really important. And then you have some weird stuff like SPDR command. This is a modal card. As a hero, you can either exhaust this and exhaust an interface to draw a card. And again, if you have an interface, it's either doing nothing that turn and generating a resource. So you might as well exhaust this and generate that resource in a card, because a card is better than a resource because you could play that card. Or you could exhaust this and discard a card from your hand to ready interface, which means if you've buffed your stats on the turn with something like repurpose and you have 4 attack, well, now you can ready the card that readies you. And the card you've discarded now is technically like a 4-cost attack, as long as you can do all this sort of stuff. Kind of. Yeah, it kind of works. Sometimes it can even be more than that. But it's super flexible, actually super important card. I feel like I do the top text more than the bottom text, but the bottom text is actually really quite nice. The fact that you can panic out any card and make it to whatever you need for that turn is worth a lot. And then this is a really generous card. Like, I was surprised that this card, oh, not you, but similar. I'm really surprised that this card is not only an alter ego action, and you can see how they made the text just like a lot better if you're an alter ego, but these are the sort of cards that I feel like earlier Marvel champions would just make this only alter ego action. But it says exhaust Aunt May and Uncle Ben to discard the top 2 cards of your deck, 3 cards if you're an alter ego, and you add each SPDR card discarded this way to your hand. So it is a resource or value generator. Some turns it does nothing. Some turns it whiffs your important cards that you want to set up on the card cycle, which that's fine. It's not my, like, generally in card games, I don't mind milling my deck. This game is a bit different because you do draw your deck in every game. So that means you'll hit it on the second cycle, but missing a card on the cycle on a support or on a setup, a very important setup, can actually be expensive. I kind of wanted to play like White Fox and Digging Deep with this, the discard from the top of the deck synergy package. I'm not convinced that those cards are that good. It's probably worth trying, because the problem is if you don't find this card, you have no other way to discard from the top of your deck. You could play other protection cards that make it make sense. Like there's that card with Ronin attacking that says 2 cost, avoid damage, discard equal amount of cards from the top of your deck. Like you could make it make sense. But this card's just like really kind of fun. Sometimes it does nothing. Sometimes it draws you 2 to 3 cards, which is absurd. It's also important in context that we put a lot of our cards, there's like, what is it? There's 7 events, but every other SPDR card will hit the table and will stay on the table for a long enough period of time that this card just feels worse and worse, as much as your deck will also thin out when you install your aspect cards. But yeah, a lot of our cards are upgrades and supports. We have 2 attack events, 2 thwart events, and then 3 of those 1-cost cards. So it's not the majority of it's technically like half of our kit. It's not super consistent. Yo, Jai, how's it going? Hope you're having a good weekend. I am. Are you watching? I guess we're going to watch your gameplay later today with the ESL, huh? After playing side schemes, build support, or superpower training, I don't care about milling. Yeah, I don't care. I think the one thing we need to hit is the web of Great Destiny or whatever it's called. Like milling that sucks. Like not hitting that for the whole deck cycle is awful. These sort of cards are kind of cool because you should use them proactively, but I don't. It's ejection protocol. It's a 0-cost support, which is really cheap to play. As a hero action, not as a response, so you have to do this on your turn. You can exhaust each interface upgrade you control. It's not a cost, so if your interfaces are exhausted, that's fine. Set your hit point dial to 6, so this could be up to 5 healing. Give yourself a tough identity and flip to alter ego. This is actually a really nice panic button, and compared to some of the other like don't die buttons in this game, this one does not remove itself from the game, so you can ejection protocol yourself all the time. So like Diva alt, just jump out the suit, see what happens. This is not bad at all. I never find myself using this proactively, and I think that's a mistake on my part, but I also never find myself under 6 health. For what it's worth, if you're at 6 health, this is technically a tough and an alter ego flip, which is fine on a 0-cost card, but yeah, very weird. And then we finally have our ally, which this card is very good. Oh, is it in here? Venom? Yeah, it is. Not a web warrior. This is Venom. It's Addy Brock. When you play this, for every resource you generate off of an interface, it gets +1 thwart and +1 attack and has 3 health. You can make this technically a 6/6, I think, because you have 5 interfaces, which is obviously very good. Then in theory, you can sidekick this and heal it infinitely. Like, yeah, there's huge builds where you play leadership with Venom because this card is absurd. It only takes 1 consequential. And again, if you have all your interfaces set up, which I don't know if leadership is that good at setting that up very quickly, this is just really gross. ESL is a little late for my part of the world, but I should catch the VOD. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. It's 3 p.m. here, which is like 3 a.m. for you, right? It's the best card in your open mulligan and it hurts on the second cycle. Yeah, it's something like that. I built the Save the Day Go Down Swinging Spider-Woman deck, by the way. I don't know if I know that one by name, Mataffer. Anyways, that's our kit. Very exciting, very cool. A lot of moving parts, a lot of readying, a lot of like deciding how to like deploy your upgrades, which I think is pretty cool. Now, let's talk about protection, because we are playing Web Warriors, and unfortunately, we've been playing a lot of Web Warriors on this channel. Apologies if it's boring, but the big thing about Web Warriors is that if you're going to play one, you might as well play a lot of them. It's also making me play only Web Warriors, and I think that's thematic and fun. You could definitely still play like a Prof X or a Nick Fury in this sort of deck. Like, you don't have to play only Web Warriors, but the difference is once we get this card down for free when we're in hero mode, anytime a Web Warrior leaves play, it draws a card, and that's just such good text, so we're heavily incentivized to play as many Web Warriors, let alone a whole bunch of the Web Warriors care about playing other Web Warriors, and they care about how many icons. I said this before earlier in the stream. One of the issues I run into is that it looks like SPDR is so setup intensive that if our opening hand has like a cool protection ally, but also it has an interface, you always play the interface. So sometimes the thematic aspect choices of your decks don't show up on the first cycle unless your cost curve is really, really low, which at least that's a nice thing about Repurpose. You can kind of get away with it. But let's talk about some of the cards we put in the deck. And I'm going to lament not adding shortcuts to the Spider-Man characters because they are a pain to search. I have never played Spider-Man Noir, and I'm excited to play Spider-Man Noir, and Spider-Man Noir is probably way too slow for this deck, maybe even this scenario. But Spider-Man Noir is X Thwart, X Attack, card gamers, we love X, 3 health, and X is equal to the number of face-down cards attached to Spider-Man Noir. Now, the only way you can attach cards, it says after you resolve a treachery, if you control another Web Warrior card, which is just a way to gate this because there's a lot of text on this text box. Attach that treachery face down here if you want to, and that means in theory, Spider-Man can be a 3 thwart, 3 attack, 3 health. Is that amazing? Honestly, no. Compared to Venom as our ally, it's like pretty silly. In theory, when he comes in, he's useless because he's 0, but sometimes it's nice to have Web Warriors. But I want to get this up to 3-3. So over in testing, the best I've done is 2-2, and then the game is over, but it's a thing we can do. Now, obviously, waiting to activate with this is really, really silly, which is a big reason why we're playing Scarlet Spider, which is one of my favorite Web Warriors in a long time. Oop, not you. Scarlet Spider's text is just so good. 3 cost for 5 health is already really good. And while attacking and thwarting sucks because those are big consequential numbers, it says as an interrupt, you can choose when another Web Warrior character would take any amount of damage, Scarlet Spider takes that damage instead, which technically adds 5 health to Spider-Man Noir. So if we can get Spider-Man Noir to be a 3-3, we technically has 8 health, let alone you can use his ability on anybody like Peter Parker, ourselves, and make sure we never take damage. So we can sustain Unflappable and everybody can stay happy, because the idea is that Scarlet Spider is bad at doing things, but is very good at making sure other people can do things. So this is something we're going to try. I think this is way too slow. And playing 2-3 cost protection allies seems kind of impossible while you're setting up as SPDR. We'll see how bad it is. Now, this is a really cool thing. We're not actually playing a Change of Fortune deck, but Spider UK is another card I've never played, and his text seems pretty goofy. Like 3 cost already for 5 health is kind of nice. Thwarts for 1, attacks for 2, but the most important thing is says when Spider UK defends against an attack, and this is an interrupt, so it happens immediately, deal damage to the attacking enemy equal to the number of Web Warrior cards you control. So obviously Spider UK will be a Web Warrior. We'll probably be in hero mode. We're a Web Warrior. And as long as we have one more ally or our support, when we get attacked by something like a Goblin Thrall, we just tap Spider UK and the Goblin Thrall blows up before any damage is done because we interrupt to do 3 damage back. And so the attack does not fully resolve. I think that's really quite cool. We also have to attack ourselves, so we attack into like a 3 health minion and leave it on 1 health. We can tap Spider UK to do 1 damage, which admittedly is a bit silly because we're playing Energy Barrier, but that's a really cool thing to do. I've never done this before, so I'm going to give it a shot. I think this is a really interesting card. Waiting for next week when you play Spider-Ham. I think we're not going to play another Web Warrior next week. It's been a minute. We are also here playing Miles Morales, Protection Miles. Never played this card. It's really, really expensive, honestly. This probably shouldn't be in the deck. If we want to play something cheaper, I did not consider Silk. Silk is fine too, as a 2 cost card. But Spider-Man says, as long as you have 3 Web Warrior cards, which might not be that difficult, when you play Spider-Man, and unfortunately from your hand is actually really bad text, because we're good at cheating in expensive Web Warriors from our bin, you can stun and confuse an enemy. We have access to no confuse. Alter Ego is technically really good for us. But yeah, it's okay, I guess. 3 health, attacks for 2 seems fine. This card we're probably not going to play, I'll be honest, but we're going to try. And then Spider Bite. Spider Bite's really good because she's usually free, because all our interfaces besides our face is a tech card. So Spider Bite will come in for free pretty consistently, let alone we have more tech cards. Spider Bite's amazing. And then we're playing all the other good stuff, like Otto Octavius is an obvious include for this deck. Now, when you play him, you can ready an interface, which means he costs 1, let alone he draws a card. So he's kind of free if you kind of squint. So it's really good because our tech cards generate resources. Madame Web is awesome to give you a bit of control. Make sure the bad encounter cards, the bad boost cards are not there, let alone if you have a lot of web warriors, she gets even better, thwarts for 2. And then of course we're playing Peter, and Peter is just the best because we like writing ourselves because we're playing repurpose, and then Peter's super flexible. Also because we have ways to generate wild resources somewhat consistently because of our interface and interfaces, it should not be hard to hit the requirements. So no surprise, that's what we're doing. They say that a hero would save us. It's on the trending page that one time ever. Cool. 4 a.m. because of daylight saving time. Oh, that's not good. It can't gain sim counters by overpaying for her. You can't overpay her cost? I thought you could. So we cannot overpay, so the most that she can get is 3? Unless you find yourself in a situation where the cost of Venom is increased. I thought you were allowed to overpitch, but not for fun. Like if you had made sense. I guess you can't because they all generate a single resource. But you could pitch like a single resource, a single resource, a single resource, a double resource, and you technically can pay 5 for a 4-cost card. But you can't like play 3 double resources for a 4-cost card because the 3rd resource you can't really do. All right, we're playing Web of Life and Destiny. We're playing Across the Spider-Verse. This one we have to watch out. We don't have all our cards of fire when they're played from the bin, but this card's really good. And then we're playing some tech stuff. We're playing 3 copies of Energy Barrier. Why? Because it's a really good card. It gives us a whole bunch of value. It helps us deal with minions because if they attack for 1, they functionally don't attack. And we can redirect the damage from the villain to a minion. And it's a tech card. Cool thing about this too, it's not a forced interrupt, so we can leave it a 1 counter and then have a target for repurpose. And speaking of target for repurpose, I added this card. I don't love this card ever, but it technically does the thing that we wanted to do, which is like attach it to Spider-Man Noir and keep Spider-Man Noir around forever. It's technically a 0-cost tech card, which means repurpose is just a cheap ready because it discards a tech card. But I don't want my repurpose to give us +0 because the big thing that makes repurpose good is not that it's a cheap ready, but it's a ready that increases our stats because we can ready ourselves and multiply the value. You can't multiply 0. You can try. It's still 0, but that's one of the issues. So I'm trying this out as a cheap tech card. It's not my favorite thing. Probably isn't worth it. And then of course we're playing 3 copies of Repurpose. And I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. We don't play Repurpose because we have tech cards. We can play Repurpose because we have tech cards. But if you ask me, I play Repurpose because we have ready cards. And ready cards are the way to multiply the value from Repurpose, which is more important than just being able to ready yourself. Probably. Yeah, it's good. And you can technically repurpose your interfaces. We're gonna try not to. Now, this is where I'm starting to get not sure about things. I'm playing 2 copies of Ready for a Fight. This card is really good. But in Alter Ego, we actually want to start our turn in Alter Ego. Because otherwise in Alter Ego, we only have 4 hand size. The reason why our Alter Ego is good is if we start our turn in Alter Ego, we can do this maintenance ability and then get 6 hand size. But the problem is we can't if we are readying for a fight. So for us, this is our like pseudo confuse if we stay in hero mode. But this card might not be worth it. On that note, we're also playing Hidden Base, which gives us a tough status card. This also might not be correct in this deck. The one card that we have that allows us to jump down to Alter Ego already gives us a tough status card, so this is wasted. But I can't tell how much we want to be jumping up and down. And Hidden Base only really works if you jump up and down. So this is where the deck actually kind of falls apart, or at least I'm not confident about it. We have Energy, Genius, and Strength as doubles, and we're playing 2 copies of the Power of Protection. This generates 2 resources for a protection card, and we have a lot of protection cards that cost 2 or more. And now I'm going to show you the cards I cut from the deck, and I think a lot of these we actually should swap in, and maybe just get rid of the Ready for a Fight package. So I mentioned Silk. Silk is okay. It's just more so she's a cheap web warrior. Her text I don't really value that much. We're playing, what's it called? Standard 3. So there's a lot of ways we can find our nemesis. So like hunting down Shadow of the Past doesn't make that much sense, let alone our nemesis is not the worst thing. But she's just a cheap block, which is nice. Limitless Stamina. I'm playing no copies of this. I thought I was meant to play 1. Yeah, apparently I took them all out. This card is a ready, and we talked about cheap readings be good because we can multiply the value. I find it really, really silly that we're not playing 2 Limitless Stamina at a minimum. This seems really important because we can, and reading is really good. So another card that probably should be in the list. Ghost Spider. Ghost Spider is almost definitely better than the 4-cost Miles Morales we're never going to play because our events are actually really quite good. The event that readies all of our things is such a power turn, the 1-cost ready all your interfaces, that she's probably worth playing over anything else. She's really quite good. I think we will swap in Unflappable. Notice this is a protection deck that's not actually doing any protection stuff. We're playing protection because we need allies, which we'll probably struggle to play on our first cycle, and because we can play Repurpose, which is just that good when you have that sort of flexible stat management game. But Unflappable actually really matters, and it's mostly because the villain says when the villain attacks us, if we take no damage, we don't put a threat on the main scheme. So we're actually highly incentivized to block a bit more, as opposed to when I've played this, I've taken a couple hits there, here and there because we have a 14 health hit pool. I only defend when it's really important. So because we're not really defending that much as our defense can go up to 4, or technically up to like pseudo 5, 6, if you have energy barriers, Unflappable is probably worth playing. I'd swap 2x ready for a fight for 2x taunt. So I don't know why we'd play taunt. Taunt is really good, and it gives you more cards in hand, which is really nice for setup. I don't think we're going to be blocking that much. Like, I like taunt when you have a lot of toughness, or you can block very heavily. Because our interface that blocks is already exhausted, we can't like block the hero phase and then block the taunt phase. So I don't fully get that. But I'm pretty sure like ready for fight might not be it. I think we probably do just take this out in hindsight. I played this in one of the practice games and it was like fine, but it's like we're not jumping down to alter ego that much. And if we do jump down to alter ego, it's usually because we can fire our like draw 3 cards thing, the Aunt May and Uncle Ben. But the problem is like this card is like not good as the last thing you do in your turn. There's a lot of heroes that have like this alter ego action that when you jump down to alter ego, you'll fire their support, which like heals 1 and like shuffles a card or something, and then you'll end your turn. The problem is like this card's really not good to be the last part of your turn because its output is random, let alone if this gets you an SPDR card, they're usually hero actions, like they're hero events, and you can't play them in alter ego. So like this card is very, very weird when you end your turn in alter ego. It's nice when you begin your turn for sure. 14 HP can take a hit, draw 3. With Green Goblin's a bit worse. I guess he doesn't attack for that much. Look, I think I'm going to start here and just make this more reasonable. I think Green Goblin is harder than we think it is. So I think we do take these out and we'll just flip them for limitless staminas. I think that's probably better. I think we're going to take out the hidden base and we'll try an unflappable. It might not fire consistently. And I think I'm going to take out Miles because I can't imagine us paying 4 costs for Miles, and I'll put in a Ghost Spider and I'll just do that. Nate, how's it going? Apparently I've been playing Ghost Spider wrong consistently because I did not read the front text. How are you doing? We're going to be learning this together. I'm going to try this. I think we can try the taunt. Like if we're not setting up fast enough, I think I'd be down to draw the taunt. Green Goblin has technically text when we set up when he hits us, so it's maybe not that bad. You notice too, our thwarting is not great. The big thing about thwarting is finding our thwart interface, let alone all the cheap readies. Our allies are okay at thwarting. Some of them are like really setup dependent. She's so good. What did you read wrong? Excuse me. I read this wrong. I thought you exhausted Penny Parker to draw 2 cards, which like reading comprehension, real difficult. It seems this Sunday morning. But yeah, you exhaust your suit, which is weird. I thought the trade-off was exhausting Penny or exhausting Penny Pilot. Instead, it's using your suit and drawing 2 cards, which like, that's a weird choice. That's a harder choice, I think. So this is how we start. Again, both of these cards are unique in terms of being ready or not. But when you flip them, they both flip. But when you exhaust one, you don't exhaust the other. Okay, we'll try something like that. It looks slightly crooked on my side. Is this the goblin that hits you when you flip? No, the goblin, there's no goblin that hits you when you flip. There's a goblin that hits you when he flips. That's Norman into Goblin. That's risky business. This Green Goblin, I guess we'll do the setup in a second, but this Green Goblin just, if he does damage when he attacks, he puts threat on the main scheme. That would make it much harder? You think that would make it much harder? I thought that would make it easier. That's how I've been playing it, and it's been like, oh, that's cool. Let's just say it makes it harder. I'd like to have 7 resources on turn 1. Yeah, let's say I played on hard mode. That will make me feel better. Thank you, Nate. All right, let's talk about the setup here. This is Unleashing the Mutagen. So we're playing stock standard, we're playing expert. So we have Goblin 2 and Goblin 3. I picked this scenario because I picked the name Mecha versus Minions because I thought it was fun. And so I decided to play a scenario that has a lot of minions. And I think the scenario, barring Ultron, has the most minions in it. It has at least 12, which is a lot. The deck is really big though. So I think we'd actually have to care about ratios more than we have to care about raw numbers. Now we put a Goblin Thrall into play. We're going to see a lot of these. This is the most common Goblin in the whole deck. They're all Goblins, if I'm not mistaken. They're all good Goblins. Brent. This is a 3 health 1/1 guard. And there's a whole bunch of these, and there's another one that just is 5 health, does 1 damage when defeated. Cool. That's it. Shuffle and counter deck. I already did that. We'll do it again and we'll flip this over. There are 2 main schemes. If this one collapses, it's not the end of the world. The next scheme is a lot worse, especially if you're bad at minion management, which I'm not saying we are. And actually, we have a lot of things to do on turn 1. So like drawing 2 cards as opposed to thwarting 2 or attacking 2 is actually going to be a real trade-off. This is a strong setup. Now this has when completed. It comes in with 2 hits 1. 7 is a low ratio, but when completed, each player not engaged with the goblin must discard 3 cards from the counter deck and put the first goblin minion discarded into play. The cool thing is, if you have a goblin in front of you, this does nothing. And in theory, you should have a goblin engaged with you, because otherwise when this advances, you have a chance of getting up to 3 goblins. Obviously, that's not likely. But a lot of times this advances because there is goblins in play. So it's cool it has that sort of catch-up mechanism. Now the villain has 18 health. When revealed, deal 2 encounter cards to each player. So again, our turn 1 is our worst turn for a while. When you advance the goblin 3, it's 3 more encounter cards, which is absurd. And then the forced response stays relatively stable. I guess it does ramp up a bit. It says after green goblin attacks and damages, you place a threat on the main scheme. If you want to challenge, throw goblin gear from Venom Goblin. This is my favorite villain. I don't think we're allowed to do that because we have nearly no way to get rid of the advanced goblin glider. I think Advanced Goblin Glider is like one of the few encounter sets that I actually build my deck around. Because if you do not have 3 cost or more attack events, you can't get rid of this. And our deck has 2 attack events. Now you can fix that with Protection. Like Protection has 3 cost attack events, but oh my god, I do not want to make this more difficult right now. I don't even know if we're going to do okay in this. I've never tried this. Is a scenario to play with new players when you give them a Minion Slayer hero? Yes. Yeah, this is the Minion Slayer scenario for sure. And we're not a Minion Slayer deck for whatever that's worth. I'm worried about the amount of pressure on turn 1. Worth noting that we're playing standard 3 as opposed to standard. So with 4 cards or 4 counters, we'll hit our Nemesis. Our Nemesis is okay. But a reason why is the deck is literally this big. It's a massive encounter deck. So the chance of finding Shadow of the Past is like incredibly low. So we'll try and make it a bit more consistent. Yeah, Advanced Glider is just like, if you can't clear this, you lose. You can discard multiple attack events? No, for sure, but we only have 2 attack events in our whole deck, right? Like the best case scenario is you have 1 3-cost attack event, but yeah, you could discard a 2 and a 2. The problem is we have to find both attack events in our entire deck to get rid of this. Which, like, good luck. I guess that's a reason to play Ghost Spider, huh? All right, I've already shuffled this. We'll give ourselves 2 encounter cards. And we'll wait for those. And now we have a very important setup. Let me drink the coffee. We just forget about it. It gets cold. This week I upgraded my keyboard. For those who don't know the way that I control the stream, I have a keyboard on my lap. I usually have a 60%. This is like a full-size keyboard. This is so much heavier. I'm really feeling it. It wants to fall off. And then to let you know, because no one asks, I control this stuff, funny enough, with my feet. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but all this stuff happens with my feet. Pretty used to using my feet while also using my hands at the same time. I played piano classically as a kid, so that's a cool thing we can do. But yeah, all this is controlled. Same time. We'll give this a cut. All right, we're drawing only 4 cards. Again, we want to get our interfaces as soon as possible. The order, like the defense one early is actually pretty good because it's our cheapest one. Cat on the lat and feet exercise. Yo, we did it. So I don't have the card art for this. It would take me a bit too long. But this is Speed Metal Alloy. This is really good. That's the cheapest one. I feel so gross about it. On the last video, I was like, the best 2 cards could be this. And then we top decked them. Like the same thing happened here. The best card to open with, and then we just flip it. Like, I think the big thing is because we talk about it, it has a chance of happening. But like, just disgusting. We built this deck, Nate, and we've only played it twice. With the changes I've made right now, I've played it 0 times. So we'll see if it's good. There's the other change we made, the Ghost Spider. I don't think we'll keep her again. We want to just play our interfaces, so we'll put her in the maybe category. This is the yes category. All System Go, I don't think we keep this. We'd have to do the math. But the big thing with All Systems Go is that if we want to grab our interface, it's very expensive. Actually, maybe it's the play, and then we just tank this and this. By you, this and this is the villain and the main scheme. Because we're going to be on technically 6 cards, and we have 1 wild for petty. Let alone if we play Speed Metal Alloy, we can generate a wild. So actually, maybe we keep this. Because it means we can go get another interface, and we probably can even get the ready interface so we don't waste our value. So 3, 4 would be Spider Bite. Ooh, actually interesting mulligan here. So Spider Bite, it says reduce the cost of Spider Bite for each tech card you control. It's worth shouting out, and I know this is a bit off screen, but Spider Suit is technically a tech upgrade. Oh no, it's a support. Oh, it doesn't care. It's tech card you control. So in theory, she costs 2. Once we flip up, our pilot is not a tech. It's an interface pilot. So this costs 2 in Alter Ego. Otherwise, it costs 3 when we jump up. So let's plan this out. Say that we kept these 4, which we might not. We can use Penny to play Speed Metal Alloy. We can use Speed Metal Alloy to play All Systems Go. We would have 2 more cards because our ability. And then we can use these 4 cards to play one of our interfaces. Then our interface could ready us. Actually seems like a really good start because we technically start with like pseudo 7 hand. So we could actually just like full keep this. If we draw a double, we could also play Spider Bite probably for 1, I think, instead of redding. So I think we definitely keep her. I think then we mulligan Ghost Spider. Because I think if we draw an interface, or sorry, we draw a double resource, Spider Bite might actually be playable. So if that's the case, I think we're going to keep these 3 because I think we have a line here, and then we'll draw our 4th card, which is a double, but not the double we wanted, but actually that might be interesting. This is the power of protection, generates 2, and we'll start here. So again, we're going to draw 3 encounter cards. We have a green goblin thrall, just attacks for 1. It's not the worst. And here what we can do is we can always exhaust our suit to draw 2 cards, which I think we're going to do. So we're going to use this. We'll exhaust the suit and we'll draw 2 cards. We get Scarlet Spider, bummer to draw him because we want to draw him later. We can't really afford to play him. And we draw Energy Barrier, which is a cheap tech card as much as we have the power protection. Okay. I think now we're just going to flip up. And when we flip, these both flip together. So now our hero tech says we can exhaust an interface. So I'm going to exhaust SPDR. SPDR, the pilot, generates a wild because she's an interface. And we'll use that to play Speed Metal Alloy, which apparently I do not have the art for. I will fix that later. This one, in short, allows us to exhaust it to generate a physical or exhaust us to get +2 defend. So that's this. Then we can exhaust that for All Systems Go. That searches for an interface. If we want to play the interface, it'll be 3 cards. We'll have only 2 techs in, so Spider Bite we can't play. The other option is instead of getting a ready interface, we get a 2-cost interface. With a 2-cost interface, we can play the 2-cost interface, and then we can get out an Energy Barrier before we find a repurpose. That's another option. The ready interface is probably the best one by a mile because it also allows us to do something this turn. Oh, the other option is we grab the ready interface with this. Play the ready interface for 3, then exhaust the ready interface to play Spider Bite. That's the other option. So I think the big decision here is whether we get the expensive 3-cost interface or whether we get something smaller. I think getting 2 interfaces on turn 1 is 6, so I think we'll get the 3-cost interface. And I think instead of redding, I think we'll play Spider Bite because then it uses our hand a bit better. So we're going to exhaust this to generate 1 and we'll play All Systems Go. So instead of redding our interface, which in theory we could pay 2 to make 2, kind of funny, but we're going to search for an interface and we want to go for the, what's it, the Psychic Connection one? Host Spider. This is not the Psychic Connection one. So the Host Spider's name is SPDR from my understanding. Hey, Proofrock, how's it going? I don't have that much experience, so if you have any tips, please let me know. I'm apparently been playing some of this wrong. Oh, this is not a tech though. I forgot this is the one that's uniquely not a tech card. So if we want to get that, we'd have to play it for 3. Then it generates 1, but the only 2 tech cards we have is this. We only have 1 tech card. So it wastes our hand. We could keep Spider Bite for next turn because Spider Bite next turn will cost probably 1, maybe 2. But the issue is that this card is not tech, so I thought it would reduce Spider Bite. The other options, we can go grab a different interface that's tech traded. Then we can exhaust it to play Spider Bite. That actually might be better. But I think being ready with the defense is so good. So I think we still go for this. The question is, do we keep a card in hand? I don't think we keep these cards. Spider Bite will be only 2 next turn. That's probably worth a punt. So we'll pay 3 for Host Spider. I always go for the defensive first. Luckily, we have the defensive first. If we didn't, I would consider going for the defensive first for sure. Let's shuffle that. Hey, MPH, how's it going? I just completed a Spider Justice game on the same scenario while listening in. Oh, get out. Heck yeah. I wonder if, like, I think Repurpose is that good, but I could see, like, being Justice or something that gives you more proactive cards being even better for your setup. All right, so we're going to exhaust this to ready ourselves because it doesn't do anything otherwise. I think we're just going to thwart for 2. Otherwise, we can attack the Goblin Thrall, but next turn we might be attacking more. So I'll just hit 2 on this. And then I'll hold on to SPDR. We're only having, again, a 3 hand size. So if we hold on to SPDR, it's actually really quite expensive. No, probably not. No. We'll pass. Oh, I didn't notice. Yeah, Host second, then the others. Yeah, Host seems really good. It also generates a wild, which our deck doesn't care about that much, but we'll just ready up, draw to 3. First, Web Trap. Okay, quite good. This is 5 damage and a stun. We have Madame Web. Again, I don't think setting up with our allies like makes that much sense. Again, I guess we don't draw into another, what's it called? another interface. And then finally we have Spider Command, SPDR Command, which allows us to either draw a card or ready interface. So at a minimum, it is a cheap enough ready, but also drawing a card sometimes if you don't use your interfaces is good. All right, it's unleashing the mutagen. This doesn't really have text, it just gets 1. And now the villain's going to attack us for 2 and a card. And if this does damage, we have to add 1 threat to the main scheme. Now, because we have the ready, we probably are allowed to just defend this attack because we'll have 4 attack. The problem is, like, anytime that we use one of these resource generators, it technically costs us a resource on our turn. So we really have to plan out our turn here. So ideally our turn is like 1, 2 into web trap and then play this. We're likely to take no damage if we defend for 4. Defending for 5 obviously would be even better because there could be 3 boosts here, but we could defend for 4 and it's technically like taking no damage and removing 1 threat, which is a pretty good activation. It's not the easiest with this hand though. It's not the easiest. Oh, this is guard though, so the web trap has to go into the guard minion, which that kind of stinks. I wonder if it was actually worth in this hand keeping the energy barrier, because energy barriers are really good against the 1 health minions. Because this turn we were going to attack for 2 and then not defeat it. So yeah, actually that was probably the card we should have kept. Man, the decision points are already really, really intimidating. Okay, hold on. So we technically have 4, 5, 6 resources. That's more than we can spend. I'll try and block. I don't know if this is right. So we're blocking here for 4. 1, 2, 3 on Wicked Ambition. So we take no damage. So we don't have to do the text. The Goblin Thrall will just attack us. This just attacks us for 1. So we'll take 1. Down to 13. And we draw 3 encounter cards, and we are exhausted. We can't use the host spider to ready ourselves because it's an action, so it has to be our turn, or technically someone's turn, not the villain's turn. Pumpkin bombs. Okay, attachments are fine. Don't have to really worry about them. So attach to the villain. After the villain attacks you, discard this, take 2 indirect damage, so not the end of the world. Otherwise, 2 physicals to get rid of this. I don't think 2 resources is worth 2 indirect damage. Yeah. Soldier, okay. This is what I mean. We can kind of get overwhelmed. So when defeated, only attacks for 1. Again, this is why the energy barrier is really good. Deal 1 damage to the engaged player. And overrun, this is going to grab more guys. So when defeated, and it has 1 acceleration, only 1 threat, you must discard 2 cards from the counter deck and put each goblin minion discarded this way into play. It has 2 acceleration, 1 threat. All right, that's turn 1, and turn 1's usually the worst turn for a moment. So at least here we can stabilize. The biggest issue though is like we have this Goblin Thrall and we can't really deal with it that well. This could be a jump down angle. The issue is our suit is exhausted. So if we want to not use our suit, we can jump down and draw 2 more cards. We have a resource generator and a ready. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think on turn 1, we've already misplayed. My guess is that it was correct to not grab Host Spider, and it might have been correct to go get the one that gives us +2 attack. Because this scenario so commonly produces 3 and 5 health minions, and with 2 health, unless we played an energy barrier, we're in a bad spot. If we played the 2 attack one, we also could have played as Spider Bite because we would have had 2 resources, and then we would start here with with an ally, which can block in a panic, of course, and then we would have 4 attack here. We wouldn't have been able to block though. So I think in hindsight, like I've already not in like my first turn, because yeah, if we didn't play Spider Bite, I think it might have been right to keep Energy Barrier because Energy Barrier just is so good against these sort of minions. So this is going to go to 2, 3, 4. If we jump down, Goblin, it goes to 5, 6 plus X plus 7, 8. So we're always going to advance. So we can't jump down here. We could clear this, but it's our whole turn. So we could play Madame Web, ready ourselves. Madame Web and us could defeat the Goblin Thrall. That's an option. Web Trap doesn't seem that good to play because of the guard. I'd love to stun Green Goblin, that's for sure, but the guard is obviously not useful. We could hit the Goblin Soldier, but then we're paying 2 to defeat the Goblin Soldier. I mean, like, maybe that's okay. So we could spend 2 in the Goblin Soldier. That's our whole hand. And that wastes a resource. So I think the thing here that we do is we play Madame Web. And then she can see the top so we can know if whether overruns something we can fix. So I'll do 1, 2, 3. Losing our command sucks. I think our ready is better than the command, but I could be wrong. So after Madame enters play, look at the top X cards where X is equal to the amount of web warriors. She's a web warrior. Our suit is a web warrior. So we'll look at only 2 cards. So top is a goblin. The boosts on these are also really bad because they just go into play with you. And then second is a goblin. All right. So that's not good. We're going to have a lot of minions here. Now with Madame Web, we're allowed to discard one of these. That's so funny. So we can discard one of these, put the others back. So the option is whether we discard one of these goblins. No matter what, these are going to be in play, engage with us. Like there's no way around it. If Goblin attacks us, these will be in play. If we get rid of Overrun, they'll be in play, and they're going to activate against us anyways. So maybe the best thing we can do is like discard one and then still thwart Overrun. I think we do. The first turn of the scenario is a bit rough. That said, your shuffle is rough. Like this shuffle or a start shuffle. I think we definitely should not have got this. I think we should have got the +2 attack. I think stabilizing the board is a bigger priority. Maybe you could say this is the same because it's actually, yeah, maybe this is better because you can do 2 attack, 2 attack. We probably shouldn't have blocked, I'll be honest. Because we thought there was going to be minions. Almost definitely there's going to be minions. And now without any minions, we can't clear this. We also could just let this cook. This will go up to 4. And then we can defeat a Goblin Thrall, which like, it's only 1 damage. We'll discard 1 for sure. We'll put 1 on the top. Okay. So if we clear this now, it prevents 2 threat. So it's like you're thwarting for 2. I think we'll do it. I'm going to thwart 2 on Overrun. That sucks. So discard the top 2 cards of the deck and put each Goblin. So it's a Thrall and it's an Intimidation. So we have 1 more Goblin Thrall. Again, these have guard. I'll try not to forget. So why I hate the Mutagen formula scenario, I have no clue why people enjoy it. I will either play Risky Business every day. I think Risky Business is too sleepy. Like it doesn't actually do anything. This is fun. Like, especially if you play somebody who really wants to get minions, like this is guaranteed minions. But I think this is so much more exciting. Like it seems more overwhelming than it looks. These only attack for 1. Like they're not that bad. The issue is like there's a lot of health on the table we have to deal with. That's a bigger problem. We'll ready ourselves with our Host Spider and then we'll attack for 2. And I think we'll just work on the new one and we'll pass. I do think like I don't like scenarios where it's like you start with a bomb of encounter cards because the variance on what 2 encounter cards or 3 encounter cards does, there's a lot of variance attached to that. Like sometimes it's just like game losing. You could draw like 2 big minions into a gang up. Other times it's like, really is no gang up because we're playing standard 3. Draw 3 cards. All right, our web compressor, that's the one we wanted. So this thing has +2 attack. It's our tech interface. Maybe we should grab this one first. We have Spider UK. This is good. This deals with allies. This is actually what we want. It deals with minions. As much as these are 2 very expensive cards, we need a double here. Instead, we have limitless stamina. So, okay. Again, 3 hand size. We're really feeling it. Hey, Shmendrick, I love this scenario. Pressures you almost every deck and teaches you important lessons. I like using your health as a resource. Yeah, it does teach you lessons. I think it's really cool. Encounter deck. I think your mulligan was fine, but you have 5 minions on the top of the encounter deck. Yeah, that was weird. That was not good. Now the villain's attacking for 2. It says after the villain attacks you, we have to discard the pumpkin bombs to take 2 indirect. We could block with Madame Web, but I think Madame Web, I think health is a resource right now, and we could use Madame Web to knock out a Goblin Thrall. So this turn will be less horrible for us. So I think we're just going to take it 1, 2, 3, boost on Intimidation. Nope. Give the villain an additional boost card. Okay, it's 3. All right, this doesn't do anything. So this is regenerative healing. I would have loved to draw this as a boost card, as an encounter card. Unfortunately, we don't. Oh no, this says surge, right? Wait, this is not in here? The villain heals 2, so they can't. So we're going to be attacked for 3 damage, plus 2 indirect. So we'll take 5. And because we took damage, 1 goes to the thing, to the main scheme. Then we'll just take 3 more. All right. 1 encounter card. Help. Send help. Please send help. We can ambition discard X cards from the counter deck where X is equal to double the villain's stage number. Each time a goblin is discarded, either take 3 damage or put that minion in play. So stage number is 2, so we have to discard 4 cards. Luckily, we saw all the minions already, right? So what's the chance of finding a goblin? Double the villain's stage number. 1. Great. So we have to decide now. No, you discard all at once, right? Discard X cards. You discard all at once. 2, 3, 4. It's very bad now. It's really quite bad. We might have to wipe. That's monster. When revealed, you are stunned. Take 2 deck damage if you're already stunned. So either we have to take these or we have to take 3 damage. I'm gonna wipe. I am going to wipe. We're gonna just try this again. And then next encounter card would have been Glider, which is fine. A +1 attack. All right, good run, y'all. I think we had an interesting turn and a half. We're just gonna put the goblins back to where they came and give it another shot. Get overwhelmed and lose, and I think I have a 10% win rate. Ronin's easier for me to defeat, so much easier. I have a much better win rate here than against Ronin. That sucks. I think we saw 5 out of the 12 goblins in the top, but yeah, that obviously wasn't good. We'll give that another shot. Yeah, monster's pretty rough. So okay, you can say that was unwinnable, maybe. And I do think like we spin up. So like having the big burst early, obviously that's not good. What did we learn about how we played? Like, was it actually right to get Host Spider, or should we gone for the +2 attack? I think the big mistake we did is blocking on turn 1. I think we shouldn't have blocked, because if we can't block, we can't deal with the minions, and obviously the minions snowball. Because if we can't defeat a minion, it's only 1 more damage, but I guess there are some encounter cards that care about it. All right, let's give this another shot. Okay, hold on. It sounded like I dropped 2 cards. I don't think I did. Yeah, monster's bad. Monster is the one unique one. Oh no, there's another one too, isn't there? No, I'm thinking of Venom Goblin. Monster's the one big one. I'm assuming, oh, this is what the second one we dropped. I'm assuming once we get over the first 2 turns, we'll be okay. This is what I mean is like, because we're playing protection, we have no cheap attacks. So it would be very easy for this deck to like, you know, be aggression and have some cheap 1x1s and stuff like that. Like you can build into this scenario relatively easily, let alone you can play, you know, Winter Soldier and Captain America. We could be playing, in theory, what would be really good in this deck is Patriot. Protection Patriot's absurd in this scenario. Goblin Knight. Oh, that's the other one. Yeah. Yeah. Goblin. Yeah, this is another big one. It's like 7 health. Yeah. I played with him back when he first came out, when there were only 7 heroes in the game and never won. Finally beat with Stretch 22's Thor protection deck. Oh, very cool. This is definitely like the scenario where I remember holding my breath the most on turn 1. And I think you see why. Yeah. Give this a shuffle and we're off. Maybe the protection one isn't the best one to start with. I think you don't mulligan it, but round 2. Fight. Man, this bothers me. These look crooked, and then the whole frame looks crooked. I think these are straight. Is the table crooked? This guy's crooked. All right, we'll give it another shot. Maybe we'll have our 3rd turn. Who knows? Intimidation's a messed up card. Sometimes it does nothing. Sometimes it spawns 3 minions. Okay. Game 2. Spider Bite. All right, she's not great. She's 2 cost. She does 1 damage, which actually does solve our goblin problem on turn 1. Oh, we have 2 encounter cards, excuse me. Just put those there. So probably not. Repurpose, we have no targets on turn 1, so I'd be very surprised if we kept that. On Maze, we almost always keep this, especially because we've drawn no other cards. Oh, sorry, on May and Uncle Ben. Especially because we've drawn no other spider cards yet. The order that you do this versus the order that you draw 2 cards with Penny Parker doesn't really matter. And finally, we have Limitless Stamina, which is technically a 1 cost. It doesn't help us set up, but it's a 1 cost that deals with the Goblin Thrall. So that's okay. This is interesting. We definitely don't keep Repurpose. I don't think we keep Limitless Stam. Spider Bite's also a big question mark. I think we have so much higher cards we can play. Like at a minimum, she's a 2 cost ally. That is actually the cheapest ally we have in our deck, besides Auto, I think. And yeah, besides Auto. I think we just keep this and go. Admittedly, the more we draw, the less likely this is to do something, because the more likely we are to draw into our cards that are our cards. But I think this is okay. This game will be better. Yeah, I think so. Repurpose. Host Spider, that's really good. Across the Spider-Verse, which is not super useful, but it's really nice. Like, we do have this interesting synergy point where with Across Spider-Verse, if we mill cards with On May and Uncle Ben's, we end up in a good spot. Okay. With that being said, oh, the only downside is we have to exhaust a Web Warrior card, and we technically have no Web Warrior cards if this thing is exhausted, which Penny will do. We always draw 2 cards, right? I think we always draw 2 cards. I don't think we consider it. The order that we do Aunt Maze versus anything else doesn't matter. I think the question is whether you get the unknown or known information. This is a philosophical game thing, right? So we can exhaust our suit to draw 2 cards. Cool. We can also play Aunt Maze and exhaust this to draw maybe 0 to 3 cards. In theory, this is the most unknown information. But if we play Aunt Maze first and draw 3 cards, there is a chance that we won't tap ourselves to draw 2 cards. Now, discarding cards from the deck is straight random, so it's not like doing one impacts the other. It's just like pulling a different part from the deck. I guess we'd have more information to know how likely this is to hit, but it's like kind of niche. So I'm just going to play On Maze and Uncle's Bends, and I think we're going to rip this. And I think this is going to be pretty deciding on how good this turn is going to be. So we can exhaust this and discard 3 cards from our deck. Each SPDR card goes to our hand. It's an energy shield. We didn't want that. It's an unflappable. We didn't want that. It's an, all right, good stuff, good stuff. Just put those in the bin. Don't worry about those. Those will be there later. That's for later. So we just went down 2 cards. No problem. Don't worry about that stuff. And we'll just exhaust this to draw 2 cards. It's going to be SPDR cards. Yeah, it's going to be SPD cards. It's going to be SPDR cards. Why? Almay's the best card in your starting mulligan? I mean, I'm making me upset. It's the best card. Fuck. That was bad. Okay. So that's fine. We technically still have 5 resources. If we play the host spider, we could do 1, 2, 3 for the host spider. I mean, it's not good. It's not particularly good. We're going to waste a resource. So if that's the case, there's nothing we can really do with Penny here. All systems go, we could play. It also doesn't do anything. Oh no, we can maybe play this to ready ourselves at a minimum so we don't waste any cards. So we'll flip up. I wonder if we stay down. This goes to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If he gets anything with like 1 boost, yeah, that seems unreasonable. We'll flip up. We have 14 health. Let's use it. Okay, so we're going to do SPDR suit, Across the Spider-Verse, Rapid Deployment, Host Spider. And this is a really goofy thing you can do, I guess. We can exhaust Host Spider to generate a resource to play All Systems Go. And then when we use this, we can ready each interface. So we ready both of these, which means now we can ready ourselves. That's convoluted, but it works. And so now with SPDR suit, we need to thwart for 2 or attack. I think we learned last time, if this advances, it's not the end of the world. If we can't defeat this, which takes us 2 turns of focus, we should probably just try and defeat this. Now this thing dies to every copy of Energy Barrier, which we still have all of them. So maybe that's good. And we waste this 1 resource here. That turn could have been so much better. Maybe we shouldn't complain, but here we go. Drawing to 3 cards. SPDR command. Okay. So this gives us a bit of flexibility. We have rapid deployment. So we only had 1 more of those in the deck. So I think we've seen both of these thwart cards. And we have a genius, which like, I wish we had things to play with this hand. We don't really. So we'll see how this goes. This is great. Yeah, this is great. It goes to 3. This is great. This goes to 3. Green Goblin's now going to attack us for 2 and a card. I think we learned that we can't block on turn 1 because we really have to be ready on turn 1 because of, you know, this thing. So we'll just take 1, 2. Boost, it's a Goblin Thrall. You know it. You love it. So functionally, we take 1, 2 damage, 3, 4 damage. So we'll just go ahead and shortcut, take 4. This goes to 1 because the villain hurt us. And we draw 3 encounter cards. All right, so we're going to scoop this one too. What is this scenario? 3 hand size. It's Goblin Knight. Force response. After Goblin Knight attacks you, discard a card from the encounter deck. If the card is a Goblin minion, put that minion engaged with you. What's the chance of that? Yeah, you're right. Ame can give us something. Okay, 7 health or 52 health. You take the worst. Grim Rule. Death from above sounds bad. This is the one that attacks you if you're an alter ego, right? Goblin. No, this is something else. Green Goblin attacks with +X attacks where X is equal to the villain's stage number. So he's attacking for 4 in a card. I mean, we just have to take it. We have to be ready here. 4, 5 overrun. So we take 5. This goes to 5. Oh, that's not bad. Choose to either spend 2 resources of any type or give the villain a face down boost card. Oy vey. What are we meant to do here? So 2 resources is like a lot of resources. Boost card means we could block with an ally. The problem is we don't have an ally. And the only way we could draw an ally is with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. But there's only 1 ally in the whole deck that this could possibly hit, which is pretty bad. Not very good odds. what can we do? We could attack for 2 into Goblin Knight. We could ready ourselves attacking for 2 into Goblin Knight. That's mostly it. We, in theory, can exhaust SPDR to draw with SPDR command, which is good. Rapid deployment could clear this, but we're on 5 health. We're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe 2 boost cards. So we're likely to be flatlined unless we jump down and technically let this go through, which actually might be the play. It might be the play to just let this go through. So we could like do a bit of work and then knock out a Goblin Thrall, ready ourselves, jump down, draw 2, and just say, I don't care. If that's the case, the extra boost card doesn't matter. As long as this is on 5, the extra boost card doesn't matter, because I think we're just going to let it go through. The issue is, I think the other side, the amount of threat you put on it scales with the amount of goblins in play, but I think we just have to let this go through. So we're going to just give a boost card and say that's a problem for next turn. I actually do like drawing to Goblin Knight when I'm playing Winter Soldier. You're going to give me a minion to hit when you attack me. Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, I know. Minion collectors are they so enjoy Green Goblin. We definitely played Winter Soldier into this scenario, or a Tigra into this scenario. It's like the most fun, especially because you turn off like a lot of cheap card minions as Tigra. We really need to play Protection Tigra on stream. Okay, that's that. So things aren't great. Let's be honest. They're not good. We have the SPD current. I think this is the issue too, is Aunt May and Uncle Ben. As I said before, doing this in Alter Ego kind of stinks because the cards that you draw, unless you draw interfaces, are unplayable because all your other cards are mostly hero cards. So we have no reason to play any of these cards really. Rapid deployment we could technically do. This is going to go to 6. Green Goblin's definitely going to advance though. He's scheming for 2 and 2 boost cards, so it's not like really worth anything. If we even clear this down to 0, it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're guaranteed to go through. In theory, it's best if you go through with the Goblin Knight because then there's less scheme on the second scheme. But yeah, I don't think it's really that much worth it. So we'll use SPDR suit to knock out this Thrall. Cool. We will ready ourselves. We'll use the SPDR suit to play SPDR command. Oh no, we won't use the suit. I guess we'll use rapid deployment to play SPDR command. Because we can now use SPDR command to exhaust this to either ready ourselves or we can draw a card. I think we have to draw a card. I think we need to find an ally here. Not the ally you want. Hey, it's Ben Riley. Okay, that's something. So we want to keep this ready so we can jump down. That means if we spend our whole hand, we could spend Genius plus SPDR. But I think if we don't use SPDR suit, we can also recover, which is going to be important. So I think we're going to do a tactical retreat here. We're just going to jump down. Okay, the order of these doesn't matter. So I'm going to start here again with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. So we're going to rip 3 and hope for the best. This is the card I hate discarding the most. Now, drawing first or drawing second didn't matter, but if we top deck that, which we could have drawn with 2 with Penny Parker, we lose a strength, we lose a Ghost Spider. Aunt May and Uncle Ben have been so mean to us. Just so mean to us. I cannot imagine 3 cards we would want to draw more. Like, look at those 3 cards for this board state. Anyways, now we'll draw 2. We'll use Penny Parker to draw Exhaust Pursuit to draw 2 cards. Madame Web. And all systems go. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Not great. Penny's exhausted for SPDR command. We decided. Yeah, you're right. That's fine. So we can't ready. She's exhausted. Yeah, you're right. We drew a card instead of recovering for that. Thank you. My card mains arrived endgame. Feel fortunate to get treacheries and obligations and flip turn 1. Hey, Motoboy, I was listening to another part of the stream while driving. I wanted to chime in about Venom. She can only be a 5/5 because you only use a max of 4 interfaces to pay for a can't overpay. Yeah, that was corrected. Somebody did correct me on that. Unless you can find a way to make her more expensive, which like there's niche. But yeah, that's a good shout out. How's it going, by the way? Hopefully your Sunday's good. Okay, things aren't good. That sucked. If we did on the other order, it actually would have been pretty good. It turned out it was pretty bad. So we're just gonna do 1, 2. Again, we can't play this card because it's a hero action. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3. We'll play Madame Web. We have 1 Web Warrior. Actually, no, then we should play Scarlet Spider because he can save us. Yeah, we'll play Scarlet Spider. Madame Web doesn't actually matter here because we don't want to thwart. Oh, but we might need her next turn. So Scarlet Spider is just like 5 health soak, which is like good abstractly, but Madame Web technically does something here. And by does something here, not really, but more importantly, does something here is like gets ready to thwart 2 next turn. So I think we'll play Madame Web. I think we'll just do 1, 2, 3. All Systems Go might be worth holding because it's a cheap ready. and it's a cheap 2-card draw. So I think we actually do hold this. She comes into play. We only have 1 web warrior, so we look at the top card, we can discard it. This will be a boost card. It's a boost, heals 2 damage. That's totally acceptable. Yeah, Aunt May and Uncle Ben have been really mean. We'll pass. We're doing a tactical advance. All right, we draw up 1, 2, power protection, 3, Spider UK. Oh, that's interesting. 4, Peter. Peter seems good. That's all we draw. Okay, this goes to 6. Green Goblin is scheming for 2 and 2 cards, so we know it's 1, 2. Heal 2 doesn't do anything. 3, 4, 5 off Goblin Glider, so it was a 3 boost. So we advance the scheme. Now this scheme, when it advances, its text won't fire because of the board state. In player order, each player not engaged with the Goblin. Otherwise, yeah. So Mutagen Cloud is the next one. It just says to flip it. This thing is really scary though, because it has an acceleration equal to the amount of goblins, including the villain. So it comes in with 4 threat. Yo, what the heck? And it says X, which is acceleration, is equal to the number of goblin minions, including Green Goblin in play. So we're going to add 3 more. So this goes to 7 of 11, and we're adding 3 next turn. So we're in a bad spot. Feeling good about the flip up? Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. That's the card you'd expect it to be. So the worst thing about this is not so much that it's a goblin thrall, but more so that it adds 1 acceleration. Because again, every goblin now functionally has an acceleration on it. All right. All right. It's turn 3. We have 13 damage worth of minions that all have acceleration icons. And it's back to us. So our health sucks. The cool thing now with Spider UK is that in theory we can block and we'll have 3 web warriors. So Spider UK will just like straight knock out one of these minions. The bad thing though is that it'll be after the acceleration goes through. Oh, is Spider UK not here? Oh yeah, here it is. It'll be after the acceleration goes through. So again, this is at 7. It's going to go to 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have to knock out one of these minions or we lose, or we have to thwart. So the question is whether we're going to do something with our suit. Our suit plus Madame Web can knock out a thrall. Madame Web can thwart for 2. That's probably a bit better. We can use Aunt May and Uncle Ben here and get upset at ourselves. I think we'll start there. That's usually, we should get that out of the way before it's bad. I think I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to discard 3. So far we ripped 6 and missed. Miss? Nice. Nice. Can't search that one up. It's a defense one. And repurpose. Okay, so we've ripped 9 cards, hit 1. Cool. So that's a cheap upgrade. That's nice. Mind you, we have all systems go. And so it should be easy this turn to actually play all our allies. This is a really good hand. It's actually really quite a good hand. The question is whether we're going to do something with our alter ego. I don't think we can. Like, if anything, we're going to recover for 4, but we really have to plan this turn out. So if we exhaust or we recover for 4, we're 9. When we flip up, we can use Host Spider. Well, we can draw 2 more cards here, but I honestly don't think we need to. I don't think we need to draw 2 more cards. I think this hand's perfect. So say that we don't recover for 4. If we don't recover for 4, we can generate wild, wild, maybe we draw 2. Because ideally we play Spider-Man. We all systems go to red everything. Ready everything. Yeah, I think we draw 2 here. Yeah, we should be able to draw 2. I think we're fine. We'll use our text. We'll exhaust our suit to draw 2. Hey, we talked about this being a cheap safety card. We might actually use that because we are technically sub 6. And we have Psychic Link. Okay, this is the one I was talking about. So this is technically nice. Not what we wanted to draw here, but it's nice. So now our goal on this turn is basically to play all of our interfaces and then just ready all of them, because then you get this huge boost of tempo. So I think we're just going to interface max this turn. Okay, so we need to do this correctly. The question is, do we recover 4 or do we have an interface? Well, we have to do the math. So we have this interface. We can play interface plus interface for interface, interface for interface. And then we do card for all systems go. We ready 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 of them play Spider-Man. 1 of them plays Spider UK. We get 1 attack. This is sick. This is a good turn. This is a good turn. I think we mathed it. I think we're legally allowed to recover for 4. No, maybe the math was we weren't. Again, one more time. Interface plus interface is interface. Interface, of course, is interface. Then we do card to ready our interfaces. We have 4 interfaces. 3 interfaces play Spider-Man. 1 interface plays Spider UK. And then we go to the moon. Yeah, I think we can't recover it. We'll flip up. Remember, y'all, interface is interface. Okay, so again, hero text. We'll spend this interface, we'll exhaust it, and this interface to play this interface. It's Psychic Link. It's the thwart one. We'll exhaust this interface to play Speed Metal, which I can't show you the text on this one, unfortunately, but this is the defense one. Oh, wait, we have one more card than we think we do, so we can play Ejection Protocol. That's sick. So that means we could have recovered 4, I think. Bummer. Then we'll exhaust this interface to play All Systems Go. Okay, so we can ready each interface. So we'll ready ourselves. We'll ready these 3. Okay, so the defense interface is useless. The thwart interface we probably won't use. So we'll do wild, defense, thwart to play Spider-Man. So we generate physical, mental, and energy. It's Peter. So Peter's in play. And when Peter activates, we can ready a Web Warrior, which we are a Web Warrior. Then we'll generate. No, this is fine. So either we can get the ready, which could be a card draw. The attack interface is the one we're missing. That's the one we really want here. Spider UK is really nice because it knocks out the Goblin Thrall. The thing is Spider UK costs 3. So either we don't get a ready or we get the Ejection Protocol. The Ejection Protocol is like nice. It's definitely okay. It's a tough and it jumps down to Alter Ego, which is like kind of good. Next turn, we're going to have to block for 4, I think, because Goblin's hitting hard and we're not that super healthy. Goblin Knight is going to attack for 2. We're going to knock out 2 Goblin Thralls because currently she thwarts for 2. We do attack for 4. So I think our activation is not particularly good. It just whittles this Goblin Thrall down. We can actually attack with Spider UK here as well. So we can do 2 Goblin Thralls. We have 1, 2, 3 Web Warriors. So actually getting Goblin Knight down to 3 would be more important, or down to 4. Yeah, so Spider UK, we have web. So it's 4 web heads. So we need to get Goblin down to 3. Sorry, yeah, 3 damage. So I think we do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Yeah. Yeah, I think we can't. I think we don't use the ready. So I'm going to pay 1, 2 on Spider UK. I think. Because we do attack into this, thwart into that. If we defeat a Goblin Thrall, it's like, yeah, I think we'll ready. It's like we also thwart. It's very efficient. Spider Kid was distracted when you explained the deck. I didn't see how he was in the deck. Nice to see. Yeah, he seems really good, especially with all these 3 health little guys. Oh, I'm out of health cubes. No, I have 1 more. So Spider UK is here. I've never played this character. Okay, so now let's the swinging begin. So Spider-Man will attack for 2 into Goblin Knight. When Peter fires, we can ready a character. We might as well ready ourselves. Okay. We will attack for 2, which we can't boost, into this Goblin Thrall. Madame Web will thwart for 2. Safety. Spider-Man UK will take 2 consequential attack into the Goblin Knight for 2. We will use Host Spider to ready ourselves. Host Spider will defeat this Goblin Thrall. Okay. Yeah, Spider UK seems really legit. Like, probably we should be playing Change of Fortune in this deck. Maybe even in the Unflappable slot. Seems really good. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Yeah, he seems good. I've never played him. I'm not sure why. I never realized he was an interrupt. I think the big reason is when I read Spider UK, I thought it was like a after he protects, which like you have to survive that. But instead, it's like immediately destroy things on sight, which is obviously very quite good. Hey, that was a sick turn. Okay, cool. And that was an interesting turn, which I think is the best part. All right, so we'll draw up to 3 cards. We get energy, not super useful. A fluid compressor, that's our +2 attack one. Okay, we're back on board. And limitless, that is a very flexible hand. All right, the problem is we have to still survive this turn. And we can lose to this, let alone we can lose being attacked. So X is equal to the number of goblin enemies in play. So this goes up 3, goes 8 of 11. We haven't seen a single advance yet, or advance equivalent. Green Goblin is now attacking us for 2 and a card. 1, 2, and a card, and this puts threat on the main scheme. I think we put Madame Web in the way. Or we can block for 4. If we block for 4, we don't do the threat. I think we'll block for 4. So we'll do 1, 2, and we'll exhaust speed metal, so we have 4 defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hate it. Goblin glider, 3 boost. So we take 1, and because we took 1, we put 1 threat here. So we're at 9. Now Goblin Knight's attacking. Goblin Knight's attack is after Goblin Knight attacks you. So first we're going to get in the way with Spider UK. And Spider UK says interrupt. So it happens immediately. When Spider UK defends against an enemy, deal damage to the attacking enemy equal to the number of web warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Goblin Knight gets knocked out. Goblin Thrall will attack us for 1. 1 encounter card. Why? Why is it like this? Why does it have to be like this? It's monster. Like, imagine not drawing a goblin. When revealed, you are stunned. Yeah, fine, whatever. Fine, I don't care. Fine, it's not a big deal. Do you have a Hanger Bay in the deck? No, I don't. I think that's genuinely the first character that Hanger Bay actually makes sense to me. I don't like this card. I don't actually think there's a lot of use cases for it. Maybe it's a multiplayer thing, but this is the only ally that you actually want to defend multiple times, because usually you're defending with like a toughness ally, and that like doesn't really matter. That actually sick. Yeah, Hanger Bay could make a lot of sense. That's a really good inclusion. We'll change this. This is it, dude. Hunkering down for the pending snowstorm. We're about to get dumped on. Oh, I hope y'all are okay. I'm hoping for the best. I'm in Canada and Montreal. We didn't have it as bad as it seems some have, but particularly we have the infrastructure to get prepared. So hopefully you and yours are safe, huh? Okay, back at it. Our deck is thin. We have some problems. We are not going to be drawing cards when these leave play because we lost our web warrior team up in the fray. I think we just start here with Unmay and Uncle Ben and hope for the best. So I'm just going to exhaust this to rip 2 because we're not jumping down here. No, Venom. That's interesting. Notably, our allies are full, but Madame Web is probably going to show herself out. You're in Halifax. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I imagine you're getting it a bit later than all of us. Hey, B-Gibbs, how are you doing? Do you create your own decks? If you do, hold on. That shouldn't have been that hard. If so, do you publish them on Marvel CDB? So yes and no. Firstly, 80% of the time I play my own decks. When we're not playing our own decks, or we're playing a deck that's based off of someone's deck, we like very specifically at the top of the stream, we mention it. Notably, if you're watching on YouTube, which I say that, of course you're watching on YouTube, it's the only place we are. In the description below, if you hit more, there always is a link to the deck I'm playing. And if it's based on a deck or we reference someone else's deck, their deck is there. I've only published 1 list ever on Marvel CDB. It's a Falcon list. Everything else I'll make on Marvel CDB and I'll share the link, but I never like publish it. So you have to have the link, which again is always in the description. I think I need to do a better job publishing links because I think people do care about that. I think I wouldn't publish, like we put out generally 2 decks a week functionally if we have a video and a live stream. And I don't feel like spamming Marvel CDB with 2 decks a week. So it's usually if I find something that I think is really good, then I'd consider publishing it. But I think publishing is on Marvel CDB is something I should do more, especially for like people as an avenue to find this channel. Let me know if you have any opinions on that, but I don't love the idea of like every time we make a deck, especially this deck, which is clearly like not optimized, whether it's worth publishing a deck. But you can find the link for what it's worth in the description. Like Hanger Bays with allies like Patriot or Martyr, but definitely niche. Even Patriot, I don't think I fully understand because like you don't want to really do much with him without the toughness. I guess you could, but it seems like so comparable to Iron Lad. Yeah, he's okay because like you can attack for 2 and then get the toughness back. Good to know. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for asking. But yeah, again, every time I put a lot of effort to do timestamps and links and everything in the description. It's always there. You just have to click through. All right, we're adding 3 a turn. That's a problem. We need to defeat everything here. Our hand, excuse me, can play Venom. We can get our last thing into play, which is really good. This is the +2 attack one. And I think we need a defeat monster. We can let the Goblin Thrall stay because Spider UK will knock it out really easily. We'll have 3 web warriors. So we should plan this out or 5, 1, 2 into web fluid converter compressor. Wow. So +2 attack. Okay. So we have to just waste an attack. I think Spider-Man's going to attack 2 into monster, which will ready us. We're going to attack 2, losing the stun. Then I think we're just going to use the thwart one. Well, like we probably should thwart. I think we're going to lose to like an advance. That's the problem. I don't know if there's much we can do about it. We will thwart for limitless stamina. Are we playing Venom this turn? 1, 2, 3. No, maybe we just play Venom. Maybe we just play Venom. Maybe it's better. So we're exhausted. Because we could do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Venom. Venom would be a 3/3. That's fine. We can make Venom a 4/4. That's actually better because of Monster's Breakpoint. Yeah, I think we just make it a 4/4 and we just chill this turn. So we'll just generate 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll play Venom. First, Madame Webs, because we're over ally slots. We'll just thwart 2 and she'll leave. But it's Venom. I'm going to put a bunch of dice on her. So she has 3 health, but because we spent 4 of our beautiful interfaces on her, she technically has, 5/5. She's a 5/5, not a 4/4. It's +1. So I'll put the numbers here. I think in the future, I'm going to buy slightly smaller dice when we do this because it just crowds the card a bit too much, but she is a 5/5. Okay, that's good. So I guess she'll attack to deal with monster. The other option, oh no, now we only have 3 web warriors, so we cannot deal with her that way. Unfortunately, that's our board. We didn't use SPDR command here. That's okay. I don't think it was super relevant. We could have got another cheap ready, which is okay, but I think we'll pass. So there's still a couple angles that we could be defeated on. I think we're really scared of the one that says Goblin Schemes, but there's a lot of cards in counter deck. Not that many standard 3 cards. Draw 3. Again, only 3 hand size. Energy Barrier, love that. Little protection. Web Trap. Ooh, we actually might not have a guard minion. And then Spider-Man Auto Octavius is just such a good card in this deck. Because you can just generate the resources and immediately ready that resource generator and draw a card. He's like doubly free. Very good. This goes to 9 of 11. Scary. And the villain's attacking us. 2 in a card. We're going to block. We're going to give ourselves +2 defense. So we're blocking for 4. We don't want to take any damage here for a couple of reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's our obligation. We take no damage, so we don't put a threat there. Goblin Thrall will attack, but Spider UK will get in the way, defeating it. Hey, have you seen that board yet? He says, drawing the thing that says he schemes and we lose. Okay, Sinister Strike. Kind of. A bit of a jump scare. There's so many cards with the word Sinister. I always commit to this a bit too soon, but we're going to add 1 Pursuit counter to Pursuit by the Past. When it hits 4, we get our Nemesis set. But before that, Green Goblin's going to attack us for 2 in a card. Now for this, we might just put Peter Parker in the way because this could obviously end us and we can't ready, we can't block. So we have to put someone in the way. Venom obviously seems a bit silly. So we're going to put Spider-Man in the way, which is fine to get him in before we deck out. Not that we wouldn't either way. So 1, 2, 3, put Goblin Soldier into play, engage with you. Hate it. So it's only 2 damage. So it wouldn't have defeated us. Not that we knew that. But Spider-Man is knocked out. And because that attack did damage, it doesn't care if it's your hero, right? Oh, no, attacks and damages you, so it has to be our hero. So chump blocking is actually better than we think. And it's back to us. Now this Goblin Soldier, very importantly, has 5 health, so it also has an acceleration. I don't think we care. I think we're just going to let her rip. So this turn, with Aunt May and Uncle Ben, we can discard 2 cards from our deck. I'm just going to check how many cards are left in our deck. It actually has a high chance of drawing. It's guaranteed to draw 1 card. It could draw 2 cards. All systems go would be cracked. The one that does 5 damage is also totally fine. I forgot to mention during deck building, the game of Arkham I played. Yeah, I completely messed up deck building. I had a bunch of XP in my deck. Whoops. Oh, okay. Yeah. Watch out for that. The little dots in the top left corner, you have to earn those for sure. So if you just play the core set, they'll have like recommended decks. They're not perfect, obviously, but they're a nice place to start, but they definitely won't have XP in them. But yeah, the XP cards, you'll start to appreciate how good they are. That's like the fun of the RPG mechanic. How'd you figure that out? Is it from watching a playthrough? Or you just see decks online and you're like, that's strange. All right, we'll start with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. So we'll just discard the top 2. Okay, we're getting one of our cards. It was Web Trap. Not convinced that's the better of the 2 because we already have one. I guess we can guarantee we'll draw the last one though, because we can draw a card here by playing our friend Spider-Man. So our priority here is to find a window to jump down. We're not there yet. We have a thwarting issue, and we have a minion issue. Web Trap is 5 damage and stun. For Green Goblin, that's very, very important. If we want to play auto this turn, so we just need to consider what we're doing here. So we can generate a wild, and we can give ourselves +2 thwart. We can play auto, who draws his last card, and we deck out. In theory, when you deck out's really important because these cards won't be cycled. So if that's the case, we should probably play the cards we want to play on the cycle first. So if that's the case, I think we just do 1 Web Trap. We'll do Psychic Link, Web Trap, for Web Trap, and we'll target the villain. So we've done the first damage to the villain. The villain takes 5, and we stun the villain because we spent a resource. All right, so that buys us a bit of breathing room, especially because we're on 3 health. We'll just easily Venom for 5 off this, because that was getting out of hand. Okay. Now we'll do, and we know we're going to refresh all our research generators. So there's actually probably a better angle here because we know this card guaranteed is going to be the one that readies all our interfaces. So we should just use all our interfaces that we can. So to do that, we're going to host spider to ready ourselves. And we're going to do web fluid compressor and SPDR to play auto. So this will draw a card. This is actually like so much efficiency. So when Auto Octavius comes into play, we have a web warrior. So we can ready an upgrade, and if it's a tech card, we also draw a card. So we'll go ahead and ready, it doesn't really matter that much. I guess we'll go for the +2 thwart one, and then we draw a card. This is all systems go, which is cracked here, but we do deck out. So we have a 2 encounter card, kind of tempo bump. Ronald, how's it going? Last game I played was against Green Goblin with the Protection Bishop deck. Didn't realize how tough he could be with all the minions he has. Can't wait to introduce my group to him next week. Hey, that's an awesome matchup. I think that's one of the things that Protection is not good at, is that they're very not good at dealing with mid-range minions. I think the easiest way is to like to play Change of Fortune and like kind of work into that and make it part of your engine. But yeah, you don't have like attack events that are on tempo. You have that 3-cost one that does 4 damage, but yeah, Protection can struggle against a lot of small minions unless your kid has something against it. Hopefully you had a good time. Grolix, how's it going? Howdy, love seeing some spider love. I'm excited to play SPDR on stream because it's been a bit of a nightmare so far, but I'm having a good time. Hopefully that's obvious. So the last time I think we talked on stream about your name, I watched a VOD. It was so funny because mentioning your name, I'm like, is that Pokemon? And then obviously the response was, well, you see, Growlix is the technical term for those, you know, flanderized swear characters. And then Lorem Ipsum. It was just like the 2 extremes of highbrow, lowbrow, maybe. I thought it was really funny. Finished my first Arkham campaign, Downish Legacy, the other day. Totally different game than I was expecting as it's been compared to Marvel Champions a ton, but I really want to play more now. It's very different. And I think that comes up a lot when people say like, why play one over the other? And the reason is because they're so different. Not only is the experience different, but what they ask out of you is different. The length is different. Like there's so much to be said about the differences in those games. They're very good. I do think Marvel Champions looks like, or sorry, Arkham Horror looks like it's going to become Marvel Champions-esque in the near future. Like the boxes are getting smaller. It's strange. I live to be pedantic and knows more about me than you. Def did Bishop's a blast. Bishop's really fun. Your gun can take out some minions, right? Okay, this is it. We're good so far. So we're still ready. We want to use our activation. I guess what one we readied could have been more important. We could have got this down to 0 threat, which probably was correct. But we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 with our web fluid compressor. So we're going to attack at 4 damage. Oh, if we do that, we can't play our energy barrier. So let's not do that. We'll keep this ready. We'll just attack for 2. Weird breakpoint, but whatever. And then we'll use this to play All Systems Go. So this will refresh all our interfaces. So SPDR is ready, and then all of these are ready. Okay, if that was the case, our attack here is bad. We should have thwarted 2 because this will knock out. Yeah, that's way better. So first we'll ready ourselves with the host spider, and then we'll attack this for 4, which means we can knock it out. And then we'll spend these 2 resources to play our energy barrier. And again, now that we're set up, our turns are not only absurd, but they're very interesting. That's a genuinely interesting turn. And a lot of that is because our deck was really small, so we can make these plays. But now when the Goblin Soldier attacks us, it will defeat itself with energy barrier, which is kind of perfect. Okay, we can just use auto to thwart for 1. It's fine because we might have to panic block with him if we draw an encounter card because we're not very healthy. Oh, we had 1 more resource left over. Doesn't matter, does it? We could draw a card. It's unlikely it's a playable card. We might as well because we're forgetting to use this. But before we pass, in theory, before we play energy barrier, we'll exhaust a speeder card and exhaust an interface to draw a card. If it's a repurpose, we might play it. Oh, shiza. It was. Okay, that's the only playable card we could have top decked. I don't think we play it. I think we might keep it for next turn because genuinely there's nothing we have to do here. Like this dies when it attacks. This is on 1 threat. We'll just throw this out. I think it's a really good card. Yeah, I think this allows us to deal with this encounter card. We'll hold on to it. We'll pass. Arkham has been tempting me lately. I would love to give it a try. Proof Rock, if anything, wait about a month or so because the new core set is coming out. Now, I can't tell you if the new core set is good or better than the original core set, but it is the core set. Maybe if it's not great, you could pick up an old core set on cheap, but they're rebooting the game, soft reboot, in like in just a month. Okay, ugly hand. Very ugly hand. Across the Spider-Verse doesn't do anything. Notably, if we knock out Auto, his ability only fires when you play him from hand, so not great. I'm also insane. I went out of my way to find out the official pronunciation of SPDR and ended up finding it briefly mentioned in Marvel Rivals. Penny calls it Spider. Oh yeah, I guess she does say it in that game. I think SPDR is like just the language we expect. This goes to 3. This is stunned. Goblin Soldier will attack us, and luckily we're going to take no damage twice around. So it'll attack us for 1. So Energy Barrier allows us to redirect that damage right back at the guy. So when you would take damage, reflect that damage. So Goblin Soldier is dead. Goblin Soldier says when you would take damage, when it would be defeated, deal 1 damage. And we're just going to go ahead and Energy Barrier that back into Green Goblin. So now we don't surge on the healing cards. Oh, I guess he was already a bit hurt. Here we go. Yeah, of course, but that's fine. We deal with these relatively well because we have Spider UK, who's just going to be dealing with them. We really should have Change of Fortune in this deck. And then we draw Pumpkin Bombs, which is a damage. That's a problem. This is damage. It's hard for us to jump down because out of our our eject button, we don't have ready for a fight anymore. And that's something we cut from the deck, but it is much harder to jump down. If that's the case, we might just clear this down to 0 and jump down and hope for the best. I think we have to. I don't think anything else makes sense. Arkham Core Set is hard to find right now. People are asking for some odd prices. Oh, that's really weird. I wonder if they're just trying to capitalize on a because they're not reprinting it. But yeah, I think, I don't know. They're trying to get it over to folks. Like before. Okay, so we need to plan our turn. We have here Across the Spider-Verse. The problem with Across the Spider-Verse is that's a hero card. So we could just go get a good Spider character by Aunt Maying and Uncle Banning them and getting them into the bin. The color balance on this card always looks really strange. It looks strange on the camera too, but it looks way bluer. I think that's just that card there. So I think we're just going to Aunt May and Uncle Ben. We're going to attack this for 4. We're going to ready ourselves. We're going to jump down to heal after we clear this. But I think we just do this first because there's a chance it hits like Peter Parker or something sick. So we'll rip 2. Repurpose, Power Protection, useless. Thanks, Aunt May and Uncle Ben. We ripped like 11 cards, drawn 1. Cool. And again, a lot of our cards are upgrades. That will just happen. Okay, I do think we need to recover here. So if that's the case, repurpose actually wasn't worth keeping. We could just replay auto because it allows us to use our resources because this hand doesn't do anything. Oh, we should draw a card actually before we do anything. Yeah, this order didn't matter, but I think we're going to use Spider Metal Alloy and we're going to exhaust a Spider Command to draw a card. There's the ejection protocol. Actually, hey, that's what we do. That's a really good draw. Holy crap, that's a good draw. Damn, that's a good draw. I'm going to play that. So we're going to do this. But when we do this, before we do this, we're going to do all our, what's it called? All our, you're going to use all our protocols. Because that is 6 health on a toughness. And then we can jump down and draw 2 cards. So that's awesome. That's really, really cool. That actually means we could have used Aunt May and Uncle's Ben and then gone down to Alter Ego and then come back up to hero mode because this doesn't use your once per turn flip. That's such a cool card. Okay, so let's just wipe the board. I think we're going to have to. So we'll attack for 4 into Goblin Thrall. Yeah, that's a really domino-esque pull. We'll Host Spider to ready ourselves. We want to be ready to draw 2. SPDR needs to be ready to recover 4. Okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I wonder if we just push with Venom. I think we wait for Venom to draw a 5 health minion because we have a bunch of those left over. I think drawing 2 cards is not super important. It's good though. Let's not pretend it's not good. Because this hand kind of stinks. It's not good, it's stinky. I guess we might repurpose them, well, just for tempo. So we will thwart for 4. We will repurpose. So we'll trash this energy barrier and we'll give ourselves +2 attack for the end of the round. Not phase round, that sometimes matters, but we're now a bit ready. I guess we did that in the wrong order. Yeah, we did that in the wrong order, so... Yeah, we just basically played repurpose to draw 2 cards here. I think that's acceptable. We'll use ejection protocols. Oh no, but exhaust SPDR, so you can't recover. Hold on. Yeah, if exhaust your interface, you can't recover. Okay, so it doesn't work as nicely as we think it does. Because yeah, you're right. This exhausts all interfaces, including SPDR, which means we can't recover. So that stinks. It still gives us 6 health and a toughness, but it doesn't do the thing that we want it to do. So I think we'll just jump down and recover and we won't use this, because that's fine. If that's the case, we'll just use all our resources. So we will attack for 4 for tempo, because we're not going to draw 2 cards. We'll use Spider-Man, Auto Octavius, just to do 2 damage. Gets defeated. And immediately we're going to Genius out across the Spider-Verse. And to play this, you have to tap a character, so we'll tap Spider UK. And as I said before, the problem with Spider-Man Auto is that his ability is only when you play from hand. So we do technically refresh him, but it doesn't actually do that much. It just allows us to use our hand. Okay, we'll hop down. And Penny Parker is still ready, so she can recover for 4. Okay, so technically we can still get a toughness. It technically costs us 1 health, which is maybe a trade, and we'll pass. Okay, we'll see how bad this can be. Did they change your rules? Change of Fortune won't trigger with Spider UK? Oh, you're right, it won't. It's after you defeat. Yeah. Yeah, so it won't work. They didn't change the rules. I didn't realize it was after you defeat. I should have looked at the card. That's a good call out. Because our allies are not you. You are your events, your upgrades, your hero basic, and technically your resources, which is a really funny one. But yeah, not your allies. Okay, here we go. Energy shield. It's kind of whatever. Limitless stamina is okay. So ready. Madame Web is good. We'll have some threat to deal with. Our 4th card is rapid deployment. This is also a lot of threat. So not the best hand. But we're going to be drawing a bunch more cards with Aunt May and SBR suit once we're set up. I'll just get rid of this. It won't matter. This goes to 1. The Green Goblin schemes for 2 and a card. We haven't seen any of our advances yet. 1, 2. Evil Alliance. So a lot of these cards from the set just says boost at a thing here. So it's only for 2 threat. 1 counter card. Weaken Ambitions. This is the bad one. This got us before. So we have to discard 4 cards because stage number is that. And then for each goblin, we can either decide to take 3 damage or put that minion into play. And we're okay with minions with Venom. So hold on. I think this button does this. Yeah, here we go. Goblin Soldier. Not. So it's nice that we only have 1. Exhaustion out is really good. The big sign, the rules explanation? No, there wasn't. I like actually you. I understand you totally fine. I just forgot that I should have looked into that. So it's a Goblin Soldier. It has 5 health. That means we can knock it out a couple different ways. So it does 1 damage to us, but that's not a bad encounter card at all. Okay, it's all us. I think we're going to recover 4 again. We're going to draw 2. I think our interfaces, we're at the point of the game where we're really set up, so we should just be pushing damage. Very importantly, when we advance Green Goblin, there's a turn that we draw like 4 encounter cards. That can be an issue, but we've seen 2 of the big minions, which I think is the biggest issue. So we're going to use our alter ego to recover 4. Just get nice and healthy because we have these bombs doing 2 indirect. We will go ahead and exhaust Spider Suit to draw 2 cards. The order here doesn't matter. Energy Berry is really good for Goblin Soldier, and Web Trap is really good for Green Goblin. Mind you, that's the 5 damage and stun. We're now going to use Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Man, this has been bad for us today. So we're going to discard 3 cards. We're going to totally discard our support, our Web Warrior support. 1, 2, whiff, and of course, whiff. Thank you, Aunt May and Uncle Ben. You're the best. That's all we're doing down here. We'll flip up. Okay, so this hand, really nice, really cheap. We have too many allies. I think we can just knock out Venom into the Goblin Soldier. It's super efficient. Otherwise, Spider UK, we can make him a bit better because we'll have a bit more Web Warriors. But yeah, I think 5 damage into 5 damage. Obviously, this is not the biggest priority. We could, in theory, do 4 damage and then just let Green Goblin attack us, but we're going to stun Green Goblin. But if we let Green Goblin attack us, we can redirect the damage with Energy Barrier. But yeah, she'll just attack for 5. Unlock a whole bunch of dice. The Goblin Soldier will technically here do 1 damage to us. So actually, in theory, we should first maybe play the Energy Barrier. I'm going to put this back here. Because the Energy Barrier can redirect that 1 damage into Green Goblin, which means advancing Green Goblin's a bit more perfect. So yeah, before we do that attack, I'll pitch Energy Shield. And I think the Limitless Stamina is the least playable card. Actually, no, Rapid Deployment's not playable here. And we'll play the Energy Barrier. So you know this card, it's been around forever. Such a nice staple. 6 value. Over time is kind of perfect for a 3-cost card. So the damage we would receive when we knock out the Goblin Soldier, we'll just redirect into our friend Green Goblin. So the villain takes 1 instead of us. Notably, this is not for an attack, which is quite sick. Redirecting Retaliate's my favorite thing. Okay, again, we just want to use all our resources here. We are exhausted. We don't have a really big activation, so I'm going to start here by using our defense 1 and use our attack 1, and we'll just play Web Trap. So this knocks out Green Goblin and gives him a stun. It does 5 damage. So we advance. We're at Green Goblin. Now all the cards that care about stage numbers go up. So we're at 20 health, deal each player 3 encounter cards. And after Green Goblin attacks you, it's now 2 threat on the main scheme, which is a pretty big jump. And he attacks slightly harder. But otherwise, the stun goes through, which is great. Okay, that means we're going to be pushing this pumpkin bombs down the road. All right, still us. Still us for sure. We could draw a card. We can ready ourselves. We can thwart for 4. Auto here will thwart for 1, just so we can attack for 2 safely in the future. Spider UK is not super useful. In theory, he could attack for 2 because Spider UK is totally fine at any amount of health unless he doesn't knock out the thing that's attacking him, which actually is maybe worth considering. Madame Web here is pretty good. In theory, we may have wanted to play Madame Web in like immediate hindsight before we drew 3 encounter cards because we could interact with those 3 encounter cards. I think we've seen both Exhaustion and Under Fire, so I'm not sure we're super upset about it. But we could play 1, 2, 3 for Madame Web. She could clear this main scheme off. That seems fine. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. And we'll probably be able to clear the game, defeat the villain next turn if we draw like a repurpose. But I think we've seen every repurpose on this cycle. So 1, 2. After she enters play, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Web Warrior cards. So we can look at the top 4 of the deck. So yeah, the ordering there was probably a bit scuffed. All right, what are we looking at? Goblin Reinforcements. Hold on. Let's do this. Nope. Goblin Reinforcements. So this is when revealed. Place 1 additional threat here for each Goblin minion in play. That's a 2 boost. Again, this is going to be actually not a boost. The top card will be our encounter card because the hero here is stunned or the villain is stunned. I see you as the Goblin attacks you. If you're in alter ego form, do not give the villain boost cards as another attack, which we don't love. This is 2 boosts and a pretty low encounter card. Intimidation is choose to spend 2 resources to give a face down boost card. I don't mind a face down boost card. We can always block with an ally. And then Overrun is a bunch of threat. I think I see you is bad. Did you flip the Green Goblin card physically? No, that's a good catch. I didn't physically flip it, but I usually go off of what's it called? This screen anyways. But yeah, we did not physically flip it. Good catch. Okay, so we can discard one of these and put them back. This is more about next turn because we can set up our next encounter cards. So I think I see you is not a bad boost card. We're going to draw. This is a really soft encounter card. So I think we keep this as our encounter card. So we'll put that on top. We don't have to discard a card. We can. And then we want to have I see you as a boost card because it probably won't do anything. It's just +1 boost. And then we can draw. I think this is fine. These are not bad encounter cards. Like any of the standard 3 cards I'd be more scared of. So I think we'll just put this on top like that. All right, Madame Web. Shield Thwart for 2. And I think we can just use Spider UK because we're in spitting distance to attack 2 into the villain and we'll pass. That also beats some of the healing cards. They don't get Surge and it messes up our whole order. All right, we'll draw 3 because that's what we do. Unflappable. Yeah, not what we want. All systems go. Again, a lot of tempo or a lot of resources. The big thing is we want a way to spend our resources and then a limitless stamina. So no repurposes there. I guess with all systems go, we can attack for 8. Technically, we can attack for 10 because we can do 4 + 4 + 2. So we might have a really cool turn here. We just need to do 8 damage with our minions. This goes to 1. Goblin is stunned. We draw 4 encounter cards. The last one we do know. I always go first in, first out. Oh, this is going to mess up everything. Wicked Ambitions. At least this is not going to do that much. So discard X cards from the counter deck where X is equal to double the villain stage number. We know it's 6 now. So we have to discard 6 cards. We know the first 3 are useless. The question is how many minions are in the next 3? Sorry, things got stuck off camera. Not a minion. Good to see Dark Designs. Not a minion. Not a minion. So that's 1 Dark Designs out, which is 6. So this doesn't do anything besides damage to the counter deck. Not too bad. Okay, second card. Master Plan. Okay, that also is going to do damage to the deck. So this is from Expert. So there's no side scheme. So we have to discard cards until there's a side scheme. We just discarded 2 side schemes. So this might do a lot of damage to the deck. All right, Goblin Nation. 1 second. Let me clear this up first, and then we'll pull it up. Comes in with 2 threat. Each Goblin minion, including Green Goblin, gets +2 attack. Good reminder text. Otherwise, we can just leave that in play. It doesn't stop us from winning next turn. Regenerative Health. We talked about this one, so this is not that bad at all. This is the villain's one. So the villain heals X health where X is equal to double the villain stage number. So the villain heals 2. This is why we did just a bit of chip damage because otherwise this card surges and healing 2 is like so not an encounter card we care about. Finally, Intimidation. Not you. I think we're just going to give a boost card. For what it's worth, we actually probably could spend 2 resources because we have more resources than common sense on this turn. Yeah, we actually have. We have so many blockers. Whatever. Who cares? We'll just do that. All right. Question is, can we win? We have 20 damage to do. So Aunt May and Uncle Ben might draw a bit more. I think the one card that we want to draw is Web Trap. We've seen one so far. If we draw a Web Trap, that goes really, really far here. So I think we just do it. I think we just rip this. Again, our stats have been really bad. I think we've drawn one card with this. So we'll rip energy. That's fine. That's fine. SPDR command could draw a card. That's also probably important. So I think we'll draw a card. We'll exhaust this and we'll exhaust the defense one just to draw. Energy barrier, fine. Okay, so damage we have. On the table, we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ready. 10, 11. Ready. 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15 damage. I think we're short 5 damage. That's with 2 readies. I think we have another ready. So we have 17. I think we're short slightly. There's a chance that we can get Goblin down to like 1 health. Actually, if we don't attack with Spider UK, maybe Spider UK could even defeat him when he attacks. Because Spider UK doesn't care if it's a minion, right? So we have 3 Web Warriors, but immediately we don't attack with these Web Warriors, we lose even more damage. But we're getting close. I don't think we care about any of these. We're like super, super healthy. So I think we're just going to send all our damage into Green Goblin and hope for the best. We're not going to use these allies yet because we can't get lethal. If we get lethal, we would do it, but we can't get lethal. So we'll attack for 1, 2, plus 2 is 4. Already. A repurpose would have gone so hard here. And then we're going to attack for 2. Okay. We will use Psychic Link to play Limitless Stamina. This readies us. We'll attack for 2. Cool. Then we'll use SPDR to play All Systems Go. So we'll just ready all our interfaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll ready ourselves. We'll attack for 4. So many, like 8 PM on this deck is super high. Then we'll just do 1, 2 into another energy barrier. So that's a bit more damage on deck. 2 health. And we can do Speed Metal Ally for Unflappable, which probably won't matter. It's just like, what else are we doing with this card? We've already exhausted SPDR command for the ready. That could have actually been more consistent. That's it. In theory, we could attack for 2, 4, 5 more, but again, we're short 3 damage. We have 2 damage in the villain phase. If we block with SPDR here, it does 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're still a bit short, but we might actually just block with Spider UK to do 4 damage. And we'll pass. Draw up 3 cards. There's the Web Trap we needed. If we had that Web Trap, we would have won that turn, I'm pretty sure. And finally, on the last possible turn, we're drawing Web of Life and Destiny. Perfect. Okay. This goes to 2 because there's only 1 Goblin. Again, Green Goblin is now attacking, and Green Goblin has +1 attack. So he's attacking for 4 and 2 cards. We're going to block with Spider UK, who's going to be a total hero here. And Spider UK says, after Spider UK defends against an attacking enemy, or sorry, not after, when, very importantly, it's an interrupt, we'll deal damage to the attacking enemy equal to the Web Warrior card you control. We control 1, 2, 3, 4. So the villain takes 4 down to 4. Attacking for 3, 4. We have a Goblin Soldier. That actually helps. So the Goblin Soldier just will attack us for 1, 3, 4. Oh, we didn't draw Under Fire, but that's a massive attack. 5, 6, 7. Spider UK is defeated. And then we discard Pumpkin Bombs. And this, when it's discarded after the villain attacks, take 2 indirect. Without thinking, we'll just take 2 to our face. Now the Goblin Soldier will attack. Oh, this should be at 3. Yeah, good. That should be at 3. Goblin Soldier is going to attack. So we take 1. We'll use the energy barrier that has less counters on it so we can get ready for repurpose. And we'll redirect that damage into Green Goblin. 1 encounter card. Oh, sorry, it's for 2 damage. So we can redirect both those damage to Green Goblin because all goblins have +1 attack. Goblin Thrall. This has guard. That's annoying. That's not going to stop us, but we should have it for sure. Goblin Thrall. We'll get there. Energy barrier the direct damage. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, you're right. We can energy barrier the direct damage. Why didn't I think of that? So we're going to recover 2. So when we take the direct damage from Pumpkin Bombs, we can direct 1, we can direct 2. Yeah, that's actually lethal. That's very funny. Yeah, that was way better, of course. We can redirect any damage from energy barrier. As I was saying earlier, it's not a basic attack. It's not from an attack, it's from anything. So we can energy barrier the indirect, and you can use each one for 1 damage. You can't use 1 for 2 damage because we had 2. That's perfect. So these energy barriers blocked and redirected 5 damage on that last turn there. Even if we miss that, right? Like we just attack Goblin Thrall for 3, we attack for 4, we ready, we attack for 2. And this hand had a web trap for 5 damage, and we'd actually draw some cards here when Madame Web and Spider-Man leave, which both very playable. That was sick. That was actually really, really cool. We got over the early hump. Like turn 2, we wanted to concede, where we had Monster on the table, and then we did the tactical jump down. And huge shout out to anything that has more than one main scheme. Like tactical jump down is something that I've started working into my play. It's something particularly that shows up a lot in Magneto, where there's amount of counters that you want to duck under. But tactical jump down is like so valuable when it comes to standard, where if the board state is bad, why don't you try running away from the board state for a moment and just fix next turn's problem? Which again, the longer we're setting up, our turns get more and more ridiculous. Hey Nolan, how's it going? How's your Sunday? It's currently 12:11. We have an hour and a half left in us. I think we're going to set up and try a different villain. I'm glad we got through Goblin Thrall. It wasn't the worst there. For some reason, the character I wanted to play against today, Baron Zemo? I don't know why I'm feeling like playing Baron Zemo. I don't like Baron Zemo that much, but I recently played Baron Zemo outside of, oh no, it was in a campaign run, but not with the campaign rules. And I thought he was okay. Like I didn't have the worst time. If there's a matchup that you want to hit me up in the chat, we can consider doing that instead. But otherwise, I'd consider playing Baron Zemo. I mean, he's right there and he's sleeved. I don't think there's any like very interesting interactions in that matchup. Having more stun or confuse in the deck would be good because there are some vulnerable allies. That was cute. Penny's really fun, but I'm still seeing that she's very self-contained. Yeah, she is. And the sort of thing that I brought up earlier, where it's like a lot of the cards outside of like repurpose, they're not super good. Like our allies are not even the star of the show in a Web Warrior deck. And for what it's worth, like that's kind of a cool thing. But maybe we should just play 3 limitless staminas, get all the readies. I didn't have the worst time. Let's do this. I mean, that means there's something there, right? Goblin has such intense pressure at the start on Expert. I feel like I often want to scoop early, but if you stick it out, you can often turn it around. He's a fun encounter set. There is something, I think, emotionally where like turn 1 hits you so bad that like your body is expecting turn 2 to be of similar. And then it's just like, oh, he heals too. Okay. And then you're like, wait, I can do this. Which that's like one of the cool things. It's like they give you the punch in the face at the beginning and then they stop punching you in the face for a minute. And you're like, wait a second, now I'm winning. Because you tasted losing. Like you need to taste losing, right? Good luck in the next game. Gotta go. Hey, thanks so much for dropping in, Proof Rock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I guess we're playing Baron Zemo. No one can stop us. We'll give this a shuffle. We didn't see our Nemesis. That's not super unexpected. Again, this encounter deck is massive for many reasons that could introduce variance, but it means the chance of finding standard 3 cards, let alone if you're playing Shadows of the Past, it's just not super likely. And we only got 2 encounters while going through the whole deck, as much as a bunch of those cards were discarded, not revealed. All right, quick cleanup. Quickest cleanup. Clean. Losing tastes like Red Bull's disgusting, sweet and salty. Losing. You need to lose. It's good to lose. It makes winning taste better. Okay. Let's go. Can I let you into a little secret? I think one of the big reasons why people don't like Baron Zemo is that the setup requires you to interact with the campaign cards. And then you have to go get out your envelopes and your 9 other setup cards. And let me tell you something. And you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I've oversighted something. You don't have to do that. For better or for worse, a lot of Baron Zemo's cards, you can just read them as saying, gain 6 counters, right? I'll show you what I mean. But at the end of the day, you don't need to do all that faff with envelopes and picking the right cards and revealing cards. If you just treat Baron Zemo's thing like you need 6 power counters, and once you have 6 power counters, you can advance, you can ignore half the setup. And I would highly recommend doing that if you ever want to play Baron Zemo. I'll show you what I mean, but basically, you don't need to actually interact yourself with those cards. They don't actually matter. The text on them doesn't matter, if I'm not mistaken. You just need to pull 6 out of 9. In theory, if you're pulling 6 out of 9, if you're not pulling 6 out of 9, you can just roll a die still and just be like, oh, I'm right 75% of the time. Roll a die. 1 out of 4 times you lose. Otherwise, you get the good ending, right? Everything you can simulate by just going randomness, and that's what we're going to do today because those cards don't actually matter. All right. There's a lot of setup to explain, unfortunately. Let's see if I've done this right. Villain name Baron Zemo. Stage 2, technically, I guess. This is Baron Zemo. We're going to have all these cards in play. You're going to hear a bit of my pessimism around Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of creep in here. One of my least favorite things about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that these cards, I'm going to put them on the right side because they're easier for me to touch. The whole mechanics of the campaign interact with these cards, and these cards are just resource sinks. And I don't think a lot of gamers like resource sinks. They're just not that fun, and because they're repetitive and not particularly interesting. And this whole campaign revolves around these cards, where like you just have to constantly spend resources to undo something. At least these give you a good benefit, but like having resource sinks being your like campaign thing is not always well received. And I think that was one of the problems with Baron Zemo, let alone this whole campaign. All right, let's talk about this. So huge setup here, a lot of words on this card. This is Zemo's manipulations. So we're playing on expert, we're playing stock standard, so this should work. So we have Baron Zemo, has 2 minions. I don't actually know what they are. They have some really interesting encounter cards for sure. We're playing with Scientist Supreme that has victory -1 cards, so you technically don't want to defeat them. You want to get them vulnerable out and discarded. And we have Shield, which is not the most interesting encounter set because it really interacts with Shield cards, and we're playing, I think, literally 0 Shield cards. So you could swap that out for something else, but we're going to play stock standard. When you're playing as Nick or Maria in the core box, or the box that this came in, it's obviously a bit more interesting. Now it says prepare the evidence. You can skip that. You don't have to do that. Put each board member environment into play. That's these 3. If not playing campaign mode, place 2 secret counters on each board member environment. I wish I had red, yellow, and green die. They don't make yellow dice where I buy these dice, so we're gonna just do red, yellow, and purple. But there's 2 on each of them, and we'll explain what this does. It's also kind of annoying that the green one has energy resources on. You kind of get used to that, but you would think it'd be yellow on yellow, but it's not. That's fine. So there's 2 counters on each of these, and we want to get the counters down repetitively. It's something we're gonna have to do. Okay. There's a whole bunch of main schemes. Technically, there's only 2 because the second one is just like interstitial rules text. And so the back of this says, comes in with 2 threat, gets 2 a turn. Mind you, Baron Zemo schemes for 4. Like, this is a problem. When this is completed, we lose the game. Response: after the player phase ends, you can choose to place 2 secret counters on a board member environment that has no secret counters to gain 2 cards from the shield envelope. 1 card instead if you're playing on campaign mode. So we're going to get 2 each time. Then the players may advance and make their accusation. So all I'm saying is if you're playing this and you're playing this as a standalone scenario, don't worry about the stuff. Just say anytime that you do that, give yourself 2 counters. Once you have 6 counters, advance. You in theory can advance on 4 counters, but it's not very likely. You'll be punished for it. The more counters you have, once you have 6 counters, you're guaranteed to succeed. But you just need 6 counters. That's it. You don't need to touch envelopes. You don't need to touch cards. Just get 6 counters. That's all you need to do. All right, the villain is Baron Zemo. Comes in with only 16 health. When Baron Zemo would be defeated, instead remove his points to 16. Basically heal him, and then remove 3 counters from among board members. That's not a great trade, honestly. 16 damage for 3 counters is a bit of an absurd trade. 4 scheme is really, really bad. That's for sure. Being attacked for 2 is not awful. A big thing about Baron Zemo's encounter cards is a lot of them care about specific resources in hands. One of my least favorite things about this set is actually these cards that come from the aim interference cards. I hate them. I think they're awful. They're really not fun. And there's 3 of them in this deck. They're normally the cards that you always play when you play on campaign mode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But we're gonna have to deal with them. So having resource generators on the table, specifically ones that can generate wilds, is gonna be really quite valuable. So again, not that's any different than any other setup. We need to find our interfaces as soon as possible. I've yet to play Zemo. Everyone has dunked on the scenarios. I never reached for him. So far, the only scenario I really like is Black Widow in the box. Yeah, I would agree. Black Widow by far is the standout. Black Widow is actually like such a good scenario design, if you ask me. Batroc is a bit cursed in solo. MODOK is one of the easiest scenarios they've ever made. Thunderbolts, I think, is just kind of flat when you play solo. And Baron Zemo is like better than I think. But yeah. The one scenario I played like 3-1 compared to any other scenario in that box is Black Widow. She's so cool. Just so many ways to interact with her. A very scary encounter deck. The 2 threat per turn is actually like a big gate if you play on expert. But I like how it's 1 threat per turn, 2 threat per turn on standard. But 2 threat a turn, 3 threat a turn on expert is like absurd. So there's some heroes that can't be rushed down. Like we might struggle because you need to start hitting the ground really, really, really hard. All right, I guess we'll talk about these environments really quickly, huh? So we have 3 of them, and they all have somewhat symmetrical text. Their chief, surveillance, medical, and tactical officer. They all have these sort of things where you have to spend 2 resource counters of the same type to remove a counter from here, and then they give you a kickback. The green one heals 1 from a friendly character. That can be quite valuable. The yellow one removes 2 threat from a scheme, and the red one deals 2 damage to an enemy, which is not considered an attack. However, if there are 4 counters on this, 3 or more instead in expert mode, wow. If there's 3 counters on this, it's bad. You have to flip them. If you flip them, it's bad. If all 3 of them flip, I think we lose the game. But we can't let these flip. It's another one of my complaints about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially when you play on expert. You just have to spend, you legally have to spend half your hand dealing with these on turn 1, which is the least fun you could ask in Marvel Champions. Because it's very easy for us to draw an encounter card that will add a threat or add a counter to one of these. And the only way you can cancel it is if you have the right resource in your hand. And you're not guaranteed to have the right resource on hand. Turn 1, you just have to dump your cards into this. It sucks. It really, really stinks. Having this start at 2 and go to 3 to advance is like awful. Is this Marvel Champions? Yeah, I know. It's very much Marvel Champions. Probably Night Owl. How you doing? Do you the top 5 villain scenario for me in terms of replayability? Yeah, Widow rocks. Widow is just so damn cool. Do they sell this at retailers? Don't remember seeing this at Target or Walmart. Oh yeah, Marvel Champions. I'm assuming. We don't have Target in Canada. We used to. We don't anymore, I don't think. But Walmart, yeah, definitely should have it. I think anywhere that you can buy board games largely, you can have it. I think the place in America you can get these really cheap sometimes is like Barnes and Noble, which is another thing we don't have here in Canada. But pick up a core set. Core set's really good. It's everything you need to start playing. Game's great. Welcome to the channel. All right, we'll flip. Do the board member environments not scale to player count? No. No, they don't. I don't know why. They don't. My Walmart really sucks. I don't know Walmart that well. There's no Walmarts around me really, but I don't know what Walmart's like board game section looks like. They usually have like, I would say more casual board games, like mass market board games. Marvel Champions is like kind of on the cusp of a mass market board game. I would recommend going to a board game store or finding one somewhat local online as a retailer. If you're in the States, you probably have a lot of options. If you're in Canada, you have a lot of options as well. But yeah, I don't actually, I haven't been in a Walmart in years. Well, not in years, sorry. I haven't been in Walmart in months. They're just not where I am. Barnes & Noble tends to carry Marvel Champions, but the selection is usually limited. Yeah, Barnes & Noble's selection is like very much just what they have. And sometimes they liquidate stuff at absurd prices if you're lucky, but we also don't have those in Canada, so I don't know. Yeah, these are, it's fine. We'll be okay. It's just going to stress us out because we can let one of these go through on turn 1. All right, let's talk about us. We're mulliganing. We only have a 4-card hand size, so dealing with these is hard. At least there's nothing we have to do on turn 1, so we can probably flip to draw 2 cards, which is good. So let's go. Energy barrier. Obviously, we don't keep this. The damage is not the problem, let alone we want to set up. Unflappable is something we could probably do because Baron Zemo doesn't attack that hard, but who cares? Energy, that's really good. Doubles go hard because doubles clear one of the officers. And then we have all systems go, which I think we have so much work to do on turn 1. Like this hand seems like we do all systems go and then grab an interface. Maybe that's clever or like prudent more accurately. So I think we'll hold it as a hedge. It sucks that it has an energy icon because you'd want different icons because we already have 2 energies, but we'll start here. Does this play with MTG with life counters? I don't think so. I don't know what life counters are. You have health and the villain has health. When it hits 0, you win or lose. But I don't know what life counters would be. Like, yeah, I guess you have a tracker. Look, it comes with this. Mine is in bad state because I use a lot, but it has like a health tracker. I use dice and tokens and stuff. The power protection. This generates 2 for a protection card. And then finally we have Spider Bite, who I feel like's been in every opening hand of ours, which is like not where you want to draw her. We have currently 1 tech card, so we could get her out for cheap. With power protection. None of our protection cards are super stable cards, so I think we just mull these and hopefully draw a bit better. Because all systems go is like kind of a hedge. Spider-Man Auto is awesome, and that probably will dictate what sort of interface we get, because Spider-Man comes in really cheap and draws a card. Hey, Speed Metal Alloy. I don't have the art on this one, but that's a really cheap tech card. This seems like a good start. I love Marvel. If you like Marvel, like this game has so much to offer. It's been in print for about 6 or 7 years. And so if you can name, well, that's not entirely true yet, but if you name like your favorite character, they're probably a hero you can play as. Wonder Man card is coming out next month. There's an entire Wonder Man pack where you have like 20 Wonder Man cards. It's coming out next month, or technically this month because it's February, but Wonder Man and Hercules are coming out this month. Let's get your live stream. Hey, Nitro, how's it going? Greetings from Germany. How's it doing? How's it going? How's your Sunday evening? Thanks. Glad you can make it to the stream. That's really, really cool. Okay, so let's make some space. Yeah, if you're a Wonder Man fan, like you're in for a treat. Yeah, this month is Wonder Man and Hercules, which Wonder Man just had the show, I think. I haven't seen it, but yeah, there's probably a bit more Wonder Man hype than maybe you'd expect. All right, let's focus here. So we have to spend resources to clear the stuff. Energy resources remove 2 threat. No, energy resources heal. That's the useless one. So that's not great. So we probably want to exhaust ourselves to draw 2 cards because being ready doesn't matter. So we'll exhaust our suit to draw 2. So we're going to get a power protection and we're going to get limitless stamina. Not super useful, but we can do some cool stuff here. So I don't think we're going to do all systems go. I think we're just going to try and max our spends here. So we'll just straight flip up. So go to hero mode. Now, of course, SPDR, the pilot, can exhaust to generate a wild. So we're going to keep that for as late as we can because the wilds go hard onto these. So we'll just use limitless stamina to play speed metal alloy. Apologies, I don't have the art for this one. I'll fix it after the stream. But this one is a tech card that generates or exhausts to generate 2 defense, let alone gets a physical. Then we'll exhaust speed metal alloy. And I guess we'll keep the wild. We'll do all systems go to play auto. When auto enters play, we can ready a tech card. An upgrade. If it's a tech card, we draw a card. So we'll re-ready speed metal alloy, which generates a physical, and we'll draw a card. All systems go. Ooh, I wonder if we go even deeper into the greed tank. Wonder Man looks sick. Yeah, Wonder Man looks really, really good. And I'll be honest, I'm like still on the fence about, we can talk about this after the game if we have time, on the fence of Hercules. But if Hercules like is playable, I think Hercules is going to be so fun. It doesn't look playable from a distance, but if they did make him look playable, like, oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. Seems like there's a lot of variance in your setup too, which sometimes that's exciting. All right, we want to clear these. I think we're just going to dump all of these into clearing these so we can clear 3 of them, which is great because we have 2 physicals, 2 energies, 2 energies. I guess double 2 energies is a bit silly. So maybe we should have kept the limit of stamina. Yeah, we should have. Yeah, I should have thought of this. I guess we drew this later, but yeah, the problem is we want to get 2 different kinds of all kinds. And unfortunately, we're doubling down on energy. It's okay. It clears one of them. But I don't think we're going to do Zemo's manipulations on turn 1. So we're going to now do speed metal for a physical. And we'll do power protection for a physical. So we can do the chief tactical officer. Chief tactical officer. Apparently I don't have the card name right. So I probably spelled chief wrong as I do. I know myself. So we'll spend 2 physicals in hero to remove a secret counter to do 2 damage to enemy. Baron Zemo, enjoy. Then we'll generate a wild here and an energy for the chief medical officer. This heals. So I guess first we should just thwart 1 with Spider-Man. And then we'll heal 1 from Spider-Man. And then we'll spend an energy to do the same thing. We have no one to heal, so we'll just get rid of this counter. And that's our turn. So we did a bit of work, again, just dumping resources into doing minor stuff on the board state. It's not my favorite Marvel Champions. It's like so weird. And this is the thing that I don't understand. It's like, spend resources to do a thing? Oh no, I hate it. Spend resources or tap an ally to like shovel sand? Awesome. You know the hello human resources meme? I love that meme. But you know what I mean? It's like, why is it this? It feels so bad. It's like, okay, tap an ally every turn to shovel sand. Hell yeah, so cute. You know, spend resources to get counters off of cards. Hello human resources. Like this doesn't feel satisfying, just spending resources to remove counters. And these even give you a kicker, which is better than some stuff we've seen earlier. It's so strange. It's like a psychology thing, but like spend resources to move counters. No, spend resources functionally to do something else. Yay. I don't know. It's weird. Are you caught up on all the spoilers? I'm coming around quite a bit to Hercules now. I think I am. And need to get him into hand to know for sure. I think I've seen all the spoilers. I just haven't like sat down to actualize them, but I've seen them all independently. The problem is like the last spoilers I've seen months after I've seen the first spoilers, so I couldn't tell you all the cards. We might look at them if we have time after this game. Hey Deadpool, how's it going? Really enjoy your content. Thank you. Thanks for the kind words. Thanks for like taking the time to drop in and say a nice thing. Hopefully you're well. Are there sets that come out every few months or do they make individual cards? Everything in this game comes out in a super accessible thing. I don't have a package to show you, but either every 6 months they come out with a small campaign box. I couldn't tell you the price point because I don't know anymore. This comes with 5 villains and 2 heroes and a bunch of card options to build. Anytime that you buy a hero, it comes with a pre-made deck and a couple extra options you can sub in. But like these are the great place to start because everything you need to play is in here, but pick up the core set first because it comes with counters and some basic stuff you need. So technically not standalone, but largely standalone. And then usually 1 or 2 months after one of those comes out, there is hero packs, which are like $15 American, I think. And that comes with a pre-made deck with that hero and a bunch of cards. You can always change the decks, but everything in this game is sold in a playable place. So you never buy something and can't use it. It's like when you pick up the SPDR hero, it comes with a pre-built SPDR deck, and then it's up to you later with your collection to change it. But it is technically playable out of the box, as much as it won't probably like play against some of the harder things you have to face up against. But that's how the game works. Everything is like meant to be something you can pull off the shelf and use. Spider Command, rapid deployment, Psychic Link. Oh, I like a Psychic Link. Okay, let's deal with this stuff. Seamless manipulations. We could choose to do a think here, but we won't because I'd rather deal with the board. I don't think getting the counters off of this is a priority. This goes up 2 threat, so it goes to 3, and at 12 we lose. It's the Baron Zemo. Attacks for 2 and a card. We'll just take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Diplomatics showdown, sanctions, excuse me. This gets worse if there's things in the what's it called, in the victory display. So this is just 4. Yeah. +1 for each A minion. There's none, so we'll take 4. Encounter card. This is the one I despise this card. So this goes to 4. And check what this says. It says when revealed, inside 1, so we put 1 threat. Place 1 secret member on each board member card. You may spend an energy resource to prevent X those counters from being placed. So if we don't have an a mental resource in our hand, or sorry, technically an energy resource on a hand, Chief Surveillance Officer pops on turn 1. This is absurd. Like, if you can't cancel this by having the right cards in hand, this requires us to spend 6 resources. So right now, and mind you, this fires on the boost as well, which just makes it straight worse. If you don't have the resources in hand, oh, sorry, I'm showing the wrong one. These are all different. This is the physical one. So if we don't have the 3 physical resources in our hand, it's going to cost us 6 resources later. And look at our hand. Mental. Now, luckily we can generate 2 physicals here, but if we didn't have the physical in hand to cancel, anyways, we'll be fine. They should do a digital version and challenge Marvel Snap. The way that this game works and gets played, it's like very much, there are ways to play this digitally, but it's not something that would be monetized or mobilely playable for a couple reasons. So I'm happy there's not a digital official client, I think, but there's a bunch of ways to play digitally if you want. Anyways, so we're going to exhaust the generated physical to prevent one of them. We're going to exhaust the generated physical to prevent one of them. So we'll just put 1 here. In theory, we should put 1 here, but we have the mentals. So I guess we'll just put 1 here. Man, this card is just a pain. And it's back to us. Okay. So I guess we're just setting up. We want to spend resources every turn to deal with these. We only added 1, which is good. So I think the only playable thing we can do is pay 2 for Psychic Link and then do nothing. That stinks. But I think that's our play here, is spend 2 for Psychic Link. This comes in, we'll thwart for 4. And unfortunately, we don't have the resources to deal with anything. We're not going to do anything with auto. Pass, draw 3. Man, it just sucks the value out of your hand so bad. Strength, doubles are good. All systems go. We could maybe go get one of our interfaces, and we have a web trap. 5 damage and stun's fine. This goes to 2. Zemo's attacking for 2 and a card. 1, 2. 3, 4 on exhaustion. We'll just take 4 more. We're getting a bit beat up, but we're doing okay. Shield Trooper. This is patrol and vulnerable. I never remember which patrol means compared to the other one, Crisis. When defeated, the engaged player discards 1 shield ally support they control, otherwise place 2 threat on the main scheme. Now, when defeated is when you defeat it. Because it has vulnerable, if this card's ever stunned or confused, you don't defeat it, you discard it. The issue is the only stun we have is Web Trap. And the problem with Web Trap is that it does 5 damage and then stuns that enemy, so this thing will be defeated no matter how we slice it. Doug is also saying primarily a co-op game, as the digital version would be a wild commitment. Yeah, this game is a cooperative game. You can play solo up to 4 players. In theory, you could play more than 4 players. The rules technically support it. But here we just play solo usually. I think I'm going to play a couple things. I think I'm going to try playing some more multiplayer stuff, or some multiplayer stuff on this channel. Okay, that's that. Let's just rearrange these. That makes sense in my brain. So we probably want to web trap Shield Trooper. Baron Zemo. Shield Trooper, we can attack for 2. Patrol means we can't remove threat. I think that's the words. I forget what patrol means. What does patrol mean? I never remember what patrol means. I always have to look it up. We can all systems go. The other options we can all systems go to go for our ready. So we do all systems go. Either we can spend 2 to gain a resource, which actually is fine considering this situation. That could be okay. Jumping down, so this Shield Trooper schemes for 0 is not super sustainable because Baron Zemo schemes for 4. That's not good. And we have the stun. So I'm assuming we do like 1, 2 for Web Trap into Baron Zemo. And then we can generate Mental Wild and we can generate 2 physicals. That seems good. Can't thwart main scheme. It's specifically not you can't thwart main scheme. I think it's all your cards can't thwart main scheme, right? Like even our allies can't thwart main scheme, or can allies beat patrol? I don't think allies can beat patrol. So thwart is prevented can still remove threat. But is it our hero or is it all of our cards? That's the part that gets me. We'll do 1, 2 Web Trap into Zemo. So we'll do 5 damage to the villain. Stun the villain. I think we have to play a bit faster considering we have like an hour. No, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. So this doesn't have guard. Then we'll generate a mental and a mental. So we'll clear the chief surveillance officer. All your cards. So this is not one of our cards because this is a scenario card. So this actually works, right? Because we spend 2 mentals and we'll remove 2 threat from a scheme. I think this works because this is not us doing it. This is the scenario doing it. Patrol's guard for schemes. Crisis is toughness for schemes. That's a good way of doing it. But it's like the wording is always very specific. I'll spend 2 physicals on strength to do the chief tactical officer, which is the one I spelled wrong. So we'll remove 2 physicals here. So we'll do 2 damage to the shield trooper. Oh, we're ready. Huh. I guess we'll just attack shield trooper. So we'll attack for 2. That was a good turn. We'll knock out the shield trooper. So we have no shield allies. So we have to put 2 threat on the main scheme. And then auto will just take 1 of those off. It's nice to have auto slightly hurt. So the healing matters and we'll pass. So notice how we're just like treading water. It's in our best interest to tread water for a while. In theory, here we could do Zemo's manipulations, but honestly, there's like no rush to do it. Because if we do this, it adds 2 threat to chief tactical officer, which on expert, if we don't have the physical resource or whatever resource off the aim card we draw, we can just like flip that, which is pretty bad. So we're just going to continue to tread water for a bit and set up. Draw 3 cards only. Web of Life and Destiny. We have not played this today. The best card in the whole deck. Oh my God. So that's so good. It's so good for us. Repurpose, which doesn't really matter. And then we have Host Spider. So that's phenomenal. Not going to be a good tempo turn, but it's a really great setup turn because all we're drawing is an encounter card. This goes to 3. This Baron is stunned. Encounter card is okay. Shield Agent, Quick Strike, and Vulnerable. So it's attacking for 1, but when Shield Agent activates or is defeated, add 1 secret counter to a board member with the fewest secret counters. That's annoying. Again, we don't have any Stun or Confuse really in the deck, not in a way that interacts with these, so these are going to be really frustrating. So attacks for 1, we'll take 1. And then we have to add a counter to this board member. Cool. The keyword is thwart, I think, and thwart is absent from the environment, so it gets around patrol. Oh yeah, that's important. Yeah, it is thwart. Well, Crisis doesn't care about thwart. Patrol cares about thwart. Okay, sick. We'll play Web of Life. I'll just put it down here. It kind of gets in the way. I guess we'll move her up. So this is totally free, and now anytime one of our Web Warriors leads play, we draw a card, let alone it's a Web Warrior card, which works really well. So I think we're just going to do some basic stuff here. Thwarting for 4 is fine. We need to knock this out. We might use auto. Yeah, I think we do use auto here. Well, yeah, we're fine. Are we that both playing Tigra through this campaign would be a lot easier than a harder? Yeah. Because you don't defeat anything, so you don't ready yourself. It's a weird interaction. There's some like heroes or characters you can play that make this so easy. Like the last time I played through this campaign, I played with Scarlet Witch and I was playing Justice. So I had all the like confused allies and it really helped a heck of a lot. So I think we'll attack for 1, 2. Yeah. Or will we thwart? I think we'll attack for 2. So we'll attack to 2. And then we'll use Auto Octavius who will attack for 2, defeating the shield agent. We have a couple like cascading things here. First, and when this is defeated, we add 1 threat to the board member with the fewest. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 for this. That generates energy. So this is a force interrupt. This is a response. So I'm hoping we'll put it on the energy one. So we'll put it on the healing one. So it's our choice because it's the fewest. When auto is knocked out, we draw a card. We're hoping for an energy resource. I guess it doesn't matter. It's a wild. Nice. Go Spider. Okay, so now we want to play Host Spider because it's a wild generator. So we'll generate wild. Host Spider. we're building up. So now we can exhaust this to generate a wild or ready ourselves. We might as well ready ourselves because we want an even amount of resources to push the board state forward. So we'll do wild for ready or host batter for ready. And then we'll spend a wild and an energy to do the chief medical officer. So this will heal us 1. We will thwart for 2. Again, we have no reason to push damage to Baron Zemo because he has infinite health, and we'll pass. We're on 6 health already? What happened? It's really important to keep your health up. We might actually start using the speed metal alloy because it's hard to jump down without any confuse in our kit and Baron Zemo scheming for 4. So I think we should have prioritized blocking at some point. Draw up, repurpose, Spider-Man Noir and Madame Web. Okay. Mid. This goes to 3. Baron Zemo's attacking for 2 in a card. We will block here, I think. We have 2 energies and a lot of resource generators, so we will exhaust. Speed metal alloy, we're blocking for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Scientist Supreme. It's good that we didn't draw this because we have no way of dealing with this the way that the game wants us to deal with it. And otherwise it goes to the victory display. So we'll take 1. That's bad. Might be not very interesting. Dark Designs, place 1 pursuit counter. When it's 4, we'd get our nemesis, but now Baron Zemo is going to scheme for 4 in a card. That's not good. 4, 5, 6. This goes to 9 of 12. Frightening. And it's back to us. Okay. Now jumping down is really, really difficult. So we have to play Madame Web. That's a guaranteed. And I think we dump everything else into just healing. So if that's the case, we will do 1, 2, 3 for Madame Web. We here have 3 Web Warrior cards, 1, 2, 3. This means we in theory could jump down if we see something not too rough here. So we can reorder the top of the deck. So she'll be thwarting for 2 in a second. We'll be thwarting for 2. I actually think we should thwart for 4. So instead of using Psychic Link, I'll use SPDR. And I think we're just going to thwart for 4 instead of like clearing one of these because these are okay. So we'll look at 3. Oh, thank God. We can discard that. Okay, so we have some pretty bad cards here. Firstly, we have Aim Interference, which is bad no matter how you slice it. Ideally, you draw this as an encounter card because it does the exact same as a boost card. Super frustrating. We will never draw this card because it's just such a sink. Then we have 2 interesting cards. We have Monica Rappaccini, excuse me. We don't want to add her to the victory display, so we'd have to stun or confuse her. We have no way of dealing with that, so I think we'll take her as a boost card, which means we'll draw Divided Loyalties, which I think goofs up your allies. The scheme comes in with 4. As an additional cost for the player to attack, thwart, or defend with an ally, that player must spend a resource. And when defeated, remove a secret counter from board member. That seems fine. So we'll put them on in this order. So we'll get attacked for 4, and then we will divide loyalties. That seems fine. Madame Web will thwart for 2. We will ready ourselves, and then Psychic Link, we will thwart for 4. So 7 goes into 3. Okay. Just paddling. Just bailing water out of the boat. Slowly the boat is getting more sustainable, but I don't know when we're going to pop off. Genius. Rapid deployment's good. We'll have 2 schemes with a lot of threat on it. This card is really quite nice. We definitely want to draw our last stun card. Venom, also really quite good. We can make Venom quite big, as much as allies are going to be a bit worse in a second. So this goes to 5. Baron Zemo's attacking for 4. We're just going to block with their speed metal, so we're blocking for 4. And no surprise here, Divided Loyalties, we saw this, so it comes in with Hinder 1. So it's just harder to do anything with allies. Once we clear it, though, we remove a counter from a board member. That doesn't trigger the benefit, it just clears it for the sake of clearing it. And that's us. Okay, cool. Staying afloat, that's all we're doing. So we can clear this, no problem. So I think we do. We ready ourselves. And then we thwart for 4. Clearing this. So we'll just take a threat off of one of these. The question is which one? Our hand can deal with mental, which is this one. That does the main scheme. I think we'll just do the physical one. We don't care about damage. Okay, before we commit to anything, we probably just use Madame Web to draw 2 and thwart 2. So Madame Web will thwart. And when she leaves play, we draw a card. Okay, it's fine. So that's okay. All right, so wait, were we meant to play Venom? Why do we end up with all these being exhausted? I don't think we play Venom here. We also exhausted everything for rapid deployment, but that also didn't matter. Maybe it was right to do rapid deployment for 3/3, and then we would use Madame Web. But yeah, that was probably a lot better in like immediate hindsight. This is a nice way to jump down, though. I think we have to play this. So if that's the case, We have 2 wilds. We'll be fine. So we'll do Genius for Chief Surveillance Officer. I think now we're going to do the text on Zemo's. So we'll remove this and remove 2 threat. Then we'll do Wilds and Energy for Chief Medical Officer. So we'll recover 1. We'll play the Ejection Protocol. So this is our panic button. The rapid deployment is probably not worth it. It's probably only going to be 1 main scheme. And I think here we'll pass. Yeah, just kind of paddling. Just moving forward slowly. Draw 3 cards. Web Trap, that's perfect. That buys us a bit of range. Spider-Man's awesome, easy to play, and Energy Shield's kind of okay, but Energy Shield and Spider-Man's actually like a good conversion, because Energy Shield means we can pay 1 resource to basically get another activation and another ready, which at least on Spider-Man does scale well. Goes to 3. Baron Zemo's attacking for 4. We'll do the block combo. So we're blocking for 4. 1, 2, 3. No damage. 1 encounter card. Ugh. This is the last one though. Mental. So this goes to 1. So now for every mental we spend. Oh, we forgot to do this. It's too late. We forgot to do this. We definitely would have done Zemo's manipulation. So it would have made this a lot worse though. So place 1 secret counter. Again, every secret counter is worth 2 resources unless we play 1 resource now. So we can generate a mental, and just cancel all of this out. That makes our hand bad. So I think we have to do like, no joke, mental. I said I would enjoy Baron Zemo. I'm so sorry. And it's back to us. We're just going to do 1 into Web Trap. It's going to do 5 to Baron Zemo and it's on him. We needed to keep an interface for that. Now we'll just straight pass. Like, oh my God. Okay. We could ejection protocols there, but our interface was exhausted, so we can't recover. 1. Nice. Web Fluid. That's our last interface. Scarlet Spider. Okay. Goes to 6. Zemo stunned. Oh, hold on. Before we do this, we'll do this. So we can put 2 counters on any of these because they're all the lowest. That's it. Gain 2 cards from the Shield campaign envelope. I don't think that matters. And place 2 secrets on a board member with the lease. And this is after the player phase ends, so we can see our hand. Our hand has an extra physical, my guess is. So we'll put it on the physical one. Okay. So we technically get 2 cards from the deck. All that matters is once we have 6, we can go for a solve. So I'm just going to track the counters here on the side. So we just have to do that twice more. And then there's a huge jump in difficulty where Baron Zemo attacks you for like 16 with overkill or something. It's really goofy how big the jump is from 2 and 3. Anyways, now Baron Zemo's stunned. Now we draw an encounter card. All right, he's attacking us again. That's okay. So he's attacking us for 2 and a card. We place a pursuit counter. We will do the same thing where we block for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 damage, excuse me. So 1, 2, 3, Shield Trooper. That's good. Take no damage. Back to us. So we definitely are going to set up with our Web Fluid. These are our 2 wilds, which are more important. We probably should be thwarting for 4 this turn. So if that's the case, we might just do nothing here besides play our Web Fluid Compressor, ready ourselves thwart for 4. Then we have this left over. Oh wait, we have 3 wilds. So we can play Web Fluid out of hand. We can ready thwart, and then we're wasting a card. That stinks. Stinky. Not good. It's really hard to recover, especially because this exhausts your recovery card when you eject. I totally forgot about that. Very interesting. I think we still play our research generator because we want to scale up. So we'll do 1. I think this is fine. 2, and we'll play. This is the one that gives us +1 attack, or +2 attack, excuse me. So generates an energy. We'll ready ourselves. We'll thwart for 4. And unfortunately, we have 1 resource left over, which is not where you want to be. And we'll pass. Draw 3 again. Energy barrier, nice. So Across the Spider-Verse, really good if we can get Peter into play, and Limitless Stamina is okay. But Across the Spider-Verse is perfect because we just play 2 for Peter, which is almost always correct for a bunch of reasons. Goes to 4. Zemo attacks for 2 and a card. We'll do the thing where we block. Unflappable would be really good if we drew it. We threw one out early. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's something I'm actually appreciating is because you only draw 3 cards a turn. It takes you a while to deck cycle. So any decision that we made a couple turns ago, like you draw through your deck twice as fast with normal heroes. It takes us so long to find the cards that we discard. So we have to be like way more thoughtful. All right, now we have to jump down. That's annoying. This is drawing near. It says an obligation. It says after your turn starts, we discard the top card of the deck. It's Aunt May's. No, we add 1 counter here. So that means we're definitely guaranteed to draw our nemesis next turn. Maybe we want to deal with it now. I don't think we do. So we can get this down to 0 and just let Baron Schemo. It's the worst time to jump down though when Baron Schemo will draw 2 encounter cards. So that stinks. It's also not good to be an alter ego because a bunch of the cards that we draw care about generating the right resources. And when we're an alter ego, we don't have our text on our hero card to generate the wild resources we need to interact with some of these cards. So that stinks. My buddy played Enchantress and didn't realize that the Hypnotic Gaze doesn't flip back up. So he had a really bad time. Doesn't flip back up. Hypnotic Gaze? Wait, what do you mean? Like once it was, your friend was enthralled? Okay, this is the damage one, which actually maybe that was a reason not to do that because damage we don't care about. We actually could have advanced any other turn too. Like this only cares that there's not threat on one of them, I think. So we could have gone deeper, but I think we just need to wait for this tempo hit of like cycling our deck. We probably want to recover 2 here or recover 4. So I think we're going to jump down, recover 4. And to get rid of the drawing near, you just have to discard a card from your identity specific. So actually it's not even guaranteed. Oh, we can't even get rid of this. Yeah, once they're in the throat, oh yeah, it stays that way. It's way more fun. Okay, that sinks. No good. So I think we're just going to pay 2 for Energy Barrier. So I think we're just going to pay these 2 cards for Across the Spider-Verse. That leaves us with Energy Mental. So I think we need a thwart for 4. So these are accounted for, which will leave us with Energy Wild. That's okay. So Across the Spider-Verse. We'll exhaust Web of Life of Destiny, which we can't exhaust it. And then we'll go search for a Web Warrior. We can play any of them. I think the one that you almost always go for here will be Peter. Venom, mind you, isn't, let alone Protect cares. We found Peter recently, right? Okay, he's in play. All right, 3 health. When he activates, we can do a good thing. Okay, so now with Peter, actually Peter doesn't matter that much. Peter allows us to save this. This leaves us with 3 cards, which is kind of silly. We could in theory just like ejection protocol here. It stops us recovering 4 though. So I guess Peter will thwart 2, which readies us. Oh no, this is good. We will thwart 2 on this. That leaves us with 4 resources, but we need to spend this one to recover. So we're only going to spend 2. So we're going to do, oh, we can't because it's physical. Oh no. So hold on, before we were meant to do this, instead when we play Spider-Man or when we play Across the Spider-Verse, we'll tap this energy one and keep this physical in hand. Yeah, that 100% was correct. Because now we can generate wild physical to deal with the Chief Tactical Officer. Yeah, that's important. We'll remove this to do 2 damage. We have to do 2 damage. It's not a choice. So the villain goes down to 2. We will flip. We can't get rid of drawing near, so we're going to get our nemesis. That's fine. But we at least can use our alter ego to exhaust this to recover 4. So that's a lot better, and we'll pass. We're going to deck out here. And we're going to draw our nemesis. But we do draw 4. So we draw 1, 2, repurpose Spider UK. We draw on a counter card, and we'll shuffle. I think every copy of that card from the main encounter set that adds things to the guys, to the chief officers, to the people is out. So we can probably do this Deimos manipulation text just to get out of here. We're going to draw only 2 more cards. We're now fully set up, obviously. But yeah, we cycle through a deck so slow. It's like really, really, that's kind of an expensive cost. We also didn't have, I guess we cycle through our deck relatively fast if we found Aunt May and Uncle's Ben, but we didn't find that. I think that's the one card that ensures that you cycle through your deck in the way that you'd expect. But without that, again, yeah, you're only seeing about 3 cards a turn. Even with all the research generators. Maybe we should just play a mansion. 3, strength, that's nice. 4, venom, that's actually really good. That will let us to deal, oh no, it actually hurts us when we draw our minion. Whisper's taunt, yeah, maybe, but like, have you seen our health situation? It's not that good. I think we had a bit more toughness. We probably play taunt. Spider UK is fire. I never realized he was an interrupt. Thought he was a responsive pass. Me too. Valuable lesson. So thank you for the demonstration. I was in the exact same camp. I totally thought it was a response and I was like, this kind of sucks. But yeah, it is so important. That's an interrupt. All right, we're going to do the text on Zemo's manipulations. I think this is a fine window to do it, as much as we have a bit of a tempo hit here. So this says we can remove 2. We'll put it on. Looking at our hand, we have more physical, but we're going to do one of the other ones. On, it has no secret counters. So I guess we have extra energies. We'll put them on the energy. And then we go to 4 counters. We could advance now, and then we have like a 1 in 3 chance, I think, of succeeding. I forget the numbers, but we'll wait till there's 6 and not have to worry about it. And that's that. This goes to 2. Baron Zemo schemes for 4 and a card. 4, nowhere safe. Oh, that's a nightmare. That sucks. I thought our nemesis was not going to matter, but we draw this. So we just put 4 here. But now this goes to 4, and when this hits 4, we got our nemesis, which means our nemesis will actually scheme against us. You hate to see it. I thought we were just going to draw at the end of the round. Only schemes for 2. It's Morbin time. It's Morbius. All right, so Morbius, after it engaged hero generates any number of resources, deal an equal amount of damage to that hero. It's not even resources during your sync thing, just generates resources. That's so wild. This thing is meant to be like some sort of energy vampire, as opposed to a vampire. So this goes to 8. And we're going to shuffle some cards. We also have Giant Monster Attack. What a good name. I love that it's like a mecha-suit versus a kaiju. All right, so as additional cost to thwart the scheme, you must spend an energy resource, has Crisis. This is a really bad turn. This has 6 health, mind you. And then we're going to shuffle these energy drains into the deck. Energy drains, also not great. When you draw these, there must be multiple cards called energy drain, no? Oh no. So when you draw this, you have to spend 2 energy resources or take 3 damage. And if you spend resources, you take damage anyways. So it's like not a real choice when Morbius is on the table. Morbius is horrid. Yeah, Morbius is kind of bad. Morbius is not the best. And we still have 2 encounter cards. So one of these could be an energy drain. It's worth noting the encounter set is only energy drain Morbius in this game. So an energy drain is now the most common encounter card in this deck. I'm going to brag a bit that I'm the one who pointed out Spider-UK's awesomeness a few weeks ago. Were you? I know it was someone in chat. Apologies, Sniper. I didn't know it was you, but thank you so much for that. Seems important for the way we like to play this game. Oh no. To the collection we go. This card is cool. Reluctant Foe says, when revealed, search your collection for a hero whose title does not match a character in play and put that into play, engage with you, attach this card to it. Treat attached hero as an elite minion with scheme equal to their printed thwart. It's villainous. When defeated, remove this hero and Reluctant Foe from the game. There's only one right choice here. Excuse me. Chanting Hulk. These are my 2 options, okay? They are the heroes I'm the least scared of, for obvious reasons. In one corner, we have Ms. Marvel, who is a relevant hero. However, 10 health, 1/1/1 stat line is like kind of chump chain. It is 1 with villainous, so it matters. The other side is Hawkeye, which is just really funny because Hawkeye also has butt stats and butt health. And Hawkeye's only good when you have the cards that you don't have. I'm not picking Hulk. Oh, Morbius is going to scheme again because of drawing near? No, it's not. Never mind. Spectrum? Is Spectrum the lowest text? I think she has more health, though. Yeah, 1/1 with 11. So she's just worse than Miss Marvel, unless you care about Aerial Avenger. Hawkeye's been a villain, to be fair. Yo, Pat, how's it going? Yeah, I think Hawkeye has been a villain. I don't think Miss Marvel has. I usually go for Hawkeye. He also is, like, technically shield traded. Not exactly, but sort of. So I guess now we have to reluctantly fight Hawkeye, who has 9 health. I think this scenario really got away from us. Like, this was a bad turn. It's not even over. And it became a worse turn. There's no hero that has, like, 0 stats, right? Like, 0 health? All right, so reluctantly, Hawkeye is taking up the mantle of Baron Zemo's. Oh, we're going to lose. Battle of Wits is a cool card. Baron Zemo schemes. If this activation would place any threat on the main scheme, you may spend X mental resources to prevent X of that threat and remove X secret counters from among board members. This is so feast or famine. And this is exactly what I mentioned before. The problem is we can't generate mental resources because we're in alter ego mode. If you look at our hand, we have no mental resources. So we have, in fact, lost the game. 4, 5, 6, GG. I think I don't like Baron Zemo anymore. Oh, Vision. Yeah, Vision's good. Vision's 2/0/0. Yeah, Vision's actually the right choice. Quicksilver, I think Quicksilver's also 9. That sucks. There's just like so many encounter cards where like having the right cards in hand, which is something you can't control, just cooks you. But the biggest thing is we knew this. We shouldn't have jumped down to hero mode or alter ego mode, because when we draw this, we can't. We could have generated 3 mentals. We would still put 3 threat here, but like, yeah, this card's absurd. It's really good though, because if you have the mentals for this, it undoes the board members, which is like really cool. It allows you to do something, but jumping down to alter ego sucked. Ah, ass. All right, that's Baron Zemo. We had a good run. Good stuff. I mean, that was nothing, was it? We just like stay afloat. I don't know. Okay, I'm back into the Zemo hating gang. All my homies hate Zemo. We would have discarded this and added 1 more to Pursue by the Past. And then we have to deal with Morbius and a 9 health minion and a Crisis and this. Like, we were cooked anyways, so what can we complain about? Why was that? Why was it so bad? Zemo just does that sometimes. Why was that so bad? Should we have got out of stage 1 super fast? Like, I don't think our goal is to get out of stage 1, because stage 2 is just worse. We set up well. The thing is, like, this just saps your forward momentum. You just spend so much time doing this as opposed to like proactively doing anything. But this scenario is not good at presenting things that proactively you want to do, right? Like, yeah, sure, there's minions. We saw a couple of them, but there's not proactive things to do. Seems like you want to confuse him. I'm guessing Hill schools him with the Pericles. I think Hill schools everyone with the Pericles and solo. But yeah, confusing him is really important for a bunch of reasons. Because the 4 scheme stat is like, he has the highest natural scheme stat in the entire game. I don't think any other character has a 4 scheme stat. Maybe like a MODOK at some point. No, not even. Like, does anyone have a higher scheme stat than him? The campaign makes it easier? Maybe. But then you have to play this campaign mode and you have to keep drawing that card that Insight 1 and adds a thing to everything, so you have to spend resources, or you add 6 threat worth of. Okay, it's a 101. I have maybe like 20 minutes left of this stream that we can do, so I can't actually do another game because they usually take more than half an hour. Apologies to end on this sort of like vibe, but maybe we should have never trusted Zemo in the first place. I think SPR is genuinely quite a cool character. There's like upsides and downsides. You have some very interesting turns. Obviously, it's somebody that you build into, and your early game's gonna stink. I think we got through the early game actually really well, but this obviously, like, adding 15 threat, adding 15 damage, 4 threat, and then letting Baron Zemo scheme was not great. Let alone scheme twice. That's on us. Does Master Mold, isn't his scheme high? Master Mold can't scheme. Or more accurately, when Master Mold schemes, he just grabs a minion and the minion schemes. Or he schemes without a boost. So it's like, it is high, but it's not high. It's like weird high. Because he always schemes for 3 plus a minion. So it's similar. But I think 4 is naturally the highest, especially on stage 1. What's the other Baron Zemo? 3 threat? Yeah. Even on A1, it's 3 threat. That's like relatively high for a first scenario. I think what we can do is probably look at some spoilers. Maybe we should look at some Hercules and some, what's it called? The other guy. You know the guy. I think let's just look at some spoilers for a bit. I think it's a nice way to spend some time. We also can do the thing where we look at, we didn't do a good job of this, where we look at the options you have from Persona. Is that what it's called? The one where you grab a character specific to another person. All right, this is the list. I think the list that we played here was actually a fair bit different because we ended up cutting some big stuff. Like we cut the 4-cost Spider-Man, which like, oh my God, of course we're meant to do that. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And we ended up with more readies, which actually turned out to be pretty good. A ready for a fight is something that you could have played in the scenario, and it gives us the pseudo confuse we probably would appreciate. Baron Zemo attacks for 2, but schemes for 4, obviously weights us in a single direction. So I think we should have played ready for a fight for sure. I do think the Hanger Bay actually makes a bit of sense with Spider UK. We don't set it up super consistently, especially because we only draw 3 cards a turn. So maybe we have to go to the taunt angle, but these sort of like multi-card combos don't seem amazing in SPDR. I think that's one of my downsides. Yeah, you need Hanger Bay, but that's the problem. Is like, because we draw 3 cards in a turn, the chance of us finding Spider UK, having it to be a playable card, basically not competing with any of our interfaces in the early turn, and then finding Hanger Bay and it not competing with our early setup. Again, because we only draw 3 cards a turn, it takes us so long to set up multi-card combos. I think that's something that I'm both like respecting and fearing with SPDR, unless you can add like a boatload of card draw, which again, hey, maybe Metaphor's right about playing taunt. It's just like very slow to deck yourself to be able to reinstall those combos. I think the cards allow you to shuffle like protection cards back into your deck. I almost never play those cards. They don't seem super impactful because they're only alter ego, and maybe it's hard. Definitely have to wind this one back. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? It was weird. It was definitely a weird day so far. But I think we learned some interesting stuff, and maybe I should have never played Baron Zemo in the first place. All right, let's look at some Hall of Heroes. I don't know if all the spoilers are there. Shout out to Hall of Heroes, just a great website. Let's look at some Wonder Man spoilers and some Herc spoilers. Check out the Go Green Ranger SPDR deck. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, I can't see that. That makes sense. Go Green Ranger. Deck lists. Can I search my name? A campaign mode. This deck was piloted by Steve. It cleared the Sinister Modus campaign on Standard and Expert. Aspect Advantage, Quick Whip. Oh, Aspect Advantage. Yeah, Confused would be nice. So Aspect Advantage is something you can do while playing through Sinister Motives? You also can import this if you play through Mutant Genesis. You can import some cards. So what's different here? Scarlet Spider. Yeah, love it. Silk is a cheap character we could play as a block. We could have considered Silk. She was on the block of cards we didn't play at the end. We have a Spider-Man Noir in there. We have a Spider UK, fewer allies. 3 taunt. Whip. Oh my god, I forgot we play Whip. This stuns 2 enemies. Yeah, that seems okay. Deal 1 damage is not a massive cost. We have a huge health pool and we're not super tough. I forgot about this card. This card's really good. It's really nice to add more superpowers to a depth focus deck, but that's definitely not exactly a depth focus deck. What else do we have here? Avengers Mansion. I could see Avengers Mansion. It is expensive. The setup is pretty slow, so I'm like not a huge Avengers Mansion fan in general. I think the average person's like here on Avengers Mansion. I'm slightly lower than them, so I'd play it less than I often do, unless we have a busted resource curve. Hangar Base seems like it makes a lot of sense with Spider UK. That's cool. Not a big Med Team fan, but I think Med Team makes sense with things like Spider-Man Noir, who like never really did anything today, let alone showed up. I think that's a deck cycling issue, but also with Taunt, like I think that's also makes a fair bit of sense that we can just like take more damage and build back up. Armored Vest makes sense. I think I like Armored Vest more than Defensive Conditioning. It's cool that we've seen a couple decks recently that have more health, so they don't care about the extra resource to get +3 health. We have Spider Tingle, which is actually a really sick card to cancel treacheries, another superpower. This is a card you can easily consider in any deck. I think I played more allies than this, but I like this card a lot. And you can play as many as you want, right? Yeah, interrupt. Unflappable is good. Unshakable, I think it's dependent on the scenario. We were barely stunned or confused, so I don't mind it, but it's always a nice toolbox card. Yeah, this seems good. The new basic player side scheme coming out in Hercules pack is going to make Avengers Mansion so much easier to get out. Oh, the one where you search for a shield or what's it called? An Avenger card, -2. I don't know what to think about that card because that card's like clearly so much better when you play multiplayer and we mostly play solo, but it's still not bad in solo. Let's see if we can find it. Again, shout out. We generally don't like to show spoilers that other channels have spoiled. At this point, the spoilers are usually about 3 or 4 days old. I'm going to do my best to link to those channels in the description. So if you want to go see people have a bigger conversation and actually reveal those cards, they are a bit below in the description, but let's see what we can do. Cool deck. I think this makes sense. It's not super different. It's 45 cards though, so I really do not like a 45 card deck when you have such key cards to find. I think that's the thing that I'm realizing, like, wait, how do you have so many cards in this? But it is a 45er. I think actually 45 is also very expensive when it comes to this deck because the more aspect cards you put in the deck, the less consistent On May and Uncle Ben is. I do think it's in your benefit to play 40 for a bunch of different reasons. I'm huge in the like play 40 club if you can, as much as I do make 42 card decks. All right, let's start with Wonder Man because I think I remember Wonder Man last. Okay. So, hey, this is Simon Williams. 3 recovery, 12 health, 6 hand size, good stats. You may include events with a printed energy resource icon from any aspect in your deck. I would be pretty happy if we saw this sort of like trait building on 3 different heroes in the future, each one that cared about a different resource. The fact that we haven't had like resource locked deck building to date is like kind of wild. And I hope that we're going to be swinging into it a bit more. Like, I think it'd be really easy to see like a new Hulk that can only play physical resources or something like that. Or like, you know, if they redid, what's his face? If they ever made a Professor X card that it could only play like mental resources, like that would make a lot of sense. And it just opens up deck building in a really wide way. I'm a huge fan of it, especially also because now going forward, anytime an event comes out with an energy resource, it's like something you'd consider in a Simon Williams or in a Wonder Man deck. I think that's awesome. Put Ionic Physiology into play. Let's see if we can find that first. That is a card that I think tucks cards and gives you healing, which is quite nice. How does this work? Like this. And this is Wonder Man 2/1/2 stat line. But Wonder Man gets +1 attack for each card tucked under Ionic Physiology. It can tuck up to 3 cards, so we're up to 2/4/2, but you want to use those cards because they benefit you. And forced response, after Wonder Man makes a basic attack, discard each tucked card under Ionic Physiology. So it'll come in bursts, and we'll see how we load the cards up. It'll be on Ionic Physiology. 2/2/2 stat line on average is what you're going to be, which is perfect for solo, as much as you can get some big hits. And I do not know the card pool that is energy based, whether there's some obvious synergies, but that seems great. All right, this is the card. Art, wildly different. I think this is the artist that a lot of folks don't like, is my guess. There's some art, I think, by this person. Maybe this is the different person. But this is probably, who does this? Hold on, enhance. Joey Vasquez. Yeah, Joey Vasquez rips. I recently was looking at the big old Colossus art. Joey Vasquez. I really like Joey Vasquez's art. All right, this is it's permanent, has an energy icon. Let's see if that matters. Responds after you play an event with a printed energy icon, you can choose to tuck that event from your discard pile under this card and heal 1 damage from identity. That's awesome. It's not once per phase, so you want to play a lot of cheap events if you can, because that's healing. I really like characters that just have built-in, like, somewhat trivial healing in their deck, because it means they just don't have to jump down to alter ego. They don't have to block. They can just take hits and then heal back up, kind of like a Captain Marvel or kind of like a Bishop. It's a really fun playstyle. And it's something that we don't see a lot in a game where you expect a lot of heroes to be able to kind of like take their licks and keep going. My friend has already called dibs on Wonder Man in our group. Oh yeah, that seems like a good thing to call dibs on. I think they did well here. Cool. All right, so we probably have an idea of the whole. I think we've seen all the cards. I think the question mark is how many of each card is in play, or in the deck, excuse me. They usually, when they show, say that there's like 3 active altruisms in the deck, they will always show you the first one in the numerical order. So there's a chance that it's like 2, 3, 4 are active altruism. If the next card we see is 5, yeah, that's the guess. All I'm saying is that active altruism is card 2, 3, and 4. The precedent is they won't show us card 3 of active altruism. They'll always show you the first numbered card of that name. Regardless. Has an energy icon. That matters. 0 cost event. That matters. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. Remove 2 additional threat for the scheme for each resource you overpaid for this card to a maximum of 2. This has come up before. It's been a minute. How do you overpay for this? Can't you not? I thought you weren't allowed to overpay for things. Is the idea that you can play an energy? How do you overpay for a 0 cost card? Huh? I thought you just couldn't overpay. Are you allowed to overpay on a 0? We just talked about Venom. I thought with Venom we couldn't overpay. What am I missing here? The only character art I dislike is Adam Warlock. He looks so... Yeah, Adam Warlock is like fine. Oh, you can do it. But the difference with Venom is that you didn't pay, you overpaid. So you're always allowed to overpay. But the difference because of Venom is Venom cares about the cards, the resources you paid, not the resources you overpaid. Is that correct? So my understanding is you're always allowed to overpay, but specifically Venom doesn't say for the resources you overpaid, it's the resources you paid. Do they have new rules text? Not that I know of. Is that the difference? That's correct. Okay. So the difference is that Venom is very specific on the costs you pay. Anything you overpaid is not something you paid for Venom. So technically you can always overpay for cards. You don't have to do like the Flesh and Blood overpay where like if it's a 2 cost card, if you pitch a red, then a blue, you overpaid. So that's different. They upended it when they announced Winter Soldier. They showed the second card, at least one of the cards. I thought it was odd because it made it seem like we get 3 arm blocks. Oh, they did actually mess it up. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. So this is a 1 card for 1 threat, but it does give you technically a healing. So that's already like not the worst. Honestly, it's like not amazing, but it's not the worst. Like 1 healing and 1 threat for a 0 cost card is like somewhat curve-ish. And the card underneath you will have extra benefits. So this is technically like 1 card for 1 threat for 1 healing for 1 attack. Like that's not awful. That's genuinely like Gamora-esque. But you can remove 2 additional threat from the scheme for each energy up to a maximum of 2. So it's flexible. It's up to you. Notably, hold on 1 second. This is after you play an event with Tucket, so it's not the resources you pitch. Yeah. Pay overpay separate rules text. Yeah, it seems like it. Cool. Because this says overpaid. Yeah, this actually uses the text overpaid. That's really, really cool. Neat, flexible. I like modal cards like this. What's really fun about a card like this, which I think is why Wonder Man looks fun, is that it's a modal card. So you can use this as a 1 threat removal. You can use this as a 2 threat removal, or sorry, a 3 threat removal. You can use this as a 5 threat removal. And that's entirely based off of board state. Anytime your cards allow you not to like leak or overspend value and underspend value, that generally is a flexible card. And that's a really good card, especially when you play solo. 3 and 5 is a weird breakpoint. There are some 4-threat schemes, but that's actually very, very important that this card is exactly as good as you want. And spending 1 card for 2 additional threat is like baseline super efficient. A card for 2 threat is a perfect trade in this game. So that's like very much anytime you use this, it's relatively on tempo. Very, very cool. Ionic Blast, similarly, 1 for 3 damage is already 2 for 3. That's a bit worse. But again, that's plus a healing, plus an attack. So that's quite good. Deal 2 additional damage for every energy icon. Every card is generally worth, and you can make this do 5, 7, 9. 3 is already a really good breakpoint for a lot of guard minions. 5 is an okay breakpoint. 7, 9, those are ridiculous breakpoints. But yeah, that's really good. Again, very smooth. A lot of flexibility. I'm assuming we'll have 3 of these in the kit. My guess, and this is a 1-cost superpower, which is perfect. This is not a superpower, but it doesn't matter. Deft Focus will pay for this. Actually, I don't think you even want to use Deft Focus on this, because it reduces the cost, but you want to overpay. No, you can Deft Focus that. Wait, that's really funny, because Deft Focus reduces the cost, but if the cost is reduced, you still overpay it. So you don't actually care about the base cost. It's about the cost you overpaid for it. That's kind of sick. That actually works really, really well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, good. And I think his deck is, my guess, and I haven't looked at the numbers, is that he'll have 3 of each of these, because he inherently cares about playing cheap events, let alone cheap energy events, right? Red Wasp Valley and Power of Aggression, it doesn't give her 2 counters because it only doubles resources when paying. Wasp wants overpaid, that sucks. Starstruck, 1-cost superpower, deal damage to an enemy equal to your attack, which can be up to 4, as much as it won't stay long. And if you overpaid for this card with energy resource, stun that enemy. So this is 2 damage for somewhere around 4 and a stun. Probably like 2 for 3 and a stun. That's great. That's fine. That's really quite good. Again, Deft Focus makes sense. This has an energy resource. I'm assuming we only have 2 of these. Maybe 1, but probably 2. A lot of times, like the crowd control event, you have fewer of, and the big damage cards you have a bit more of. So this is probably a 2 of, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Who knows? Energy Siphon. Siphon. Hero Interrupt. When you spend this card, take up to 3 damage. This card generates an additional energy for each damage taken this way. Wow. That's, again, really, really flexible. You're going to have healing baked into your kit, but now this makes a 2-card, like 9 damage attack. Really, really good. Deft Focus pays for the 1 cost, then you go to hero action overpay. Exactly, yeah. That's really, really good. It does actually work, which is great. Flexible, strong, powerful. You can't tuck it because it's not an event, but this is great. And this just means you can take exactly as much damage to boost your events exactly the amount you want. Very, very flexible so far. And I think we're going to see some good setup upgrades, which, you know me, I love my upgrades. Hero resource, item, and tech traded. Exhaust this generated energy resource for an event. Your deck wants to do that, and this is a resource for an event, so it can be for paying and overpaying. That's totally fine. 2-cost resource generator. As much as a limited resource generator, usually those only cost 1, but this is totally fine. It also doesn't have to be for those events. It can be for any event you play. However, you can also exhaust this and discard a card tucked into the physiology to generate energy resource. That seems fine. That's a bit niche. Both of these exhausts are only going to get 1 over the other. The difference between getting the card underneath you versus just raw generating 1 is that sometimes your thing underneath you can be full, I guess. So it's not massively important, I don't think. But this can only have 3 cards tucked, so at some point it'll just be full. Yeah, and then you can tuck the next card, which gets you 1 more healing. I mean, it seems fine. Maybe I don't understand it, but both of those texts seem super similar. The bottom one just gives you a bit more niche access. Really strange that this doesn't give him aerial, considering, you know, what's going on, but not bad. Yeah, that's a wild bespoke resource card. There is a downside, like you take damage. Notably, this says take damage. So if you're tough, this does nothing. God, I hate that the costs are take and not deal. Because if you have a toughness, you can't take damage, which means you can't pay this cost. So just watch out. If you play toughness, you cannot play this card. It generates 1 resource. Oh, you're right. Bottom isn't restricted for events. Yeah, that's actually very important. I was like, these are way too similar, but you're right. The bottom can generate a resource for anything. So playing your other cards, let alone like attachments. Jet Belt for Excelsior. I mean, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, that's one way to do it. You are an Avenger, aren't you? So you can just play Quinn Carrier. Yeah, you're Aerial Avenger. Those are both very good traits. I'm not a huge Aerial fan. I don't know how many Aerial energy cards there are that like overlap, but yeah, those are good traits. Hey, it's Mr. Hollywood. It's a title, 1-cost upgrade. Generate an energy resource to overpay for a card. That's what I mean. 1-cost traded like niche resource generators are not uncommon. Usually the heroes that have those are my favorite heroes. I don't imagine we have more than 1 of these. Titles are unique. Literally, it is unique. So that's sick. That's just very good value. Yeah, he's natively aerial. That's really cool. So you're right. That's why he doesn't have aerial, because he's natively aerial. Good catch. This game needs more marketing. Instagram handle, FBRX, even though I no longer deal with X. Fantasy Flight Games, I think, is on all those channels. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what they are because I'm not on any of those, so I don't actually know, but they do marketing for sure. All right, we're going to see some cards that were spoiled by some community folks. But like already that kit with no other cards seems good and fun and interesting. I don't know if that overlaps with some of the community spoilers we see. No, they haven't. So if you haven't seen, again, these are the spoiler schedule. Wonder Man was the first week. So we saw community that was posted on Reddit. We have Web Warrior Fanatic, Nelson All Over, Le Mano Taranos, which does Spanish content, if I'm not mistaken, MCM Podcast, and Critical Encounters. And Critical Encounters very fittingly got to do the Nemesis. All right. This is, what are you? 2-cost superpower. Again, Def Focus makes sense. Forced Interrupt. When Wonder Man would be defeated, instead, yeah, we saw this one on the channel. Instead, set his hit point dial to 4 and change him to alter ego form. You may tuck events with a printed energy resource from your discard pile underneath the physiology until there are 3 cards, and then remove this card from the game. I said the same thing when this was spoiled like a couple weeks ago. I generally don't prioritize playing the don't die cards because it's in your best interest to play your other cards that actively cause you to don't die by, like, you know, healing you or protecting you or putting allies in play and stuff like that. Now, this is relatively cheap as a 2-cost, like, don't die button, let alone with Deft Focus, as much as Deft Focus seems like it should have a target on every turn. The benefit for this, though, is that it fills everything underneath you, which puts you immediately to 4 attack. It gives you a bunch of healing set up as well, so it's a bit better than just don't die. But I'm pretty sure this is the card that is going to be last installed, unless you're playing against something like, you know, Ronin, where getting attacked 3 times is not out of question in the same phase. But yeah, this does not excite me. Surprised. I wonder what that quote means, if it really, really matters. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? I'm doing okay. We only have like 15 minutes left, maybe 10 minutes left of the stream. So we're just catching up on some spoilers because we didn't have enough time to do another game. These are, okay. Signature sunglasses. Sick item. 1-cost upgrades. Like, so generous. There is no card we've seen in this kit that's clumsy. Like, his most expensive card is 2. Like, that's one of the big things. A lot of the characters have like signature cards that you have to spend your whole turn doing. It doesn't look like he does. It looks like every card is like super easy to play. I'm wondering if, like, well, you know, the wonder of Wonder Man is more so like how easy is it to do your event thing and all that. But so far, everything looks so smooth. It's really funny how like diametrically opposed Wonder Man looks in presentation to playstyle versus Hercules. Like, Hercules looks like power, but so many hurdles to get there, let alone variants to the hurdles. And Wonder Man's like, yeah, pay a 1-cost card, go to the moon. Like, it's nonsense. It's absurd. Anyways, 1-cost, after you change form, you can choose to tuck an event or resource card with a printed energy from your discard pile under physiology, or add a card tucked under physiology to your hand. I'd be surprised if this makes you want to flip every turn. That's a good text for sure. It's definitely a very, very good kicker, but it doesn't seem that important. You're only a caught off guard away. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, from being sent backwards? Hey, this seems fine. Like, that's nice. It's flexible. For what it's worth, the events underneath you only matter because of their icons on them, but it's cool that you can get an event from your discard pile. Like, Signature Sunglasses actually does something really important. This is one of the few cards that functionally, with an extra step, can get a card out of your discard pile into your hand. You just have to flip twice, and the card has to have an energy resource. But like, you can flip, get the energy icon underneath you, you can flip later, and you can add it to your hand. And because this doesn't exhaust, you could do it technically in the same turn, as much as I don't think he has any things that allow him to jump into alter ego or like flip in the same time. That's neat. That actually is quite neat. Like, we don't have a lot of cards that say card from bin into hand. So that's cool. It's just, you have to watch out. It's a bit slow. What Are You makes me think of the stoner in the movie Accepted, where he's yelling at the different food ingredients when he's in the kitchen. I don't know what that is, but I can kind of imagine. If it's next his resource card, I mean, his resource card is good, but I don't think it's like warpingly good. It's like very good. But it seems okay. I think like the resource card you can't use for expensive cards. Like, it's only for events, right? When you spend this card, go 3 damage. This card generates 1 additional for each damage taken this way. Oh no, never mind. You can Avengers Mansion with this on turn 1. I didn't realize that. You can literally take 3 damage to play Avengers Mansion. Okay, now that is sick. Is that sustainable? Yeah, probably. Probably sustainable. But that is actually kind of cool. I didn't realize it was that easy. I thought it was only for overpaying. Last card, Wonder Fans. We haven't seen an alter ego card, so why not this one? 1-cost support. Again, everything's so easy to play. Exhaust Wonder Fans. It has a wild. Choose to tuck an event with a printed energy resource from your discard pile under physiology or draw a card. That is now very smooth because you can grab any card with energy underneath you in alter ego. You can flip up. You can add that card to your hand. So now this looks really, really quite good. I don't know. It's like so different than Hercules. Hercules seems like so many hurdles, and everything Wonder Man does costs 1 and sends him again to the moon. He has so much recursion. He has so much control. I'm assuming he has enough healing. I think the one thing that's going to make Wonder Man trickier to play is the potential of like having a bad attack stat. But again, I think you have like 5 attack events in your deck, so it might not matter, and you can recur them. But yeah, sometimes you'll be stuck where you want your attack stat to be up and it's not up. But it shouldn't be that hard. I don't know. I'm excited for Wonder Man, but he looks like an absolute blast and looks like pretty smooth. Arguably maybe too smooth. Really cool. The cards interact well together. They're all interesting. There doesn't seem to be any duds in the deck barring this. This does seem like a dud. But again, if you're a player who keeps getting knocked out or decide to build your deck to be super aggressive to get knocked out, that's when this card gets interesting. So there's something to it. This is the only card I'm like, I don't see myself installing this, but I'd be happy to be wrong. Escaping loops looks like so much fun. His deck building advantage looks so fun. Yeah, the deck building seems like a lot of fun, and I do agree the loop looks satisfying. It's 125. Yeah, maybe we can speed run through this. We'll have to go a bit faster, which like I think there's way more to be said about Hercules. Some of the hero cards, the expected heroic conditioning, enhance, 3 hit points and a thwart. That's fine. I like the 3 cost ones compared to the 2 cost one, and defensive conditioning is okay. These just existing in the game are really important. I think the leadership one is like not that good. But yeah, this is fine. I like the art a heck of a lot. Firebird. Bonita Juarez. After you overpaid for Firebird, put a rebirth counter on her. She only has 2 health, so she attacks or thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. And when Firebird would be defeated by consequential damage, remove a rebirth counter from her, heal all damage from her instead. I think that's actually reasonable, right? It's only for consequential damage, which is a nice way to make sure that she's not chump blocking forever. But you pay 3 for her. She thwarts for 2, she attacks for 2, she thwarts for 2, she blocks. You pay 3 for that, so it's 1, 2. Yeah, that's on right. And then she blocks. Like that's good. Ariel Avenger traded. Avenger traded matters a fair bit. She's also just a 2 cost ally if you don't overpay for her, and she can thwart for 2 and take a block, which is on right. Yeah, she seems good. She doesn't seem exciting. If we had things that say like when an ally enters the board, but I guess she doesn't enter the board. She just like removes a rebirth counter and just goes again. But yeah, she just seems very much on rate. Everywhere all at once, X cost events, play only if you have Ariel, choose X schemes, remove 2 threat from each chosen scheme, 3 threat instead if you overpaid for this card. So if you want to get 3 threat off of 2 schemes, you have to pay 3 resources. That's 3 for 6. It's not amazing. It's flexible though. Remove 2 threat from the chosen scheme, 3 threat instead. So, okay. You can do 2 for 4, which is not great. Or you can do 3 for 6, which is not great. In theory, you could do 4 for not. No, I don't know. It's flexible. I don't like these numbers. These numbers don't excite me. Do you think allies like this who give you option to overpay for allies who give you cards like Beast are better? It depends on your cost curve. It depends on your resources. Like Beast seems good because you have a good resource card or resource cards. There's something to be said about cheap allies that you can just play that give you like utility and then it can block. Like that's always going to be useful in any difficulty you play. Yeah, I don't know. Allies like this will give you an option to overpay. Ren, how's it going, by the way? To overpay your allies to give you cards back. I think they're kind of similar. It depends a lot on your deck and your resource curve and how good the resources are. Like, I don't think I have a blanket statement. It's just like any ally that costs 1 or 2 is already worth a slot in this game because allies are just that good. And let alone her numbers are good. And then you have the flexibility to make her a 3 cost, which is very, very good. Yeah, this card doesn't seem great. I don't like the numbers. And that's the thing with these cards is like, this card is like strictly a numbers card, unless, as you're saying in chat, Andy, like it interacts as an energy, a resource card or energy, event. So it tucks underneath your guy. So you get a bit more benefit. But cards like this that are strictly numbers cards, you look at the numbers and then the numbers can be good or bad. The good thing about this is it's flexible because you can change different X's. Like if there's 3 schemes, this one card could deal with 3 schemes and that could be worth it. Like sometimes you just don't have enough people that can go out and thwart enough. So this is good, but yeah, don't love it. Art's also, it's okay. Hey, Robert Reynolds. I recently went to see a film. It was called The Testament of Anne Lee, and it's really stuck in my head. Oh my God, is that film cool? It's about this like, I guess kind of fringe religious group in the 18th century called the Quaker Shakers. It's a somewhat biographical. It's awesome. And I was watching it, and one of the characters, I'm like, I can't tell who that guy is. He's so familiar. He looks like Paul Dano. It's not Paul Dano. Where did I see this guy recently? He played Robert Reynolds in Thunderbolts. Anyways, that's my story here. Go check out The Testament of Anne Lee. It's really good. 3 cost ally, 5 health, thwarts for 2, attacks for 3. This text is going to be bad, isn't it? After Sentry enters play, search the encounter deck for a side scheme and reveal it. If no side scheme was revealed this way, play 6 around the main scheme. Wait, that's good. What? Okay, so this is good in context that there are Justice decks that want side schemes because they get tempo from side schemes, either because they've attached things to it or they draw a card with what's the name of that card? I never remember the name of. Something Investigator, Skilled Investigator sounds right. Like you can make side schemes work for you, and there's a lot of Justice decks that have more thwarting than things to do. Is this as good as drawing 3 cards when you play that thing that draws 3 cards? Probably not. Hey Jason, how's it going? How's your Sunday? But that's not that bad. Mind you, having big attack on Justice is kind of rare. And so this is like 5 health, 3 attack. That's a lot of value. And I'm assuming if you're playing a Justice deck, you don't care about the side scheme. Notably, you search for it, so you don't have to like discard until you find one. And it's the only encounter deck. So this seems really good. MTG other dude bashers would have me believing less cost with good stats are always better, but I can see that. I've tried some of these in Falcon Justice deck. They're great. Oh, have you proxied these already? Or do you have them across the pond? I imagine it's the former, right? Sentry looks incredible. He puts 15 damage against the villain. Awesome for Justice. Yeah, for Justice that like wants more damage, it seems really quite good. And you can make the downside an upside. I love cards that the downside becomes an upside if you build into it. I think that's just more interesting and it gates the card inherently, where you can print something busted, but it's busted within a container as opposed to just like generically busted. I think that makes a healthier card game overall. So really cool. Being able to see if Scarlet Witch ally was discarded on Treachery is fun. Proxy. Okay, very cool. Scarlet Witch, talk about it. Wanda Maximoff, already 2-cost ally, absurd, 3 health, 2 thwart, 2 attack. She probably has bad text, quote unquote. After you play Scarlet Witch, discard the top card in the counter deck. If it is a treachery card, resolve its one revealed ability. Yeah, that's worse. I don't like that one as much. That being said, if you're Justice, you can build a deck where you know the top card of the deck to some amount of consistency, especially if you play like Shield. I mean, I don't think you're spoiled for 2-cost allies that have good text or good numbers, bad text, but okay text. There's a lot of good 2-cost Justice allies. Like Justice has some of the best allies in the game. I think if you're playing in a smaller format, like Standard or Current or whatever they call it, like this is probably worth looking at. I think the numbers, like the idea is the numbers worth an encounter card. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. I don't think there's a lot of Justice cards that interact with the top of the encounter deck, like Greater Responsibility or something. Like I don't know what you're doing. This is not gonna. I'm going to have a fun time playing this at the pre-con and then probably not play it in any other deck. Let's just say that. Ooh, protection card. Stronger Together. Hero Interrupt. When a character other than your hero would take any amount of damage, if that character shares a trait with your hero, reduce that damage by your defense. Holy crap. Art from later this year. Whoa, this is not from an attack. This is sick. Wait, what? This is absurd. Are you kidding me? This allows you to use your defense stat. This is like what I'm assuming Luke Cage would be doing, is like weaponizing your toughness, like physical toughness, into allies, right? I'm imagining Luke Cage will get some benefit or will transfer toughness because he's like meant to be the guardian, leadership protector. But the idea is like if you have a bad consequential number, so you take 2 consequential, you can cancel that with this. That makes it a 1-card 2, like a 1-card 2 healing card. That's not amazing. But now you can block with an ally that has Retaliate. You can like Groot it up and then just play this card for like some cheap healing. Welcome back, HBID. What do you mean? Oh yeah, Stronger Together. We did the math. Yeah. You just got to do the math on this one. I don't know. I like that a lot. The trait lock thing is actually very interesting. I think that's really good text. I wish we had some amount of either trait have to be the same or different. It just makes deck building more interesting. I think this is quite cool. I don't know if it's going to go everywhere. It's not defense traded, which sucks. If this was defense traded, it would be pretty busted, but then it makes you the defender technically, and so that does make a lot of sense. This card seems very interesting. Very, very interesting. When it would take any amount of damage. That's a very flexible window. I don't know exactly where you play it. It's also a 0-cost energy event, which like in the deck that's coming in makes a lot of sense. Bombs Away. This is a reprint, right? Yeah. Exhaust an aerial character you control and choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain to each minion engage that player. It's not the bad card. This makes more sense on multiplayer or on harder difficulties, but even that's probably not consistent. The art's really good. Exhaust an aerial control and choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain to each minion. So like if this is a 2 for 6, that's okay. But because you have an exhaust an aerial character, it's usually like a 4 for 6. Like it gets a lot more expensive because that character is not doing anything. That being said, if that character is on their last hit point and they're waiting for a block anyways, it's fine because it's not an actual cost. But a lot of the aerial kicker cards I just don't care about. They're like too restrictive. It's good art. Unified Strike. When an ally uses a basic power, exhaust your hero. Add your hero's matching power to the ally's power. The ally does not take consequential damage for this use. This I love. I think we've seen a whole bunch of cards that like add people's stats to other people, but there's so many costs associated with that. Like not only are they still taking consequential, which like you wish they didn't, but you have to exhaust those characters. So this like exhausts your hero. This is functionally like what this card does is it exhausts your hero, but it gives them +1 health, right? So you're just moving your hero numbers to a different activation and you're healing for 1. A card that heals for 1 isn't amazing, but the question is like, what can you do this to where adding stats directly to that character, it makes this card make sense. Like this is a bad example because we're across 2 factions, but 2-Gun Kid, if you added your stats to us, 2-Gun Kid attacks for 5 or 5. Like that's where this starts to multiply its value. Literally, we picked a card that multiplies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know otherwise what to do with this thing. It's like you're exhausting yourself where you could have just thwarted for 3. So the only benefit you're obviously getting here is healing 1 or not taking consequential, which could be more than 1, right? We have a bunch of allies that take more than 2 consequential or more than 1 consequential. The ally has a nice kicker when they activate like Peter Parker basic ally. Yeah, that doesn't make, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is correct. Because the healing is worth another ready later down the line. But I think it's more so you want to find a character that takes like 2 consequential or 3 consequential, which I don't think that exists. I think you want to find a character with a lot of consequential. I think that's the easiest way to get a lot of benefit from this. I couldn't tell you what that character would be though. I don't often play those characters, unfortunately. Nacho hurling Wendy step. Yeah. Okay. We have to wrap this up. So unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be looking at Hercules today. Now, the other spoilers we did see, Disarming Defense. Reddit was really happy about this one. I think this card is like fine. It's interesting and it adds a unique thing to protection, but this is not a card I would main board in any deck. This is the sort of card I would add to a deck based off the matchup. In certain matchups, this is really good. It is worth noting that a lot of attachments increase the attack of the character, which means that this is usually not like a just universally playable card. It's a card you have to play in a deck that wants the perfect block anyways. And those decks want more perfect block cards. The 1 cost defense trait +2 kicker is like a common card that sees, well, not uncommon play. That sort of archetype feels a bit like older and outdated than it used to. But this text is genuinely very good. The question is it firing? It's not a card I put a 3 of in every deck. It's a card I put 2 of in some decks sometimes. And then, of course, on top of it, you play like Jocasta, so you can toolbox this from your discard pile when and if you need it. So this card is like probably very, very quite playable, but it's not in every scenario. It's a sometimes card. Yeah, Dum Dum Dugan. Oh, yeah, you're right. Dum Dum is actually okay for this because he does take 3 consequential. I was like, I don't even know how they format it. I thought they did 2 and 1, but yeah, hey, he takes 3. What a weird little guy. Cameo. We could spend a lot of time talking about this. We probably will in the future. I'll be honest, and you can look at it. I've looked at it before. This card in function and how it works is it allows you to grab a card, a unique ally from another hero's kit and import it into your deck. That actually turns out to be way worse than you think it is because the majority, and I mean vast majority of unique allies, they care specifically about your text, right? Like just today, we saw Venom. This is like not uncommon where your ally is so ingrained in your kit is that they just do not function outside of your kit. Like there's no reason to import Venom because you don't have, sync ratio cards, right? And it's just all the time. Like name an ally, more often than not, that's how it works, right? Rogue's Gambit. Oh, this one's fine. But the other side, like Gambit's Rogue, doesn't work. It's a 4-cost toughness. Like a lot of times they don't work. Now there is a subsection of allies where they do make sense and they're just like good. Like what's a good example? What's her name? Mantis, for instance. Like Mantis is fine. Like some of them can just be good. Heal 3 damage 3 times is pretty good for an ally, let alone you can heal this. So there are some cases where you have a universally playable card. Obviously Captain Marvel is sick. So there are things you can do. Captain Marvel, Spider-Woman. But it's just not good all the time. Yeah, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is really good. If you're a minion collector, Moon Knight is fantastic. Moon Knight's a really good shout out. Now that being said, my issue is that the cost in Cameo is way higher than it needs to be. I think these cards are the sort of cards that probably should never be like first order optimal in terms of like health of, competitive play, which doesn't really matter in Marvel Champions. But this is a card that people want to put in their deck because it's fun. And maybe that's okay because the cost to this is actually incredibly high if you're the sort of player who like takes the game seriously and plays on higher difficulties. Because a couple of things. Firstly, the ally you can never draw in your opening hand because it happens on setup. And of course, after you mulligan, you have to lose 2 cards from your hand. The best turn in any game is your first turn. It's the most important turn in any game of Marvel Champions is the first turn because the first turn is the only turn that's guaranteed to happen. We played a game today where it was over by turn 3, right? Like obviously that's the case. We're playing against expert Green Goblin, so we did that to ourselves to some extent. But turn 1 always happens. Turn 6 doesn't always happen. And so many characters are like setup related, drawing fewer cards so you set up less effectively. And admittedly, again, this doesn't impact your mulligan. You can still dig for cards, but having 2 less cards on turn 1 is such an expensive cost. This is not a perfect example, but I just want to show you in Netrunner, which is a totally different game. For a long time, this was the best card in a faction. This is an identity, so it's kind of like your hero. All this card does, it says you start the game with 9 cards in your hand instead of 5. And it doesn't have any text from that point forward. For a long time, this was the best criminal you could play, because in every game, the only turn that always happens is turn 1, and making sure you start turn 2 with the best possible start is so important in every damn game, every card game, largely. Some slightly different, but Marvel Champions is not an exception. So the cost of this is like so absurdly high that just keep in mind that like the payoff has to be very, very high, but then you're not guaranteed to even draw into the payoff in the first 4 turns. All I'm saying is I'm a curmudgeon about this card. I think I'll play less than you think I would, because it is cool, it is interesting, but it turns out the cool, interesting things happen less likely, and it's a very small subsection. This card will be interesting going forward, but the cost of it's very, 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 very expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I wish this was like more of a fun card than it is. Like, this to me is going to be anti-fun, because like turn 1 sucks. I love turn 1 good. Battlefield Benevolence, I like this card a fair bit. Heal 2 damage, confuse that enemy. Tactic doesn't really matter on an event. Art is really fun too. This is nice. I think there's a whole lot of ways to confuse people, and if anybody wants it, it's Justice. A 1 cost, heal 2. Heal 2 is not a real cost to me. Healing 2 is a cost that actually is worth saying. It is technically a cost. So if the villain is at full health, let alone is at only 1 health offset of full, you can't play this. It's going to be interesting to see if that's a problem for Justice, because you have to actually hit the villain before you can play this. But this seems totally playable, very quite good. And then I think we've seen most of these. Oh, Hawkeye. 4 arrow counters, 3 cost, 1/1, Avenger Shield. After ally makes a basic thwart, remove an arrow counter from Hawkeye, deal 2 damage to minion. Holy crap. That's really good. That's absurd. That's absurd. Leadership Hawkeye is actually genuinely absurd as much as people don't play him. That's so much value. This is an ally that thwarts for 2, does 8 damage, including himself. After an ally makes a basic thwart, it can be him. So technically every thwart he does is thwart for 1 and attack for 3, as much as he will not outlast the arrows he has in his quiver. God, this is absurd. This is such a good card. Oh my God. Talk about doing 2 damage. And then we have Jarvis. After an Avenger hero changes into alter ego form, exhaust Jarvis. That identity can gain +2 recovery till end of the phase, which is okay, or discard a status card from the identity. I don't care for this one a lot. I think any card that has a gray border, they have to be very careful about how much color they put in the frame, because this color looks like it was misprinted. It's not the case. Anyways, I'm not super stoked about this. Apologies, we have to go a bit faster because I'm already over time. But +2 recovery, like there's so many cards that are comparable to this, but they're mostly protection cards. It's cool that you can use this as a multiplayer. I think that's the cool thing, because after an Avenger hero changes into alter ego, it doesn't have to be you. +2 recovery is mid for a 2 cost support. It does have Avenger trait synergy. Discarding a status card from your identity, that's also kind of mid. Again, I play protection, of course. So we have like Dr. Sinclair, which I also don't play Dr. Sinclair. We, of course, have the Night Nurse. These seem really quite expensive for a 2 cost card that probably won't even matter. Like, yeah, maybe this is meant to be in a world where we don't have, what's the card that gives us +3 recovery, right? Like +3 hit points, let alone +2 recovery. The quality time one where you sit and you eat your lunch. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, Jarvis seems really weirdly limited. He is in basic, but that's the thing. This game usually has busted basic cards. Like there is a 1 cost upgrade that just gives you 2 recovery, not caring who you are. So you like, there's so many issues with Jarvis. If you jump down, downtime, thank you. Like imagine that you jump down, draw some cards, and then you draw Jarvis, he's useless. But there's so many board states where you can play downtime and it just does the same. So for Jarvis to be good, it's either because you're playing multiplayer and it hits the whole table, which is not a thing we're running into a lot here, or there's enough status cards for this to be worth it. The difference between a 1 cost card and 2 cost card is not 1 resource as much as it is 1 resource. It is a lot harder to play a 2 cost card than a 1 cost card in Marvel Champions. Like they're still cheap cards, but it's a lot more expensive. So this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Multiplayer, we're all playing Avengers, maybe, and I'd even be surprised if that's the case. Swordsman, damn, this card's really cool. 2 thwart for 2 consequential, 2 attack, 1 consequential, 4 health for a cost ally, but his basic attacks gain piercing. That's already not the worst spot to be in. Piercing does exist a bit into basic, but there's a lot of characters or a lot of aspects that struggle to get base piercing into their kits. So like protection has almost no piercing. Aggression obviously does. Justice I don't think has piercing, maybe one ally or two. But there's a lot of scenarios where piercing is worth a lot. So if Swordsman attacks like 3 times on blocks and gains piercing in a relevant way, that's very, very good, as much as a 4-cost Avenger is expensive. Same thing, not a lot of color in a gray border. I wish it was a bit more colorful. But hero response, and this is not forced. After a boost card is turned face up during an undefended attack, declare Swordsman as the defender without exhausting him. That is awesome. That's really, really good. That text means if you don't block and you're like, I die if it's a 3 boost and it's a 3 boost, not only can you stop yourself from dying, but the difference between taking 2 damage from a villain and taking 5 damage from a villain is really impactful. So you can not block. If it's a low boost, take it. If it's a big boost or even a big boost effect that says when it damages stun or some bad thing, you just throw Swordsman into it. Very flexible, very expensive. But I think this is like exactly where a basic card has to be. It either has to be a tech slot, it's expensive, but has a lot of utility, has a lot of choice. I like this a lot. And again, it's not a forced response, it's a hero response. This also works against anybody, right? It's during an undefended attack. So this also is a really cool multiplayer card. Yeah, this is great. It's pricey, but like for what it does, it's actually on rate as long as you can swallow that 4-cost card. But like 3 attacks and a block with piercing for 6 damage is like fine. It's honestly fine. Does he interrupt boost effects that work on undefended attacks? I assume so, because I think it becomes a defended attack. Yeah, this character, I don't know what it is. Definitely, you know, the big Inigo Montoya sword fighters sort of thing. I think this character comes alongside like Mockingbird and funny enough, Hawkeye, considering bringing a sword to a superhero fight is the worst thing you could do. I think this card's sick. This card's really good. Swordsman combos nicely with Stronger Together, or whatever that green event is called. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay into that. I could see it being okay. That's neat. This card's really good. It's expensive and hard, but it's actually good for what you get. And is that end of list? No. Oh yeah, Con the Crossfire. I don't care for this. It's a multiplayer thing. It's a 0-cost tactic you can attach to something, so you can get it with your air cover. That's worth something for sure. But attached to non-elite minion, when a friendly character attacks, deal 1 damage to attached minion. So that means basically you get free damage off of the other damage. It's like kind of similar to a shield sidearm, but it applies to everybody. I think this is way more interesting on a table of multiplayer because you just put this on a minion with like 3 attack and then 3 players take their turn and the thing blows up. In solo, I would say this is almost straight useless unless there's like a minion that has retaliate on it and you don't want to touch it and it only has low health. It's like very, 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 very niche. I don't get this at all. It's maybe okay if everyone's just hitting face and allows you to deal with minions, but like there's so many nice ways to do that and they all include the word overkill. I don't get this at all. He's featured in the Hawkeye series. I think he used to be a Hawkeye villain. Oh, that makes sense. Would you consider making a Marvel deck that has the most possible Netrunner names? Is it possible? I think it's like by default you're starting as a Quicksilver deck because he has like 4 or 5 copies of Always Be Running. But at this point, like a lot of these FFG card names people don't know anymore, for better or for worse. Coordinated effort. Oops. Attached an encounter card in play. When paying costs on attached card, any player may help pay those costs. As a solo player, this card's irrelevant. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. This card also just seems relevant. The only cool thing about this is like in the scenario we played Baron Zemo, you can attach this to the side schemes or sorry, the environments, and then everyone can pay together. Like that's genuinely quite cool. And those are always going to be in play largely because they're permanent. So like that's kind of neat. But otherwise, like you need to have this, you need to have a card to attach it to. People need to want to share the paid cost. Like all of that kind of is absurd. I don't get this at all. Even in multiplayer, this seems like pretty niche, but I have very little multiplayer experience. The art's really good though. But this is just total binder fodder. Oh, Grim Reaper. It's a Wonderman nemesis. After Grim Reaper attacks and defeats an ally, deal that ally's controller face down counter card. I mean, quick strikes for 2. You can just take that to the face. That doesn't seem relevant at all. 3 health? Come on, what is this? I thought, why does his nemesis not care about energy icons? What is going on here? That's absurd. Brother versus brother. Grim Reaper has an additional cost attack. Grim Reaper, you must discard a card from your hand. I mean, you can one-shot him. Having 3 attack is not that hard. So it costs a card from hand, has an amplify. That doesn't matter. Amplify to me is worth so much less than hazard or even acceleration. It's the least important icon. Crisis is even scarier. So like, who cares? It comes in with 2 threat, no hinder. What is going on in Wonder Man's kit? And then Sight Strike. If Grim Reaper is in play, he activates, otherwise take 2 in direct damage. So you'll probably have 3 of these in the deck that just says take 2 in direct damage. I don't care. This nemesis is not a nemesis. I would gladly shuffle this into any encounter deck. Bizarre. Very, very good. Shout out to Wonder Man. He is just straight W's because of the W. Get it? Because the W, it's a set icon. It was a W. Interesting cards. A lot of those cards are actually quite cool. There's some cards that are like multiplayer only or nothing, which is fine. That's everyone has to enjoy this game, so that's for somebody else for sure. But there's enough cards in here for me to be pretty stoked. Surprisingly quite excited for Wonder Man, given I don't know much about him. I think Recursion, that's a thing that they've been very good in this last wave and a half, is like a lot of these characters haven't been like fan favorites, but they've been doing a really good job like having interesting kits and making people care. Like that is the coolest thing that they could possibly do in a game about like comics and stuff like that. Like Tigra, was I excited about Tigra? Of course I wasn't. I thought they'd do something cool with it, and boy did they do something cool with it. And I think Wonder Man and even Hercules will probably fall into that camp, as much as like Hercules is way more of a question mark than Wonder Man. All right, it's 1:50. I have a condo meeting in 10 minutes, so this went a bit long, but thanks so much for hanging out. Shout outs. I can say really quickly, earlier this week, I got a record on The Winning Hand. We did a podcast recording. It was a lot of fun. They'll be out in February in a couple weeks. It is February, so that's cool. You'll know more when that comes out. That was a lot of fun. Otherwise, we put a video up on Friday. It is our first heroic gameplay where we play Miles versus heroic Rhino. And if you want to play Rhino and have some fun, I would recommend heroic because it's not that much harder. Admittedly, if you have a stun or confuse, all that sort of stuff makes it a lot better. But had a good time doing that. So you can watch that video below. I think that's mostly it. Again, thanks so much for hanging out. Really look forward to Sunday. Sorry, this one has to be cut short. Sorry, we didn't deal with Baron Zemo, but I guess we learned something along the way. If you want to find any of the links below, it'll take me a while to do timestamps and stuff because I have to step out, but I'll come back, I'll do the timestamps, and I'll link to all the content creators who spoiled those cards in the description. So if you want to listen to like a podcast or hear people talk about them more at length, please do that. It's linked just below. Thanks for the stream. Take care. Good luck. Thank you. We'll catch you next week. Maybe we'll have a video out. I think putting up videos on Friday might not be the best because it's really close to the stream. Like ideally it should be Wednesday and then stream on Sunday, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Thanks so much for hanging out. Catch you in the next one. Take care, y'all.